Baining felt a shiver run through her body. Mu Baining could only truly understand this feeling. This naughty little brother actually secretly put his hand inside the white rabbit candy. There's a saying that goes, "The timid starve, the bold feast." There's another saying, "Women don't love men who aren't a little bad." Now that you've established a relationship, you should do the things that couples do. Of course, this time Mu Zyaomo was also testing the waters. However, Mu Baining did not resist. In fact, she seemed to kiss him even more forcefully. This is a good omen. "Wah, Professor Mu, I like you so much." Mu Zyaomo stammered, his breath unsteady. Mu Baining opened her eyes, sensing his presence. She suddenly remembered the strong muscles on Mu Zyaomo's body when she sparred with Instructor Yang. Their mouths gradually separated, and then Mu Baining brought her mouth close to Mu Zyaomo's ear and blew air into it. Mu Zyaomo immediately felt a ticklish sensation. "No, no, Professor Mu." Mu Zyaomo hadn't expected Mu Baining to be so mischievous. After hearing Mu Zyaomo's words, Mu Baining said softly, "Can I touch your abs?" Huh? Mu Zyaomo was taken aback. He recalled carefully that Mu Baining had mentioned before that she didn't like touching his abs. Indeed, women are fickle creatures. With his girlfriend's order, how could Mu Zyaomo easily refuse? He nodded slightly. "Ning, of course that's fine." She reluctantly removed her hand from the white rabbit candy, then took off her coat and lifted her clothes. Suddenly, 8 perfectly defined abs were revealed to both of them. Mu Zyaomo held her breath and slightly tightened her abs, making her 8-pack abs even more prominent. Mu Baining stared longingly at Mu Zyaomo's abs and took a deep breath. She really wanted to touch it, but she was a little hesitant. She was afraid of tickling Mu Zyaomo. Seeing Mu Baining's hesitation, Mu Zyaomo chuckled. He said, "Professor Mu, what's wrong? Didn't you say you wanted to touch my abs? So do you like it?" Before she could reply, Mu Zyaomo grabbed her fair hand and placed it on his abs, gently pressing it. Feeling her rock-hard abs, Mu Baining pursed her lips. "Wow, Tilda, so this is what it feels like to touch abs. Girls like abs just like boys like black stockings. For girls, a guy's muscles are a symbol of sexiness." Mu Baining nodded slightly. Pretty hard, Tilda. How long have you been working on your abs?" "It's been several years." At this moment, the two were very close, almost nose to nose, and could clearly feel each other's breath. Mu Baining nodded. "Yes, we can go to the gym together sometime and exercise together." "Sure." After saying that, Mu Zyaomo reached out and wrapped his arms around her slender waist. They brought their lips close again. Kissing Mu Baining was really intoxicating. I wish I could kiss Ning every. Chapter 101, The Perfect Life System is officially activated. 20 minutes later, a car suddenly drove by, and fearing that others might misunderstand, both parties quickly sat up straight. Then they both turned to look at each other almost simultaneously. "Buff." Seeing Mu Baining's current appearance, Mu Zyaomo chuckled. Mu Baining had just touched up her lipstick, and after going downstairs, she had a long kiss with him, and now her lipstick was smudged again. Not only that, but there was lipstick all around her lips. Her appearance was particularly comical, and Mu Zyaomo said, Ning, your mouth. Don't even mention me. Your lips are covered in lipstick." After saying that, she took out a pack of makeup remover wipes from her bag. Makeup remover wipes are something that almost every girl keeps on hand. She tore it open, took out a piece, and then stretched out her arm to gently wipe Mu Baining's mouth. This stuff works much better than makeup remover. Soon, the lipstick around Mu Zyaomo's lips was completely wiped away. Ning, let me wipe it for you." Mu Zyaomo tore open another pack and wiped Mu Baining's face as well. Mu Baining, of course, would not refuse and readily complied with his actions. Just then, someone happened to pass by outside. The car windows were somewhat reflective, and since it was nighttime, visibility was extremely low. One could only vaguely make out 2 people inside. "Is the boy wiping the girl's mouth?" Upon seeing this, the passerby was immediately stunned. "Could it be?" "Depend on." His face darkened. "What kind of error is this, that people still?" Inside the car, Mu Zyaomo and Mu Baining were completely unaware of what the passerby outside was thinking. Of course, passerby A didn't linger there for long. He was afraid that Mu Zyaomo would suddenly come down and beat him up. Inside the car, after wiping Mu Baining's lipstick off, Mu Baining opened the vanity mirror on the passenger's side and continued to touch up her makeup. Mu Zyaomo was somewhat puzzled by this. "We're going back soon. Do you need to touch up your lipstick?" "Of course." Mu Baining carefully examined herself in the mirror. "Liu Weiwei is very smart. If I don't have lipstick on, he will definitely gossip." Mu Zyaomo was speechless. This works. He said, okay. By the way, I'll send you all the photos I just took now. Okay, Tilda. Couples should definitely keep photos of each other. Mew Baining pulled out her pear-shaped phone. The password is your birthday. Send it to me and save it for me. Good heavens. Upon hearing this, he thought to himself, good heavens. I never expected that Mew Baining would set his phone password to his birthday. Without thinking much, Mew Ziomo unlocked her phone, opened WeChat, and then used her own phone to send her all the photos she had just taken. Then I saved them one by one, using Mew Baining's phone. Mew Baining was still touching up her lipstick when Mew Ziomo chuckled. He knew Mew Baining had many beautiful photos on her phone. However, he wouldn't rashly browse through Mew Baining's photo album. He said, Mew Baining, can I use your phone to send you some beautiful photos of yourself? Sure. Mew Baining didn't think much of it. Her phone's photo album is almost entirely filled with selfies, photos of her at work, and photos of Liu Weiwei. After receiving permission, Mew Ziomo went directly into her phone's photo album. What came into view made Mew Ziomo pause in surprise. This. How come Mew Baining has unflattering photos of him on her phone? Just then, Mew Baining suddenly thought of something. She turned her head and found that Mew Ziomo had already opened her photo album. This. How embarrassing. Mew Ziomo was taken aback. Wait, how come you have unflattering photos of me on your phone? Mew Baining calmly replied, you'll have to ask your sister about that. My sister? Mew Ziomo's face darkened. Good heavens, it was that girl Mew Xiroxy. After Bai Yuntao sent his unflattering photos to Mew Xiroxy, Mew Xiroxy actually forwarded them to Mew Baining. It seems I'll have to give Mew Xiroxy a warm greeting when I get back. Mew Ziomo's lips twitched, and then you saved it. Mew Baining shook her head. I didn't want to either, but I couldn't help it. Never mind, Tilda. Mew Ziomo shook her head. Anyway, the two of them were going to be together in the future, and all Mew Baining saw now were his good points. As two people spend more time together, each other's shortcomings gradually become apparent. As for these unflattering photos, never mind. He scrolled up Mew Baining's photo album, then selected some of the more attractive and sexy photos and sent them to him directly. Mew Baining really loves taking photos. The two of you could take a set together sometime. A moment later, Mew Baining finished touching up her lipstick. Since it was getting late, Mew Ziomo didn't linger and drove away. On the way, Mew Baining played with Wanzi again. She really loves petting cats, especially Maruko. Half an hour later, the car entered the Magic University. At this time, there were hardly any people left on the campus of Magic University. It's already past 10 o'clock. Thankfully, the dorm doors aren't locked, otherwise he wouldn't be able to get in. Although he really wanted to get in, he couldn't. That way, I can go out with Mew Baining for the night. He parked the car downstairs in front of the faculty and staff dormitory and turned to look at Mew Baining. Darling, we've arrived. She hummed in agreement, nodded, put the meatballs into her backpack, slung the bag over her forearm, and picked up the bouquet of roses. Well, Momo, I'll head back now. You have class tomorrow, so don't stay up late when you get home today. Take a shower before you go to sleep. Okay, Tilda. Mew Baining was about to open the car door and leave, when Mew Ziomo quickly stopped her. Honey, wait a minute. Mew Baining turned her head and looked directly into his eyes, waiting for Mew Ziomo to speak. Mew Ziomo gave her a mischievous smile and raised an eyebrow. How about a goodbye kiss? A goodbye kiss. This was the first time Mew Baining had ever heard this word. Mew Baining rolled her eyes. This brat of a brother, he's got so many tricks up his sleeve. They all wanted a kiss before leaving. Of course, Mew Baining couldn't possibly not satisfy Mew Ziomo. She leaned close to him and planted a kiss on his cheek. A large lipstick mark was left on his face. All right, are you satisfied now? I'm heading back now. See you tomorrow, Momo Tilda. See you tomorrow, honey Tilda. He waved to Mew Baining, who waved back, and then went up to the faculty dormitory, disappearing around a corner. Seeing Mew Baining go back, Mew Ziomo took a deep breath. Just as he was about to go back to his dormitory to rest, the system's voice suddenly came. Ding Tilda, congratulations. Host Mew Baining's favorability towards you has reached 100%. The Perfect Life System is officially activated. You can now view all the functions of the Perfect Life System. Chapter 102. Bai Yuntao wants to be Mew Xiroxy's simp. Phew, it's finally activated. Upon hearing the system's voice, Mew Ziomo took a deep breath. He hadn't even expected to find a girlfriend just over a month after the start of the semester. Most importantly, His girlfriend is his university professor. Omo thought about it carefully and even felt that everything that had happened was a bit like a dream, as if it were all destined. Because he was driving, he didn't rush to open the system, but instead parked the car downstairs at the dormitory building. Looking at the Mercedes-Benz, he felt it was time for him to buy a car. When he goes on dates with Mew Baining in the future, he can't always let her drive him around, can he? Let's make money first. Because he had activated the system, he felt that making money should be quite easy in the future. In short, asking his father for money, he really hadn't considered it. The car was rented from a classmate who shared a dorm room with him. So Omo simply delivered the keys to that classmate's dorm room. The other students in the dormitory were looking at him with strange eyes, which surprised Omo. Could it be that there's something on his face? Without giving it much thought, Omo returned the rental fee and keys to him and left, returning to her dormitory. As soon as he opened the door, his 3 roommates poked their heads in. Huang Wengsu took off his headphones, slunk over to Omo's side, and started sniffing her repeatedly. Seeing Huang Wengsu, who looked like a dog, Omo was immediately filled with a bunch of question marks. What is Huang Wengsu sniffing about? Holy crap, it's Professor Mew's scent. Huang Wengsu looked up and suddenly said, I didn't notice Omo's face just now. There's still a big red lipstick mark left by Professor Mew. This is clearly intentional dog abuse. Body odors. Omo tilted her head to the side, smelled her arms and shoulders, and found that there was indeed a faint fragrance. This scent definitely smells like Mew Baining's. After all, he had been dating Mew Baining for so long. He knew exactly what she smelled like. But how could Huang Wengsu smell Professor Mew's scent on him? Omo glanced at the boxer shorts he had hung on the balcony. Could it be that Huang Wengsu has some kind of peculiar fetish? At this moment, Huang Wengsu revealed a mischievous smile and said, Hee, Brother Mo, looks like we succeeded today. And you two must have been hugging for quite a while, because you still smell of her. I'm envious. Huang Wengsu's lewd smile made Omo feel uncomfortable. He rolled his eyes at him and said, No, go play somewhere else. Then how do you explain the lipstick mark on your face? Omo was taken aback. Depend on. After a passionate kiss in the car, Mew Baining did reapply her lipstick. The lipstick was probably still wet when this kiss came. To be honest, Omo really didn't notice. No wonder people were giving him strange looks when he was giving them car keys. Omo walked to the bedside and suddenly slapped Bai Yuntao, who was covered by the quilt, wearing headphones and rocking the bed on his side, saying, You've hidden your makeup remover again. Hurry up and take it out. Bai Yuntao was startled by the scene. He sat up abruptly and stared at Omo with a look of disgust. I bought it for 399 yuan, so I have to take good care of it. Also, I've already planned to send it to your sister, so please use less this time. Omo was completely dumbfounded when she heard Bai Yuntao's words. What is that? Sending this cheap makeup remover to her sister? Are they that stingy? Goodness, is he going to become Xerox's simp? Omo quickly said, Don't worry, I definitely won't use it recklessly. I only have 1 lipstick mark on my face, a tiny bit will be enough. Hearing this, Bai Yuntao sat up, opened the backpack hanging on the wall, took out the bottle of makeup remover, and handed it to Omo. Thanks, son. Omo chuckled after taking it, then slunk into the bathroom. Meanwhile, Bai Yuntao's face looked as if he had swallowed a fly. In the bathroom, after wiping the lipstick off his face, Omo poured out the makeup remover and filled the bottle with tap water. After sealing the bottle, he returned it to Bai Yuntao. I don't know what this guy was thinking, sending his used makeup remover to Xerox. This guy must have been bragging to Xerox about how expensive this thing was. That girl is so naive, she's easily fooled. But that girl also really hates being lied to, and after discovering the bottle contained tap water. I'm definitely very happy, and then I'll block him as a friend. Bai Yuntao didn't notice that he had already replaced the makeup remover. He simply stuffed it into his backpack. Then Omo was subjected to a barrage of verbal attacks from her roommates. They asked him if he and Mew Baining had confirmed their relationship. Omo answered truthfully without hiding anything, but he repeatedly emphasized that this matter should not be spread, otherwise he would definitely be fired. The 3 of them immediately felt a chill below and decisively chose to follow their hearts, and agreed to Omo's request. After taking a shower, Omo went straight to bed. Then the system was opened. Since the Perfect Life system has been officially activated, The information on the interface has changed significantly. Host Musayomo. Spouse Mu Baining, affection level 200. You can receive 1,000 yuan in cash for every 10 points of favorability you gain. Currently, you can withdraw 20,000 yuan in cash. Current assets, 144,987.32, 100 W yuan. Connections, Brother Hu Mu Baining, Huang Wengsu Bai Yuntao Du Yang. Business impact value, 20. Owns one company store, Hello Kitty Cat Cafe. After seeing the information above, Musayomo was a little confused. Favorability points can be exchanged for cash, and the exchange rate is pretty good. What's with the connections thing? And why are his roommates involved? Shouldn't these three be ignored? What about commercial impact? Just as Musayomo was a little confused, his phone rang. WeChat now has a special notification sound for those who are particularly interested. After he and Mu Baining confirmed their relationship, Musayomo naturally set a different notification sound for his girlfriend. That's right, the person who sent him the WeChat message was Mu Baining. The system can be studied later, but I can't ignore my girlfriend's messages. He turned off the system and turned on his phone. At that moment, Mu Baining sent him a picture and a voice message. The image shows a tasting voucher. It was marked with very eye-catching text. A steak worth 269 yuan is free. Any customer who enters Whale's restaurant with this voucher can enjoy a sirloin steak worth 269 for free. This promotion is valid indefinitely. Musayomo was taken aback. This is clearly not an event launched by Mu Baining. Chapter 103 Mission, the tasting coupon incident. Could it be that someone is causing them trouble? He quickly opened the voice message Mu Baining had sent him. Her voice came from the phone speaker. Her voice was a mix of anxiety and anger. Momo, someone suddenly started handing out tasting vouchers today, offering free steaks. Her tone was extremely anxious, and Musayomo could imagine Mu Baining's expression at that moment. The shop had finally started to recover, but this incident has made her extremely angry. At this moment, Musayomo also realized that it must have been done by a competitor. After all, in a commercial street, all the shops are competitors. Mu Baining's shop has suddenly become incredibly popular these past few days, which will definitely make some competitors jealous. Then he did something so outrageous. Musayomo quickly put on her clothes, grabbed her phone, went to the stairwell, and dialed Mu Baining's number. On the other end, Mu Baining answered the call immediately. Musayomo quickly asked, "Ningning, what exactly happened?" "I don't know either." Perhaps hearing Musayomo's concerned voice, Mu Baining on the other side seemed particularly aggrieved. She took a deep breath. "The store's employees told me about this. They said that some customers suddenly came into the store tonight with these tasting vouchers. Because I was afraid of being disturbed while dining with you, I put my phone on airplane mode so they couldn't contact me. After all, the customers were still waiting, and the store's staff did not make them wait any longer, so they took it upon themselves to accept them. The employees thought this was our lead generation method, so they only issued a small number of coupons. But just now, a large group of customers suddenly entered the store with coupons. Upon hearing Mu Baining's words, Musayomo's heart skipped a beat. Holy crap, what the hell is going on? Which idiot would use such a despicable method to cause trouble? Mu Baining was in a particularly bad mood at the moment, and Musayomo quickly said, "Don't worry about this. The shop isn't open yet, is it?" "No, because there were too many customers. The store manager realized something was wrong and temporarily closed the store, citing a shortage of ingredients. Because I have 2 WeChat accounts, I only saw it after I switched accounts when I got back. What should we do if this happens?" "Ningning, don't worry." Musayomo thought for a moment. "Since the tasting vouchers don't have detailed usage requirements, we can add some requirements, such as allowing customers to use them with a set meal or limiting the number of vouchers per day. This can help avoid some losses." Mu Baining responded softly after hearing Musayomo's voice. He continued, "We could explain it to the customers, but that would affect our store's reputation." Thinking of this, Musayomo felt a surge of anger. Using such methods for unfair competition was truly outrageous. "Tell your uncle about this first. Dad is a policeman. Spreading rumors and disseminating false information without someone's consent is a criminal case. If the person involved is caught, they will definitely be locked up for several years. Also, I'll keep an eye out for any clues I might find recently." After hearing Musayomo's explanation, Mu Baining felt a little better. Musayomo is right, she can't rush things. I should definitely tell my dad about this first and ask him what to do. Okay, I'll call my dad later. Hearing Mu Baning's voice, Mu Xiaomo hummed in agreement. Yes, Ning Ning, no matter what happens, I'm here for you. Don't worry, I will definitely help you solve this. Okay, thank you, darling. Upon hearing Mu Baning say darling, Mu Xiaomo clenched her fists tightly. The veins on her arms were bulging, and Mu Xiaomo's eyes suddenly turned icy cold. That look in his eyes would probably scare a 3-year-old to tears. That's so sharp. Mu Baning continued on the phone. Then I'll call my dad first. You don't need to worry too much about this. The shop can be closed for a while before reopening. You have class tomorrow, so get some rest. Don't worry. Mu Xiaomo hung up, took a deep breath, and looked at the night view of Magic University through the corridor window. He frowned and thought about it carefully, because Mu Baning runs a Western restaurant. And besides Mu Baning's Wales Western restaurant, there are 2 other Western restaurants on this commercial street. A few days ago, Mu Xiaomo also strolled around the commercial street. Since Brother Hu promoted Mu Baning's shop, the number of customers at the 2 surrounding Western restaurants has indeed decreased significantly. Could it be them? Mu Xiaomo felt that the 2 shops were more likely to be the culprits, but there was no concrete evidence yet, so she couldn't draw any conclusions. You could ask the person who received the coupon how they got it. Just then, the system's voice came through. Congratulations, host, you have triggered a mission. This task is to help your loved one resolve the tasting voucher issue. You have 7 days to complete it. The results of the reward tasks will be made public upon completion. Upon hearing the system's voice, Mu Xiaomo took a deep breath. This isn't a big problem. Without thinking much, he returned to his dormitory just as Huang Wengsu came out of the toilet. Tisk, 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 Brother Mo, you're on the phone with Professor Mu again. I thought our professor was an ice queen, but I never expected her to be so clingy. Go play somewhere else. Mu Xiaomo was a little annoyed and didn't want to waste her breath arguing with him. Seeing Mu Xiaomo's long face, Huang Wengsu made a sound. Tusk tilde, your temper is getting worse and worse. Tell me what happened. Huang Wengsu quickly rolled onto the bed, and Mu Xiaomo ignored him, not intending to tell them about it. Before Mu Xiaomo got into bed, Du Yang suddenly remembered something and said, By the way, brothers, I found something good today. Du Yang said excitedly, while Bai Yuntao and Huang Wengsu, who were lying on the bed, both peeked at him. Huang Wengsu asked, What good stuff? Did you find a porn disc? Which actress is? Du Yang rolled his eyes. No wonder he's surnamed Huang. This guy's brain is completely like his surname now. Yellow and oily. What are you thinking? Du Yang pulled out 3 Welsh restaurant steak tasting tickets from under the covers and waved them in the air. I found this when I went outside the school to buy a basketball today. It says on it that I can use the tasting voucher in my hand to eat a steak worth $269 for free. What? Upon hearing this news, Huang Wengsu's face revealed a greedy expression. He asked, Really, which restaurant? Let me see. Du Yang glanced at the tasting voucher in his hand, then said, Williams, Western Restaurant. Depend on. Huang Wengsu was startled and exclaimed, Wales, isn't that the restaurant that Hu Ji endorses? A few days ago, they launched a package deal that cost 700 or 800 yuan, but I couldn't bring myself to go. Brother Yang, are you sure this thing will work? P.S. Please give me some flowers, I'm so grateful. Chapter 104, Ning Ning. I'll definitely solve this for you within 7 days. Have no idea. Du Yang shook his head. I picked it up from the street. A steak costs nearly 300 yuan. I don't think anyone would throw away a tasting voucher like that, would they? What if it's true? Huang Wengsu chuckled. Let's go check it out together later. Wouldn't it be great if we could get it for free? Xing, Du Yang nodded. Anyway, it wouldn't cost him anything to go and ask. If it doesn't work, I can just leave. If it works, I can become a freeloader. However, there were only 3 tickets. Du Yang turned his attention to Mu Xiaomo. Brother Mo, you're the only one in the dorm who's found a girlfriend. How about I give you 2 tickets so you and Professor Mu can go out for a meal together? Upon hearing this, Mu Xiaomo rolled her eyes. What charity? That's what you're saying. He shook his head. No need, but I'm a little curious. Where did you find this thing? It's on the commercial street outside the school. Du Yang thought for a moment. It's outside that basketball club. What's up? You want to try your luck there too? No, no, no. Mu Xiaomo rolled her eyes. I was just asking. I didn't mean anything by it. Oh, Du Yang said politely. I was just being polite. I didn't mean to give you anything. Mu Xiaomo's face darkened. Why is Du Yang getting more and more annoying? The next day, Mu Omo had a simple breakfast with her roommates in the cafeteria, as usual before heading to class. The first class this morning was Mu Baining's professional course. So far, we've been learning theoretical knowledge. The class is being held together by students from Robotics Class 1 and 2 in Lecture Hall F304. As usual, Mu Omo, Huang Wengsu, Bai Yuntao, and Du Yang sat in the third row. The seats in university classrooms are not fixed, but once students choose their first seat, that seat usually stays for all subsequent classes. After all, there are too many small groups in universities. Mu Omo and her three roommates waited for a while, and then they heard the sound of Mu Baining's high heels coming from the front door. Huang Wengsu nudged Mu Omo with his elbow. "Brother Mo, your wife is here." Smack! Mu Omo slapped him across the face. "Damn it, what did this bastard say yesterday? I told him not to say it, but he just kept babbling on." Noticing Mu Omo's fierce gaze, Huang Wengsu quickly said, I was wrong, I won't say it again." After saying that, Huang Wengsu turned his gaze to Mu Baining, and at that moment he suddenly noticed that Mu Baining's face looked so unpleasant today. People's emotions are written on their faces. Although Mu Baining's expression is usually cold, Huang Wengsu's first reaction upon seeing Mu Baining's expression at this moment was whether Mu Baining had quarreled with Mu Omo. That doesn't make sense either. The two of them went out to eat together yesterday. They can't possibly start arguing today, can they? But Mu Omo did go out to answer a phone call. Unable to resist his curiosity, Huang Wengsu nudged Mu Omo with his elbow again. "Brother Mo, did you have a fight with Professor Mu?" "What the heck?" Mu Omo suddenly turned her head to look at the idiot Huang Wengsu, wondering what this guy was always imagining. He noticed that Mu Baining was in a bad mood when she entered the classroom, but it was definitely because of the tasting coupons. "I noticed Professor Mu seemed off. I thought you and she had a fight." Mu Omo rolled her eyes at him. "Stop talking nonsense. You haven't written the lesson plan that Professor Mu made you copy 100 times yet, have you?" "Damn, I've long forgotten about it." Huang Wengsu covered his face, and Mu Omo stopped arguing with him. On the podium, Mu Baining forced a smile. "Did the class monitor of Class 1-2 take attendance?" "We've already ordered," Mu Omo and the class monitor of Class 2 said at the same time. After confirming that there were no issues with the number of participants, Mu Baining nodded. "Then everyone, open your textbooks and let's begin today's lesson." Everyone opened their textbooks and began today's lesson. During class, Mu Baining was unusually serious, with a particularly cold expression and no emotion on her face. Students from both classes noticed this scene, and some even wondered who had offended Professor Mu. The professional course ended at 9:50. Mu Baining glanced at Mu Omo not far away before turning her attention to her classmates. "All right, classmates, class dismissed. Omo, come to my office." Hearing Mu Baining's words, Mu Omo wasn't surprised. Mu Baining had already left the classroom in her high heels. Mu Omo glanced at her three roommates. "I'm going to my office. You guys go back to your dorms first." Okay. Bai Yuntao opened his school bag. "I'm going to the courier station. You two can go back first." Without thinking twice, Mu Omo tossed her textbooks to Huang Wengsu, asking him to take them back, and then rushed out in a hurry. Mu Baining walked slowly, clearly waiting for Mu Omo. He jogged over to catch up with her and walked alongside her. Looking into Mu Baining's cold eyes, Mu Omo took a deep breath. "Ning, Professor Mu, well, have you told Uncle about this?" Mu Baining's face remained expressionless. She hummed in response and looked ahead, saying, "I called my dad yesterday, and he said he would look into this matter." After saying that, Mu Baining turned to look at Mu Omo. "I didn't let the shop open today. This morning I went to the commercial street and found that there were many tasting coupons scattered on the ground. I also asked some acquaintances and even some universities in the surrounding area, all of which had tasting vouchers." Seeing Mu Baining's unpleasant expression, Mu Omo said, "Don't worry too much about it. Ning, just focus on preparing your lessons and teach your classmates well. Give me 7 days, and I will definitely resolve it for you within 7 days." Mu Baining glanced at him again. "Let's go to the office first. I have some documents for you, and I also need to compile a list of students who want to join the party. I've already reserved a spot for you." "Okay," Mu Omo scratched her head. Dating her advisor was different. She would definitely save the scholarship and other benefits for him. The most urgent task is to resolve the issue of tasting vouchers. Soon, he followed Mu Baining into the office, where he was given some instructions about the school. Since there were other faculty and staff members in the office, they didn't discuss the tasting vouchers in detail. After completing the task assigned by Mu Baining, Mu Ziomo did not return to her dormitory but ran out directly. Let's see if we can find any clues in the commercial street. Just as he arrived at the commercial street, they found a steak tasting voucher for Wales Restaurant on the ground. Chapter 105. Has Mu Baining already told her dad about their relationship? Mu Ziomo frowned slightly, then picked up the steak tasting coupon from the ground. That's right, it's exactly the same as the one Mu Baining sent him, and the one Du Yang had. I found it as soon as it came out. How many copies must have been printed? Mu Ziomo took a deep breath, stuffed the tasting voucher into her pocket, and then walked towards Mu Baining's restaurant. The restaurant usually opens at 9 o'clock. It's already past 10 o'clock, and the gate is still tightly closed. Meanwhile, there were also a lot of people outside the Welsh restaurant. Most of them were students, and they were quite far away. Mu Ziomo could see that they were all holding steak tasting vouchers. Seeing that the shop was not open, the crowd started cursing. What's going on? Why is the store closed today? Exactly, I took a taxi 6 kilometers to get here just to get a free steak. I hope this place doesn't go out of business. This event was so big, I feel like the boss must have gone bankrupt and run away. There were many people at the entrance, saying all sorts of things. Mu Ziomo quickly went over, gently patted a classmate on the shoulder and asked, "Hey classmate, I heard you mention getting steak for free. How do you do that?" After hearing the voice, the student looked Mu Ziomo up and down and then said, "Which school are you from? People at your school give out free tasting coupons, don't you have any?" Mu Ziomo shook her head. "No, which school do you go to?" "Shanghai Langxiang Vocational School." The classmate ignored Mu Ziomo. Mu Ziomo was taken aback. Good grief, someone was even handing out tasting coupons at school. Mu Ziomo's expression was not good. There were indeed too many tasting coupons. With so many people promoting it, it would be difficult to find the mastermind behind it. Moreover, this matter must be resolved as soon as possible. If the store remains closed, its reputation will indeed decline significantly. He scratched his head and suddenly felt a headache coming on. Just as Mu Ziomo was about to leave, his shoulder was suddenly patted. "Ziomo." Mu Changlei's voice came from behind, and Mu Ziomo jumped and turned her head. Upon seeing Mu Changlei's smiling face, he couldn't help but say, "Oh, uncle, you've come." "Of course." Mu Changlei took a deep breath. "Yesterday, Ning called me and said that something happened at the store, so I came over to check on the situation first." The sun was quite strong today, so Mu Ziomo looked around and said, "Uncle Mu, let's find another place to talk." "Haha, okay." Last night, Mu Baining told him about Mu Ziomo's confession to him, and of course, Mu Baining said he agreed. Well, actually, it was a lie to his dad, mainly because he didn't want to be nagged by his dad. She also told her father about Mu Ziomo's preparation of the airship and the fireworks. Mu Changlei was overjoyed to hear about this, and he had many things he wanted to discuss with Mu Ziomo. Soon, Mu Ziomo led Mu Changlei to a Shandong cuisine restaurant. It was almost noon, and Mu Changlei probably hadn't eaten yet, so the two of them might as well have a simple meal and drink. After entering the shop, Mu Ziomo ordered a few dishes, poured water into Mu Changlei's glass, and handed him a cigarette. Although he doesn't smoke, his dad told him to prepare a few packs. You can offer one when you meet an acquaintance or ask someone for a favor. Mu Changlei smokes. After lighting a cigarette, he took a deep drag, and his expression became a bit serious. "My daughter told me that someone is impersonating her shop and making false claims. Ziomo, do you know what's going on?" At this time, Mu Changlei was not very aware of the matter. Mu Ziomo nodded. "Yes, uncle, it's like this." He took out the steak tasting voucher he had just picked up outside and handed it to Mu Changlei. Mu Changlei took it and frowned as he looked at the handwriting. "I remember now, Ning did say that to me yesterday." He took a deep drag of his cigarette and exhaled a puff of smoke. "I heard from Ning that you found a very famous celebrity to visit her shop, and the shop became an overnight sensation." Upon hearing this, Mu Ziomo frowned, not expecting that Mu Baining had told her father about this. He nodded, "That's right. After Ning's shop became popular, it's possible that it aroused jealousy from her competitors, which is why they resorted to such tactics." Mu Changlei, "It's possible. After all, in this society, nobody wants others to be rich, especially competitors." Mu Ziomo nodded slightly. "This tasting voucher has spread throughout this area. The one you have is one I picked up from the ground. I just asked a classmate, and he said that his school has people specifically distributing tasting vouchers. In short, this is quite a big deal. Banged, Mu Changle suddenly slammed his hand on the table, knowing that this would have a significant impact on his daughter's shop. I understand, Mu Changle thought carefully. I will open a case to investigate this matter when I get back, and Kendi will give my daughter an explanation. Seeing Mu Changle's determined look, Mu Ziomo immediately felt a surge of fatherly love and quickly said, Uncle, you don't need to be too angry about this. I know, Mu Changle nodded. I've already figured out how to investigate. The large number of photocopied sample vouchers must have involved collaboration with advertising companies. I will investigate each advertising company in my jurisdiction one by one, and I believe the truth will come out soon. Mu Changle looked up at Mu Ziomo again. Ziomo, I hope you can take better care of Ningning these days. Don't let her strong exterior fool you, she's just a little girl at heart. She often acts coquettishly towards me, so this must have been a big blow to her so. Don't worry, Uncle. Mu Ziomo nodded heavily. Leave Ningning to me. I'll also try to figure out a way to give Ningning an answer as soon as possible. Seeing Mu Ziomo's determined look, Mu Changle laughed. Ha, you truly are the man my daughter has chosen. I am extremely satisfied to have you as my son-in-law. Mu Ziomo was stunned when she heard his words. Good heavens, son-in-law? What the heck? Could it be that Mu Baining lied to his dad and said the two of them had confirmed their relationship? However, this is also a good thing. This proves that he already holds a significant place in her heart. What he needs to do now is to take good care of Mu Baining and not let her down. Soon, the dishes he ordered were served on the table. Mu Ziomo and Mu Changle started eating very quickly. Mu Changle insisted that he have a few drinks with him, and Mu Ziomo felt embarrassed to refuse. I only drank a small amount, about 2 ounces. At 12:30 p.m., the two walked out of the Shandong Cuisine restaurant and found that there were even more people outside the Welsh Western restaurant. Damn it, you tricked me. I came here and you didn't even open the door. I really don't understand why Brother Who would endorse this store. Isn't this deceiving consumers? I'm going to expose this on Weibo. Chapter 106 just now Mu Ziomo said, Our dad. Hearing the voices of the crowd, Mu Ziomo took a deep breath. He turned his gaze to Mu Changle. Uncle, let's go back first. I've already thought of a solution. You've already figured it out. Hearing Mu Ziomo's words, Mu Changle didn't think much of it and nodded. Okay, I also need to go back to the bureau to resolve this matter for my daughter as soon as possible. Okay, Uncle Mu, please drive carefully on your way back. You've been drinking, so please don't drive. Haha, I know, don't worry. Soon, Mu Ziomo parted ways with Mu Changle. Mu Ziomo returned to the Magic University and headed towards her dormitory. As for his proposed solution, he suggested that Hu Jintao should explain the situation on Weibo. After all, this is unfair competition. If we tell everyone the truth, customers will definitely understand. As for who did this, Mu Ziomo believed that Mu Changle could handle it. Only then did Mu Ziomo realize that he had indeed overcomplicated the matter. It was actually very simple to solve. Upon reaching the dormitory building, Mu Ziomo pushed open the door and discovered that his roommates were not inside. He probably went out to see some girls. He's already found someone to be in a relationship, and Huang Wenxu and Bai Yuntao are starting to feel a strange sense of crisis. It's easier to find pretty girls to date in college right after the semester starts. It's only been a little over a month, and many girls are still single. After Mu Ziomo sat down in the chair, she opened Weibo. There was a local group on Weibo, and Mu Ziomo clicked on it directly. Coincidentally, the first Weibo post was about the Welsh restaurant. At first glance, the Weibo post is about a Welsh restaurant defrauding consumers by launching a promotion that it doesn't follow. The post doesn't have a high number of views, but a few people have directly tagged Hu Ji in the comments. Of course, a big star like Brother Who would definitely not pay any attention to him. Even his Weibo account is managed by a team. Mu Ziomo didn't take it seriously, opened her phone's contacts, and found Brother Who's number. His phone number appeared automatically in his contacts. Mu Ziomo wasn't sure if Hu Ji would answer if she called him directly at this point, so she hesitated for a moment before dialing. About 3 seconds later, the other end answered. Hey, hello there, little Mo. Hu Ji's voice came from the other end of the phone, quite enthusiastic. Upon hearing his voice, Mu Ziomo quickly said, Okay, hey, Brother Who, how have you been lately? It's all right. Brother Who treated him like family at all. My schedule has been pretty full lately. I have 2 movies to film, and I also have to participate in a variety show. In short, my schedule is quite packed. Omo hummed in agreement. The lives of big stars are indeed special, especially for a top-tier star like him, who is usually extremely busy. At this point, the fact that Brother Who answered his call was already a great favor to him. Omo didn't want to waste his time, and just as he was about to ask for his help, Brother Who suddenly spoke up. "How's business going, Brother Omo? It's been pretty good since I recommended the shop to you, hasn't it?" He didn't have time to observe the quality of the shops, but since Omo had called him, he might as well ask. The two of them are still good brothers, no matter what. It was very effective, but something happened recently. Omo told Brother Who everything about the tasting vouchers. After hearing Omo's explanation, Brother Who calmly said, "Yes, I have a basic understanding of this matter. Just as you said, it should have been done by our competitors. I will explain this on Weibo as soon as possible. However, I feel that you also have problems. When something like this happens, you should clarify it as soon as possible. You can post the formula outside the store, and it would be best to register an official Weibo and Douyin account so that you can also refute the rumors." Hearing Brother Who's suggestion, Omo nodded. That's right, there are still many problems with the shop he and Baining run. These problems must be improved gradually. Seeing that Omo did not reply, Brother Who continued. "It is possible that the store's reputation has declined, as you just mentioned, but I feel that we can use this incident to promote the brand. It's an open problem right now, but it can attract a lot of customers to the store. You can devise a plan, and you can come up with the specifics yourself. In short, in my opinion, this is not only not a bad thing, but it may also be an opportunity." After hearing what Brother Who said, Omo was completely impressed by him. He analyzed the matter with remarkable calmness, and his first thought was to clarify rather than evade it. At this moment, Omo already had an idea. He said, "Okay, I have a detailed plan, I'll tell you." Brother Who hummed in agreement. "I'll just give you another chance to promote it. It's a small thing, don't worry about it." "Okay, I'll plan out a solution right away. Thank you, Brother Who." After chatting for a few more minutes, Omo hung up the phone. Then Omo thought about it carefully. A final solution was determined as follows. Anyone who enters the store with a tasting voucher can get a free sample of veal steak to take away. If they purchase any other items from the store, they will receive a 10% discount. This way, guests can indeed eat steak for free, and their losses won't be significant. If customers find it delicious, they will definitely repurchase it and may even buy other products from the store. Omo felt this was feasible, and after finalizing the plan, she sent it directly to Brother Who. Brother Who replied to him on WeChat with a received message. After getting everything sorted out, Omo took a deep breath. In fact, the matter was already considered resolved at this point. To prevent Baining from continuing to feel bad, he quickly dialed her number. Beep, beep. "Hello, Tilda," came Baining's voice from the other end of the phone. You could tell from her voice that she was still in a bad mood. Omo said, "Ning Ning, I have good news for." Upon hearing this, Baining asked, "What good news? Momo, have you found the person who distributed the tasting coupons?" Hearing this, Omo chuckled. "No, but I've already told Brother Who about it, and he'll clarify it on Weibo. Besides, this might not be a bad thing for us." Baining was a little confused. Omo said, "Let's talk about it in person. I just ran into Dad and we discussed a plan for this matter. Also, the store should be open as usual tomorrow. Have all employees come to work tonight. I'll go and hold a meeting with them." "Okay." Baining trusted Omo completely, and without much thought, she agreed to the matter. "Okay, I have class this afternoon. I'll come to your office after class today, darling Tilda." "Okay, Tilda." Just then, Baining suddenly remembered something. Omo just said, "Our dad." Chapter 107, Omo. "I want to eat the food my wife cooks." Baining blushed. This brat of a brother is really something else. Back in the dormitory, after the matter was resolved, Omo felt completely relaxed. He lay on his bed and fell asleep almost immediately. When he woke up again, it was already 1:50. He was woken up by Huang Wengsu. He rubbed his eyes, slowly opened them, and at the same time, Huang Wengsu looked up at him and said, "Brother Mo, what's wrong with you today? Did you drink at noon? You're usually the one who wakes us up. Why are you sleeping like a log today?" "It's nothing, I'm just a little sleepy." He touched his throbbing head. He had drunk about 100 ml of liquor at noon, so why did he have a headache? He shook his head, quickly got out of bed and washed his face, then felt a little better. Then I went straight to the playground with my roommate for PE class. Physical education class is free time to play. Du Yang just bought a new basketball yesterday, and soon Mu Zaya Omo and several other boys started playing basketball. Meanwhile, the only 4 girls in the class were also watching them show off their skills. Mu Zaya Omo didn't play basketball much, but after drinking the body potion, he gradually developed a liking for basketball. He occasionally plays basketball with his roommates. I wouldn't say he's very good, but he can definitely beat his roommates. Physical education class ended at 3:50 p.m. Du Yang dribbled the basketball and tossed a bottle of Beishui mountain mineral water to Mu Zaya Omo. "Brother Mo, don't go back yet, let's play some more. That dunk you made was so cool." "No, no." Mu Zaya Omo shook her head. "I have something to do. You guys play first, I'll go back now." At this moment, Huang Wengsu ran to Du Yang's side and said, "Du Yang, what do you know? Brother Mo is going on a date with Professor Mu. It's so much more fun to touch a white rabbit than to only be able to touch a basketball." Mu Zaya Omo was speechless. This Huang Wengsu was about to get beaten up again. Mu Zaya Omo smiled and said, "Du Yang, Taozi, get ready to fly the plane tonight. I'll treat you to hot pot later." "All right." Du Yang and Bai Yuntao smiled like doting ants when they heard the news, while Huang Wengsu felt a chill run down his spine. Damn it. Mu Zaya Omo didn't linger there and ran straight towards the teaching building. A dozen minutes later, he went up to the teaching building and entered the faculty and staff office. Mu Baining was alone in the office. She was looking at the documents on her computer screen when she saw Mu Zaya Omo come in. She quickly put down her work and looked up at Mu Zaya Omo. After an afternoon of reflection, she was in a better mood. She was waiting for Mu Zaya Omo to come and find her. "Zaya Omo, you're here." "MMM," Mu Zaya Omo hummed in response. Since there was no one else in the office, Mu Baining didn't seem too reserved. She got up and poured Mu Zaya Omo a glass of water from the water dispenser, then gestured for Mu Zaya Omo to sit down. "Please sit down. By the way, what you told me about the tasting vouchers at noon wasn't a bad thing." Well, upon hearing this, Mu Zaya Omo chuckled. "Little Ning Ning, you really care about this matter." Mu Zaya Omo didn't explain, but teased. "If you say something nice and make me happy, I'll tell you." Mu Baining was slightly taken aback. Mu Zaya Omo had gotten too cocky. Seeing Mu Baining roll her eyes at him, he quickly said, "Ning Ning, we shouldn't avoid this matter. The shop can just open as usual. Brother who said he would refute the rumors on Weibo tonight, and then I came up with another plan. Our store's daily turnover is usually around 200,000 yuan. Maybe after this incident, the store's turnover will increase." Mu Baining frowned deeply. "A countermeasure." "That's right, people with tasting vouchers can have a small sample stake. If they want to continue, they can do so with a discount. If you don't want to continue spending money, you can take the complimentary stake with you. I believe our stakes can win over these consumers, which is also a way to build up our customer base." Mu Baining nodded slightly, because she had just graduated from university and entered the workforce, and she didn't have much experience. After hearing Mu Zaya Omo's words, I felt that this was indeed feasible. The person who spread the rumor never imagined that, despite trying to damage the store's reputation, the incident would actually improve it instead of causing it to decline. Mu Zaya Omo continued, "There are many things that the store is not doing well right now. It's not enough to just have a store manager, waiters, and chefs. With the internet so developed now, we can register some accounts, create an official website for our store, hire some operations staff, and promote it online, including on Douyin, TikTok for group buying." Hearing Mu Zaya Omo's words, Mu Baining nodded and said, "Yes, I had considered these things before, but I put them aside because I was too busy with work. As for what you've said, you can arrange it yourself. I have faith in your abilities." Mu Baining looked at him quite seriously. Seeing Mu Baining's bright eyes, Mu Zaya Omo nodded heavily. "Okay, leave the operation of the store to me. With me here, I can definitely make the store thrive. I believe in you." Seeing Mu Baining finally smile, Mu Zaya Omo also smiled. Mu Baining then took out a few sheets of paper. "By the way, I talked to you about joining the party this morning. You should write your application now. You'll need to go to the lecture hall every weekend for 2 hours to learn about joining the party. Is that all right?" Mu Zaya Omo shook her head. "Joining the party is a particularly glorious thing, and it is a contribution to the country." "No problem, I'll start writing now. Here are some templates, you can just copy some of them." Mu Baining wanted Mu Zaya Omo to copy the template, but Mu Zaya Omo shook her head. "Copying the template would be a bit perfunctory. I'll just write it myself." Okay." Mu Baining was surprised that Mu Ziomo would actually write her own application to join the party. Looking at Mu Ziomo's meticulous expression, she said, "Then you can write here first. I'll go back to my dorm to change my clothes and I'll call you after I'm done. Let me know what you want to eat tonight and I'll treat you." Mu Ziomo chuckled. "I want to eat a meal cooked by my wife." Mu Baining was slightly taken aback after hearing this. When she returned to her dorm last night, Liu Weiwei was not there. I only found out when I called her that she had taken leave. Since she wasn't there, it wouldn't be a bad idea to take Mu Ziomo back to the dorm for dinner. She recently bought a lot of ingredients, which is perfect for him to try. Thinking of this, Mu Baining smiled and looked at Mu Ziomo. "Then let's go back to the dorm with me, I'll cook for you." P.S. The plot is really bad, let's just end it here. Let's start the sweet moments. Please give me some flowers. Xiaming will be eternally grateful. Chapter 108. I think I called you by the wrong name. Upon hearing Mu Baining's words, Mu Ziomo suddenly looked up at Mu Baining's face. He had just said it casually, but he didn't expect Mu Baining to actually agree. Since they had already agreed, Mu Ziomo naturally had no reason not to go. I've had Mu Baining's steak before. Her Western food was all right. I wonder how her Chinese food is. Going to try it is definitely no problem. He asked, Ning, why did you agree so readily? Isn't that gossip queen Liu Weiwei here? Because she often complained about Liu Weiwei to Mu Ziomo. Even Mu Ziomo would refer to Liu Weiwei as the gossip queen whenever she mentioned her. I wonder if Liu Weiwei will hit her if she finds out about this. She nodded. Yes, Liu Weiwei isn't here today. She had to take leave because of family matters. There's no one else in the dorm, just the two of us. Don't you want to come with me? No. Mu Ziomo shook her head emphatically. Not going. Why wouldn't she go? A lone man and a lone woman alone in a room, who knows? Canada conjuginus, Omega Canada conjuginus. He. Mu Ziomo grinned mischievously as he quickly put away the letter and pen, ready to leave the office at any moment. Seeing Mu Ziomo's enthusiastic attitude, Mu Baining chuckled. After tidying up their things, Mu Baining and Mu Ziomo soon walked out of the office side by side. Of course, they weren't overly close. Their relationship was just like that of a typical teacher and student. After leaving the teaching building, the two happened to pass by the cafeteria. Suddenly, Mu Baining, who was standing beside her, remembered something and turned her gaze to Mu Ziomo. Momo, what do you want to eat? The food in the dorm might not suit your taste. We can go to the underground supermarket to buy whatever you want. I'm not picky about food, Tilda. Mu Ziomo doesn't care what she eats, as long as it's made by Mu Baining. Upon hearing this, Mu Baining thought for a moment and said, Then let's go buy some shrimp together. I'll make shrimp dumplings for you, and then we can cook a few more dishes. Okay. Mu Ziomo nodded. Perfect timing, I'll take you to the cat cafe to see the future owner Tilda. Upon hearing this, Mu Baining remembered the cat cafe that Mu Ziomo had mentioned. She hasn't been to a cat cafe yet, but she's heard gossip Queen Liu Weiwei raving about it. As a cat lover, she definitely has to go check it out. Okay, Tilda, Mu Baining nodded happily. How many cats are there in the shop now? Ning, have you forgotten? I think I told you yesterday that there are 10 now. There's a very cute golden-shaded dog here. You can bring Maruko here to play sometimes. The two entered the underground supermarket chatting and laughing. Mu Baining bought some shrimp and some vegetables. Before going to university, Mu Baining cooked at home and could make all kinds of common home-cooked meals. Half an hour later, the two walked out of the supermarket together. Across from them was the Hello Kitty Cat Cafe, and Mu Baining's eyes were immediately drawn to the pink signboard. The soft pink color is loved by many girls, and Mu Baining is no exception, mainly because she usually dresses in a very pure and innocent way, and when she wears a white dress, she looks like a soft and gentle girl. Noticing Mu Baining's gaze, Mu Ziomo looked at her curiously. Stop looking, let's go check out the cat cafe together, boss lady Tilda. Mu Ziomo deliberately emphasized the word boss lady, and Mu Baining nodded in agreement. At this moment, she was also eager to see the kittens, and soon she and Mu Ziomo arrived outside the shop. The exterior walls of the shop are decorated with glass, and inside there are some seats, while the rest is the cat's play area. Through the glass, 10 adorable kittens appeared before Mu Baining's eyes, and her gaze immediately went straight to them. Gold-shaded cats, silver-shaded cats, Garfield, and even Tom the cat with a swallowtail bow are all included. This little Tom cat is a blue British shorthair with blue fur and white fur on its limbs, just like Tom from the Tom and Jerry cartoon. So Jiang Han, an employee at the store named the cat Tom. Just a few days ago, she even brought over a brown, fancy mouse, which she named Jerry. But Jerry didn't even live for an hour before being swallowed by the cat. Of course, keeping fancy mice in a cat cafe is also inappropriate. Looking at Mew Baining's gaze, Mew Ziomo thought, "My goodness, this girl's eyes are completely captivated after seeing the kittens inside. Mew Baining really loves kittens." Mew Ziomo quickly tugged at her. Because there were many people nearby, he didn't call her Ning Ning but Professor Mew instead. "Professor Mew, stop looking here. Why don't you go inside and masturbate?" "Oh, mm. Mew Ziomo led Mew Baining into the store. At that time, there were only 2 employees in the store. It's Jiang Han and Zhao Chunhua. It's class time now, and Chen Kiyuki isn't here. Upon seeing Mew Ziomo lead Mew Baining in, Jiang Han immediately recognized her. After all, Mew Baining had a considerable reputation at the Magic University, being the youngest and most beautiful professor there. Even other classmates call her the Ice Queen. Jiang Han is a student in the School of Journalism. She has only seen Mew Baining a few times from afar and has never spoken to her. She was extremely surprised to see her boss bring in a university professor. Good heavens, what's going on? Could it be that the boss? Jiang Han shook her head, trying her best not to think that way. After the 2 entered, Jiang Han and Zhao Chunhua greeted them very respectfully, saying, "Hello, boss. Thank you both for your hard work." Mew Ziomo glanced at Jiang Han and Zhao Chunhua, then turned her gaze to Mew Baining. "Professor Mew, let me introduce you. This is Jiang Han, an employee of the shop. She is a classmate from the School of Journalism. This is the store manager, Zhao Chunhua." Upon hearing this, Mew Baining smiled and nodded. "Hello." Mew Ziomo turned to look at the 2 employees. "This is Mew Baining, my professor. I brought her here to pet the cats." "Hello, Professor Mutilda." Jiang Han hurriedly and respectfully said, somewhat flustered, "Professor Mew, what would you like to drink? I'll make it for you." I'll do it. After all, she was his girlfriend, so Mew Ziomo had to do it herself. Since Mew Ziomo had spoken, Jiang Han naturally couldn't say anything more. Mew Ziomo then turned her gaze to Mew Baining. "Ning Ning, you can go pet the cat first. I'll make you a drink here in a moment." Upon hearing this, Mew Baining cursed inwardly. Why is Mew Ziomo suddenly calling her Ning Ning? Didn't we agree to call him Professor Mew in front of other people? Won't this lead to misunderstandings from others? At this moment, Mew Baining felt like a herd of alpacas was stampeding through her mind. But there was nothing she could do. Since Mew Baining had already spoken, she could only nod reluctantly, forcing a smile that looked more like a grimace. Okay. At this moment, Mew Ziomo suddenly realized, she seemed to have called him by the wrong name. Chapter 109, Why Does Mew Ziomo Daydream? Who cares? Mew Ziomo didn't take it seriously. Even if Jiang Han found out, what could she do? This girl isn't as talkative as Liu Weiwei. Besides, the Magic University doesn't prohibit teacher-student relationships, so his relationship with Mew Baining will get out sooner or later. It's incredibly difficult to hide your university years. Mew Baining sheepishly opened the glass door and started petting the cat. Because it was still during class time, there weren't many customers in the store. After Mew Baining went inside, the 10 kittens immediately became very clingy and started rubbing against Mew Baining's paws. The mischievous pastry even lay down under her collarbone and rubbed it with its little paws, swaying back and forth. Tusk, what a lecherous little cat. Mew Ziomo was both amused and exasperated. It seemed that Mew Baining was particularly popular after she went in. Could it be because of the system? Without thinking twice, Mew Ziomo quickly walked into the milk tea shop's work area and started making mango pomelo sago. He felt that the best drink in the shop was mango pomelo sago, and of course, Mew Baining also particularly liked it. After all, there's Liu Weiwei with the Intelligence Network. While Mew Ziomo was busy, Jiang Han, an employee of the store, suddenly came over. She looked through the glass at Mew Baining, who was petting a cat, then stared longingly at Mew Ziomo. "Boss, I just heard you call Professor Mew Ning Ning. What's going on here?" She finally couldn't help but speak up. Well, actually, girls all like gossip. Upon hearing her words, Mew Ziomo put down what she was doing and turned to look at Jiang Han. Why is this girl gossiping too? He called out to Ning Ning, and she did hear him. She has already begun to doubt their relationship. Mew Ziomo thought about it carefully. Since he had already said he would give the shop to Mew Baining, he had no intention of hiding it from her. The woman inside will be the shop owner from now on. Upon hearing this, both Jiang Han and Zhao Chunyu were stunned. Some sign, letter FF9F, de letter FF9F, Japanese letter, Japanese letter. No way, no way. They had only just made a rough estimate, and Muzaya Omo actually admitted it. Seeing their surprised expressions, Muzaya Omo quickly said, "But don't tell anyone about this. We just confirmed our relationship last night, so please don't spread the word." "Oh, don't worry, boss." Jiang Han nodded, though she was a little surprised. She thought Muzaya Omo would find a really, really beautiful girlfriend at school, but unexpectedly, he actually dated the school's counselor. And I even managed to get her in my hands. Of course, Professor Mew is indeed good-looking, and she especially envied Professor Mew for having a 36D bust. "I'm so envious." Then Jiang Han and Zhao Chunhua didn't ask any further questions. This is, after all, a private matter between Muzaya Omo and Mu Baining, and it's really not appropriate to ask about it further. A few minutes later, Muzaya Omo finished making the mango pomelo sago, opened the glass door, and delivered it to Mu Baining. Mu Baining has been on her period these past few days, and Muzaya Omo doesn't know if her period has ended yet, so she hasn't put out any ice. Afterwards, Su Bing was still lying on Mu Baining's chest. At that moment, a sentence suddenly popped into Muzaya Omo's mind. "I wish I were a kitten. What am I thinking?" Muzaya Omo shook his head. Why did he suddenly want to become a cat? "Dear Ning Ning, the mango pomelo sago is ready. Please try it. The soundproofing of the glass here is pretty good." So Muzaya Omo was a bit more unrestrained, since Jiang Han and Zhao Chunhua outside couldn't hear her anyway. Little did he know, the door hadn't been closed properly when he came in. The two people outside heard this clearly. Upon hearing Muzaya Omo's voice, Mu Baining abruptly raised her head. "This Muzaya Omo." Seeing Mu Baining's expression, Muzaya Omo chuckled. "The soundproofing here is excellent, so don't worry, no one will hear me calling you by your name." "Are you sure?" Mu Baining glanced at the half-closed glass door behind him. "Of course." He handed the prepared mango pomelo sago to Mu Baining. "Try my mango pomelo sago. I heard from Liu Weiwei that you like to drink this." Mu Baining took the cat from her and looked down at the pastry lying on her chest. "Zyromo, this cat." Mu Baining was in a dilemma, because this golden-shaded dog was simply too wicked. They're treating her breasts like their home. What kind of naughty kitten is that? Upon seeing this, Muzaya Omo chuckled. "Professor Mew, maybe you're just too charming. Even the little kitten wants to stay with you and never leave." The rather chubby Su Bing lying on Mu Baining's chest was indeed hindering her movement. Muzaya Omo took out a cat treat from a nearby cabinet, which finally attracted Su Bing away. After pouring some cat food into the food bowl, the kittens went to eat and immediately stopped clinging to Mu Baining. Watching the 10 cats stretching out their tails to eat, Muzaya Omo chuckled. "Professor Mew, what do you think of this shop?" Mu Baining took a sip of mango pomelo sago through the straw, and her eyes lit up immediately. Why does the mango pomelo sago in her hand taste a little strange? It tastes surprisingly good. She discovered that no matter what food Muzaya Omo made, it always tasted particularly peculiar. She had never tasted such delicious mango pomelo sago. At this moment, Mu Baining didn't know if it was truly delicious or just a hallucination caused by her feelings for Muzaya Omo. She nodded slightly. "Yes, the shop's decor is nice, all pink, and the drinks taste good too. I especially love these cats. Do you like that golden-shaded dog?" Muzaya Omo chuckled. Would Mu Baining like such a lecherous little cat? "Let's forget about that golden-shaded cat." Mu Baining looked at the cat with the swallowtail bow tie. "I really like Tom, and I think he could be friends with Wanzi. Let's carry Tom away later." "May I?" Mu Baining glanced at Muzaya Omo, who nodded heavily. "Have you forgotten? I already said I'd give this shop to you. You're the boss, so you're the one who calls the shots." "Oh, this." Mu Baining blushed and said, This isn't quite right." "It's okay, you can give me your Welsh restaurant. It's called reciprocity." Upon hearing Muzaya Omo's words, Mu Baining immediately felt something was off. Reciprocity? What the heck? This brat has been eyeing her shop all along." Mu Baining's face immediately darkened. He traded a cat cafe for his Western restaurant. Muzaya Omo is really good at business, always daydreaming. Chapter 110. You seem to be quite familiar with the dormitory supervisor. Seeing Mu Baining's somewhat bewildered expression, Muzaya Omo chuckled. "What's wrong, don't you want to?" Mu Baining rolled her eyes at him disdainfully. "Fine, I'll make you the boss after I open a branch." Yes, yes. Muzaya Omo was just joking with her, so he didn't dwell on it. After Mu Baining finished drinking the mango pomelo sago, Muzaya Omo saw her movements and quickly stood up. Mu Baining was also preparing to leave to go back and cook for Mu Omo. At this moment, she glanced at Tom, the cat wearing a swallowtail bow tie, and hesitated whether to take him back with her. I wonder if he'll fight with Maruko. Two unfamiliar cats could very well end up fighting over food. The main problem is that Maruko is still small, so if the cats were to really fight, they definitely wouldn't be able to beat Tom. Mu Omo, who was standing to the side, had already seen through Mu Baining's thoughts, so she said, "Ning Ning, if you want to take Tom back, just take him with you. He can keep Wanzi company." Mu Baining really liked this cat, so she said, "Then, you can carry the groceries and hold Tom." "Okay." Mu Omo agreed immediately, handed the vegetables, shrimp, and other things he had just bought at the supermarket to Mu Baining, and then squatted down and picked up Tom. Mu Baining was slightly taken aback upon seeing this. Shouldn't Mu Omo have told her to hold the cat while he carried the things? Mu Baining was puzzled. This guy was sometimes very detail-oriented and a real sweetheart, but other times he was a complete straight man. His IQ fluctuates, it's so strange. At this moment, Mu Omo had already picked up Tom. For some reason, he always felt that the cats in his cat cafe were much more well-behaved than the cats in other cat cafes. After being picked up by Mu Omo, Tom didn't struggle or meow. Instead, he pressed his head against Mu Omo's chest and made a purring sound. I have to say, this cat is really obedient. He held Tom and looked up at Mu Baining. "Then let's go over first. Ning Ning, why don't you hold Tom and I'll carry the things?" "Just hold him." Mu Baining shook her head, her tone slightly heavy. Mu Omo scratched her head. Why does Mu Baining seem a bit strange? Without giving it much thought, the two left the room together. As they passed the bar, Jianghan smiled and said, Boss's wife Tilda, are you going back already?" "Okay," Mu Omo nodded. "We'll take Tom with us for now and bring him back in a few days. Just make sure you leave work on time today." "Okay, boss." Mu Baining frowned slightly. Why were the shop's employees calling the boss's wife so casually? Mu Omo took 2 steps forward and noticed Mu Baining was still standing there, stunned. "Ning Ning, what are you standing there for? Come on." Oh. Mu Baining came to her senses, nodded, and was still puzzled. Could it be that Mu Omo just told the store employees about their relationship? Although Mu Baining wasn't particularly averse to it, she still felt a little uncomfortable. After leaving the basement, the two strolled side by side on campus. At this moment, Tom stood directly on Mu Omo's shoulders without needing to be carried, a scene that attracted the attention of countless classmates. It's important to know that keeping cats is prohibited at Magic University. Mu Omo hasn't officially promoted the cat cafe yet, so a large number of students haven't even heard of the Hello Kitty Cat Cafe. Holy crap, look at that guy's cat on his shoulder. It's so damn cute, and he's even wearing a bow tie around his neck. Isn't that Tom the cat playing the piano in the cartoon? Where are you focusing your attention? Look at the girl next to him, her legs are so big, no. Her breasts are so white. I really want to pet that cat. That cat actually stood on someone's shoulder, it's so cute. Let's go, girls. We'd like to ask this guy to let us take a picture with his cat. The surrounding classmates were talking about it, saying all sorts of things. Mu Omo and Mu Baining were walking towards the faculty dormitory when 2 female students suddenly approached. A female student had 2 braids hanging down her shoulders and was wearing a mask. Her eyes were quite pretty. The other girl was a hot girl, dressed entirely in black with her belly button showing. They saw 2 girls blocking their way, and the girl with braided pigtails was looking at Tom on his shoulder with shining eyes. It seems these 2 girls were attracted by Tom. At this moment, the girl with braided pigtails glanced at Mu Omo. As the one who sang, guessed, before, he was still remembered by many girls, including the girl in front of me. She was Mu Omo's senior, and she was so focused on the kitten that she didn't realize the kitten's owner was him. "Hi, Junior, may I take a picture with this cat?" she asked, a little nervously. This was the first time she had ever spoken to a strange boy on her own initiative. If her best friend hadn't been there, she wouldn't have dared to do it. Looking at the somewhat shy girl in front of him, Mu Omo glanced at Mu Baining, who was standing there in a daze. He didn't agree directly, but instead asked Mu Baining for her opinion. "Professor Mu, wouldn't it take less time for Tom and his classmates to take a picture?" It's okay, Mu Baining quickly said. After getting Mu Baining's permission, Mu Omo squatted down and put Talking Tom down. After being placed on the ground, Tom lazily lay down, squinting his eyes, looking like he wanted to sleep. Mu Baining looked at Mu Omo, a slight smile playing on her lips. This little brat is not bad. He even knows to ask for her opinion. Since Tom was put down, more and more people have gathered around him, and of course, most of them are focused on Tom the cat. After taking many photos, Mu Omo and Mu Baining finally left. As soon as Mu Omo and Mu Baining entered the dormitory building, the dormitory supervisor greeted Mu Omo directly, just like last time. "Handsome guy, you're here again." "They're here, they're here." Mu Omo's face darkened. Damn it, this dorm supervisor actually remembered her. That's just ridiculous. Meanwhile, Mu Baining, standing to the side, was completely bewildered. What the heck? The dorm supervisor called Mu Omo handsome guy. And the two of them seemed to know each other very well. Could they be involved in some illicit deal? After entering the elevator, Mu Baining stared straight at Mu Omo. Mu Omo was taken aback. "Mu, Ning, why are you looking at me like that?" At the same time, Mu Baining couldn't help but say, You seem to be very familiar with the dormitory supervisor." Chapter 111, she had a man who loved her. They raised a cat together, and a simple, peaceful life was enough. "Are we very close?" No. Mu Omo shook her head repeatedly. "Ning, don't you remember the time you sprained your ankle? Ever since I called her beautiful lady that time, she's remembered me. And every time I come to see you, she calls me handsome guy. Maybe that's my charm." Mu Baining rolled her eyes at Mu Omo with utter disdain. Mu Omo is great in every way, except that she's sometimes too narcissistic. She didn't say much, mainly because Mu Omo wouldn't have any contact with the dormitory supervisor, let alone any improper transactions. The elevator doors opened and we arrived at the 6th floor. Tom was still standing on Mu Omo's shoulder. Needless to say, cats have excellent balance. He stood very steadily. The only downside was, this little kitten just shoved its anus right into Mu Omo's face. For some reason, Mu Omo noticed that. All the kittens in the shop like to turn their butts towards him. Do cats like this? Seeking answers. Mu Omo, Dan. After going outside, the two arrived at the door. Mu Baining was carrying some things, and it was inconvenient for her to open the door. "Could you hold my shopping bag for me? I'll open the door." After taking the things from Mu Baining's hands, she opened the door. The moment she pushed it open, a faint fragrance wafted into Mu Omo's nostrils. The scent was similar to Mu Baining's body odor, and it smelled particularly good. As soon as the scent entered his nostrils, it caused his testosterone levels to surge. "What are you standing there for? Come on in." As soon as Mu Baining finished speaking, Wanzi ran out of the room, making a babyish, childish noise. Meow tilde. Meow tilde. I have to say, Scottish fold cats are really cute, and their legs are so short, they're just incredibly kawaii. No girl could resist such an adorable cat. Upon hearing Wanzi's voice, Tom, who was on Mu Omo's shoulder, jumped down and went over to lick Wanzi's fur, then nuzzled against Wanzi. Seeing this, Mu Baining looked at the two adorable kittens with great curiosity. Wow, Tom is grooming Maruko's fur. This scene surprised Mu Baining greatly. After all, this was the first time the two kittens had met, and they didn't fight at all. Instead, they snuggled together. She really loves those two cats. Soon, Maruko led Tom into the house. She appears to be showing this new friend around her new home. Mu Baining led Mu Omo inside. The room was as tidy as ever, almost the same as when they came before, except for a pair of black stockings lying on Mu Baining's bed. Mu Omo was stunned. Goodness, Ning really likes black stockings. I hope Ning is wearing black stockings when I'm waiting to get the first kill. There will be details. He doesn't know if other people like black stockings, but he especially likes them. Mu Baining also noticed a pair of black stockings lying on the bed, and she quickly tried to divert Mu Omo's attention. "Momo, the litter box I ordered this morning arrived. It's the box. Could you please assemble it for me and fill it with litter?" She pointed to a small cardboard box, and Mu Omo curiously looked over at it before nodding. "Okay, leave it to me." "Okay, then I'll go wash the vegetables and cook." Although she said she would go wash the vegetables and cook, she never actually did anything. Mu Omo had already walked over and started helping Mu Baining assemble the litter box. While Mu Omo wasn't paying attention, Mu Baining quickly gathered up the black stockings on the bed and tucked them under her pillow. Only then did he feel relieved enough to enter the kitchen and start cooking. A few minutes later, Mu Omo had finished assembling the litter box. After pouring the cat litter in, he turned his head and was stunned. At that moment, Maruko and Tom were on her bed, pulling the black stockings out from under the pillow and biting them with their teeth. Looking at the black stockings with unreadable English letters printed on them, these stockings seemed to be Balenciaga. He didn't know much about black stockings. Mu Xeroxy never wore black stockings. At most, she would wear flesh-colored stockings. However, he seemed to have heard that Balenciaga is quite expensive. I just don't know if it's true or not. He turned to look at Mu Baining, who was busy in the kitchen. Ning Ning, your Balenciaga drink got bitten by Wanzi and Tom. Mu Baining is particularly sensitive to the name Balenciaga because her father, Mu Changle, gave her a Balenciaga bag for her birthday last year. It is worth more than 40,000. She doesn't usually wear it, mainly because the bag is too expensive. He would be heartbroken for a very long time if the kitten bit him. Mu Baining quickly peeked out and took a deep breath when she saw that Wanzi and Tom weren't biting a bag, but rather a pair of stockings with lettering on them. She said, "It's okay, it's not Balenciaga, it's just ordinary stockings with letters printed on them. I have a lot more, so let them get damaged." "That's good." Mu Xiomo took a deep breath when she heard Mu Baining say there was still a lot left. "There's so much more, tusk. Mu Baining really understands him too well. At this moment, Mu Xiomo noticed another box next to her. The box had a picture of an automatic cat food bowl on it, so Mu Xiomo opened it. This thing needs to be plugged in for installation. Mu Baining is a girl, so I don't know how good she is at hands-on work. But as an engineering student, this thing is definitely no problem for him. Soon, Mu Xiomo also installed it. Mu Baining was cooking in the kitchen. After Mu Xiomo had nothing to do, she quietly walked into the kitchen. Mu Baining and Yang En were so engrossed in cooking that they didn't notice him coming over, until Mu Xiomo wrapped his arms around their waists. Momo. Mu Baining couldn't help but tremble. To be honest, she was startled by what she saw. Mu Xiomo pressed close to Mu Baining, brought her mouth to her ear and whispered, "Ning Ning, do you need my help?" His breath made Mu Baining feel a tingling sensation all over her body. Mu Baining slowly shook her head. "No need. I already said that I would cook for you myself. You are a guest today, how can I let a guest cook for me?" 2. Mu Xiomo felt that Mu Baining's words made sense, so he asked, "I've installed the litter box and the cat food dispenser. Is there anything else I need to do here?" Mu Baining shook her head. "No, you can go play with Maruko and Tom. Oh, and you can feed Maruko while you're at it. He hasn't eaten since noon." "Okay." Upon hearing Mu Baining's words, Mu Xiomo quickly left the kitchen. At the same time, Mu Baining turned her head to look at her back. For some reason, she felt incredibly happy at that moment. She has a man who loves her. They raise a cat together, and a simple, ordinary life is enough. P.S. Please give me some flowers and a 5-star review. There will be details about the first blood later. Everyone tilde. Chapter 112. This year, I'll have to trouble you Ning Ning to cook for us during the Chinese New Year. In the room, Mu Xiomo found a large bag of cat food against the wall, as well as many canned cat food, cat treats, and other small snacks. It seems that Mu Baining really loves this cat. The cat food and canned food she buys are from the best brands on the market. Of course, considering that Wanzi is still young, Mu Baining also bought her pet-specific goat milk powder and used goat milk to soak cat food, which softens the cat food and helps Wanzi digest it. The considerations were exceptionally comprehensive. Suddenly, Mu Xiomo felt that Mu Baining was treating Wanzi like her own child. I must say, they took really good care of me. Soon, Mu Xiomo poured cat food into the cat food bowl, then mixed goat milk powder with warm water, and finally mixed it with the cat food. Add some probiotics to the cat food, and dinner is ready for tonight. Just then, Maruko was playing around with Tom. Mu Xiomo turned her gaze to Maruko and said, "Maruko, dinner's ready." Meow tilde. Upon hearing Xiomo's voice, Wanzi immediately stopped what she was doing, as if she really understood what he said. Then she glanced at the food bowl and ran wildly toward Mu Xiomo's feet. Soon it started cooking rice, meow. Tom went over and ate with Maruko. The most outrageous thing was that after Tom came over, Maruko actually moved 2 steps to the left to make room for Tom. Mu Xiomo was stunned when she saw this. My God, has this kitten become a spirit? They even knew to make way for their companions. Seeing that Maruko and Tom were eating with great relish, Mu Xiomo smiled slightly. Actually, being a cat isn't so bad. Having a pet owner to clean up after you makes you live like an emperor. Shaking his head, Mu Xiomo felt he was overthinking things. He turned to look at Mu Baining, who was busy in the kitchen. The girl was cooking very seriously, so Mu Xiomo didn't go over to disturb her. The black silk on the ground had been chewed up by the kitten, So Omo picked it up and threw it into the trash can, and then waited quietly. Baining said she would make him shrimp dumplings, which involved kneading the dough, preparing the vegetables, wrapping the dumplings, and steaming them. Overall, it was quite a hassle. Since she was all alone, it would indeed take a long time without anyone's help. Omo went to the kitchen again, wanting to help Baining, but as soon as he entered, Baining kicked him out. Left with no other option, he began writing his application to join the party. About an hour and a half later, Omo was getting impatient. At this moment, Baining came out of the kitchen, carrying a small steamer in her hand. Seeing Omo's listless appearance, Baining chuckled. She said with a smile, "Momo, I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. Have you finished writing your application to join the Communist Youth League or the Communist Party?" "Yes, it's finished." Seeing Baining finally come out, Omo took a deep breath. It hadn't been easy. It took a full hour and a half to make these shrimp dumplings. Of course, there were still a few dishes that hadn't been served yet, so Omo quickly went into the kitchen with her to serve them. There were still a few home-style dishes on the stove in the kitchen. Sweet and sour pork, braised pork belly, grilled oysters, and a side of scrambled eggs with tomatoes. It's quite a feast. To his surprise, Baining had even prepared grilled oysters. "Ning Ning, you've really gone to a lot of trouble preparing so many dishes. There's probably not enough for just the two of us. Then I can have it all. If not, you can bring it back for your roommates." Upon hearing this, Omo thought to himself, "Goodness, if he really brings the dishes Baining made to his roommates, they'll definitely fight over them." That's right, it's robbery. Huang Wenxu and Bai Yuntao, in particular, had long regarded Baining as their goddess. I remember on the first day of school, Huang Wenxu ran into the bathroom after seeing Baining's photo. "Forget it, they don't deserve it." Omo shook her head. Baining looked at Omo's stingy appearance and said, "Then you should eat more today." "Okay, Tilda." Carrying the dishes, the two of them walked out of the kitchen one after the other and placed them on the table in the living room. Because she had been busy in the kitchen for a long time, Baining was soaked in sweat. After placing all the food on the table, Baining said, "All right, Wanzi and Tom are full. Momo, you should try my cooking too," etc. Baining had just picked up a shrimp bun and hadn't even handed it over when Omo interrupted her. There was a small pack of wet wipes on the table. He took one out and brought it close to Baining, then gently wiped the sweat from her forehead and cheeks. Omo looked particularly attentive, and Baining's eyes were filled with his profile. Girls are generally unable to resist a boy with a delicate appearance, and Baining was no exception. "Okay, Ning Ning, you've worked hard cooking for so long." "No, it's not hard work." Baining shook her head shyly. "Let's eat first, we still need to go to the shop later, don't we?" Seeing Baining's slightly flushed cheeks, Omo threw the wet wipe in her hand into the trash can, while Baining handed her a shrimp bun. The shrimp buns weren't big. They were much smaller than the Zaya Longbao soup dumplings you usually buy. There are 8 in each steamer basket. Baining steamed quite a lot this time, a total of 5 baskets, which is 40 in total. After receiving the shrimp bun, Omo patted her rumbling stomach and then put it in her mouth. Baining didn't eat. Instead, she stared intently at Omo. During her 4 years of university, she almost never cooked except during holidays, and she didn't know if her cooking skills would satisfy Omo's appetite. After putting the shrimp bun into her mouth, Omo savored it carefully. The filling of the buns isn't all scary. It also contains pork, scallions, and other seasonings. The pork and shrimp are chopped very finely, yet the aroma is still exceptionally rich. In fact, Omo has disliked eating pork since she was a child, and she feels like vomiting whenever she eats it. However, the shrimp and pork buns that Baining made had no meaty flavor at all, and it smells especially good. It's very fresh, but it's a bit too hot to eat, since it just came out of the pot. Seeing that Omo had already finished a steamed bun, Baining quickly asked, "How was it? Did it taste good?" Judging from Omo's expression, Baining knew that the taste should suit his palate quite well. But I couldn't help asking one more question. Omo nodded heavily, then picked up another meat bun with her chopsticks, put it in her mouth, and wolfed it down before nodding again. "Delicious, much better than my mom's." Buff. Hearing this, Baining couldn't help but smile. "Really, if you like it, eat more. And eat slowly, no one's going to take it from you." "Hey, hey." Omo chuckled, picked up a piece of braised pork with her chopsticks, and put it in her mouth. Then she looked up and said, "Braised pork is also especially delicious. My sister loves it." This year for Chinese New Year, I'll have to trouble you Ningning to cook it yourself. Chapter 113, this brat is too good at this. Of course, not to mention the New Year. I'd make them for you for a lifetime. Halfway through her sentence, Mu Baining suddenly sensed something was amiss. Chinese New Year, should I ask her to cook for me? Is Mu Ziomo taking her home for the Chinese New Year? Just as Mu Baining was recovering from her daze, Mu Ziomo quickly said, Okay, Ningning, you've already agreed, so you can't change your mind. Besides, Ningning, you wouldn't break your promise, would you? Mu Baining rolled her eyes. Why didn't you think before you spoke? However, what she just said was indeed her true feeling. She felt terrible about being tricked by Mu Ziomo. However, she was also curious about what kind of people Mu Ziomo's parents were, since they had raised Mu Ziomo to be so well-mannered. As for visiting her home during the Chinese New Year, that's not something I can't consider. If you want me to come to your house, it depends on your behavior. Mu Baining snorted, pretending to be angry. Seeing this, Mu Ziomo quickly said, Okay, come on. Let your husband feed you. Mu Ziomo specially added a large piece of braised pork and then held it to Mu Baining's mouth. Mu Baining's mouth was not very big, and she opened it slightly, so she couldn't eat such a large piece of braised pork at all. She couldn't help but say, HMPH, Momo, couldn't you have put a smaller piece for me? Upon hearing her words, Mu Ziomo immediately put the braised pork into her mouth. After chewing for a moment, he suddenly moved closer to Mu Baining. Mu Baining frowned deeply. What are you going to do? Didn't you think the meat was too big? I'll chew it up for you. Imported food tastes better. Mu Baining was completely dumbfounded. Before she could react, Mu Ziomo forcefully kissed her. As boyfriend and girlfriend, they certainly wouldn't look down on each other. However, Mu Ziomo's sudden change of heart is truly a bit outrageous. That naughty little brother of mine is so bad. A moment later, their lips parted. Mu Ziomo had a smug expression on his face. It has to be said that Mu Baining really cooperated with him just now. Mu Baining gave Mu Ziomo a deep look, and suddenly felt that she was completely under Mu Ziomo's control. Mu Ziomo raised an eyebrow at her. Ningning, want to do it again. All right, Momo Tilda. Mu Baining gently shook her head. Focus on eating, we'll go to the restaurant later. That's fine too. Mu Ziomo didn't continue. Although he knew Mu Baining wouldn't be angry, it wasn't good to keep going like this. Let's take advantage of each other when the relationship progresses further. The two started eating, while Wanzi and Tom played nearby. About half an hour later, Mu Ziomo and Mu Baining were almost full. As before, Mu Baining took out lipstick and applied it to her lips, which meant that she had almost finished eating. Have you eaten, Professor Mu? Mu Baining nodded slightly, touched up her lipstick, and smiled sweetly. I'm full. I'll clear the plates and we'll go to the shop later. I'll clean up. After all, it was Mu Baining who cooked the meal, and she had already worked so hard for so long, so he should do the dishes. This time, Mu Baining didn't stand on ceremony either. Okay, there's still food on the plate, so don't throw it away. Liu Weiwei seems to be back tonight, so let's save it for her. Punishment. Mu Ziomo nodded and quickly packed her things. At this moment, the two of them were in a state similar to living together. When Mu Ziomo thought of the word living together, she was stunned. Don't be surprised, maybe after the two of them get to know each other better, they can live together. At this moment, Mu Ziomo remembered something Huang Wenxu had said to him. You take care of being beautiful, and I'll take care of flower arranging. Wow, I can't wait for that day. Mu Ziomo was busy in the kitchen, while Mu Baining was playing with Maruko Tom. She was holding two cats in her arms, and the two kittens immediately started purring when Mu Baining held them. Another 10 minutes or so passed. Mu Ziomo washed her hands and came out of the kitchen. She looked at Mu Baining. Ningning, the kitchen is all cleaned up. Can we go over there now? Wait, Mu Baining put down the two kittens in her arms, stood up and went to the wardrobe. He opened it and took out a white shirt. She bought him this shirt after the National Day holiday. It's been sitting here. I completely forgot to give it to him. Mu Ziomo has always had a good physique, and I've never seen him wear a white shirt before. Mainly because his upper body is a very standard inverted triangle shape, and wearing a shirt would definitely accentuate his strong upper body. A white shirt? Mu Ziomo frowned slightly. Mu Baining took it and held it up against him, then nodded. Yes, it's a white shirt. I bought it especially for you. Try it on quickly. Punishment? Mu Ziomo nodded without hesitation and took off her coat and the T-shirt underneath right in front of Mu Baining. Anyway, this isn't the first time. Last time he fought Yang Wu, he showed off his muscular upper body. When the pectoral and abdominal muscles were displayed in front of Mu Baning's heart skipped a beat. Why does it seem like Mu Ziomo's muscles have gotten even thicker? I love it so much. Letter FF89. Mu Baning stared wide-eyed, and Mu Ziomo, noticing her gaze, burst out laughing. This girl, could she have bought him that white shirt just to see his abs? In just over 10 seconds, Mu Ziomo changed into a white shirt. To be honest, Mu Baning hadn't had enough of watching yet. After buttoning up each button, Mu Ziomo suddenly leaned close to Mu Baning and cupped her chin with her hand. Ning, does it look good? With Mu Ziomo holding her chin, she looked up and met Mu Ziomo's gaze. At the same time, Mu Ziomo's other hand directly grasped her wrist. Open your hands. Mu Baning spread her fingers, and at the same time, Mu Ziomo placed her hand directly on her chest. Feeling the hard, firm chest muscles, Mu Baning suddenly felt incredibly shy. Above, Mu Ziomo brought her mouth close to her ear. Next time, don't look, just touch it. After all, I belong to you alone, Ning. Upon hearing Mu Ziomo's words, Mu Baning's face flushed red instantly. Mu Baning suddenly felt very shy. This brat is too good at this. Mu Baning hummed in agreement and nodded slightly. At the same time, Mu Ziomo had already pressed his lips against hers. Anyway, there's no one else here. And it was at this moment. The door was suddenly flung open with a bang. Liu Weiwei called out loudly, Gu Ning, I'm back. Chapter 114, How about I just give you this shop? At that moment, the surrounding air seemed to freeze. Liu Weiwei stared at Mu Baning with wide eyes. At that moment, Mu Baning directly put his hand into Mu Ziomo's abdomen and touched his abs. And Mu Ziomo was kissing her lips. I'm so envious. How did I end up here at this time? I've just been fed a huge mouthful of dog food, a Chinese slang term for witnessing public displays of affection. But now is not the time to be envious. Mu Ziomo and Mu Baning also noticed her and stopped what they were doing. Mu Ziomo's face darkened. Why did Liu Weiwei have to come at such a bad time? Ning. You guys continue. I suddenly remembered I still have some documents to process in the office. I'll go get back to work. After saying that, Liu Weiwei quickly slipped out and slammed the door shut. Mu Ziomo and Mu Baning exchanged a glance, both of them exasperated. No one can be blamed for this. If anyone's to blame, it's Liu Weiwei for coming back at this time. Mu Ziomo didn't mention this matter at this moment, but instead said, Ning, it's almost time, let's go to the store. Mu Baning looked up and was surprised to find that Mu Ziomo had completely ignored Liu Weiwei. But upon closer reflection, she realized that Liu Weiwei had already seen it, so there was no point in saying anything more. It's better to simply ignore the existence of gossip queen Liu Weiwei. Mu Baning nodded, straightened Mu Ziomo's collar, and looked up slightly, saying, Okay, I've already told the store staff to come over tonight. They should be here soon. Let's go. Soon, Mu Ziomo and Mu Baning left the room, and then took the elevator out of the faculty dormitory building. Outside, Liu Weiwei did not go to the teaching building. Instead, she hid around a corner, and only after watching Mu Ziomo and Mu Baning leave did she slowly step out and take a deep breath. Call. I wonder if Ning is angry. However, she's not one to get angry easily. And besides, she was the one who brought her boyfriend directly to the dorm, so she can't be blamed. Liu Weiwei felt a pang of sadness in her heart. After taking a deep breath, she returned to her dormitory. As soon as I opened the door, I heard 2 meows from a cat. Meow tilde. Meow tilde. Maruko and Tom started meowing together, and Liu Weiwei was startled when she heard the cat's meow. My gaze involuntarily drifted toward the 2 kittens. She was extremely surprised when she saw the meatballs. Maru. She had lived with Mu Baning for 4 years, so how could she not know about the Scottish fold cat, Wanzi, that Mu Baning used to keep? Meow tilde. When Wanzi heard the gossip queen Liu Weiwei calling her, she meowed in response. Oh my God! Liu Weiwei covered her mouth. How come Ning has raised another Scottish fold cat? And this Tom. It looks a bit like Tom from the cat cafe in the supermarket in the cafeteria. It seems so. Liu Weiwei was stunned. Good heavens, Ning and Ziomo had brought all the kittens from the cat cafe. She crouched down, picked up Maruko and Tom, and was walking towards the bed when her gaze suddenly fell on the trash can. Liu Weiwei was stunned. How come there was a black stocking in the trash can? Moreover, many parts of it were torn to shreds. And there's a big hole in the crotch area. Some sign, letter FF9F, de letter FF9F, Japanese letter. Liu Weiwei was stunned, completely stunned. This, could it be that Ningning took advantage of her absence from the dorm? 2. Ziomo. Does this mean I'm about to become a godmother? But did Ningning and Ziomo play such elaborate games? Achoo. On the commercial street, Mu Ziomo and Mu Baining arrived side by side outside the Whale's restaurant. Since it was already evening, he was only wearing the shirt he had just put on and had forgotten to wear a jacket, so he was indeed a bit cold. Are you cold? Hearing Mu Ziomo sneeze, Mu Baining felt a little guilty. I'm sorry, Momo, I was in a bit of a hurry and forgot your coat. Fine. Mu Ziomo shook her head. It won't be cold once we go inside the store. Let's hurry over. Mu Baining nodded. When the two arrived outside the Welsh restaurant, there weren't many people around. The shop was already open for business at that time, but customers with tasting vouchers were not being accepted. Upon entering the store, it was found that business was booming. Although not as busy as during the National Day holiday, there were still many customers. Wales has already built a good reputation, and the people who come here are generally quite wealthy. The waiters on the first floor were still busy. When they saw Mu Ziomo and Mu Baining coming over, they all went up to greet them. Hello, boss. Hello, boss. Mu Baining nodded solemnly and entered the kitchen, where the three chefs were still busy at work. Because of the recent surge in traffic to the shop, Mu Baining also gave the three chefs a raise. The three chefs each have a base salary of over 20,000 yuan, with the rest based on performance. My total salary has reached over 50,000. This salary is very high, partly because it was suggested by Mu Ziomo. At this point, Mu Baining no longer cared about the chef's salary. After all, at the peak of the shop, it had a net income of more than 200,000 yuan a day. Seeing the chefs busy, Mu Baining took a deep breath. It seems this incident hasn't affected the shop much. There are still quite a few customers. Hearing this, Mu Ziomo nodded. Ningning is overthinking things. Does that mean the shop will be deserted after this incident? You're underestimating brother whose abilities too much. It's good that you're all right. Mu Ziomo continued. Brother who will clarify things for us tonight. Our dad is also investigating who spread this. Don't worry, we'll have the results soon. That matter is over. Okay, Tilda. Mu Baining smiled and said, Momo, I've been thinking about it today, so why don't I just give this shop to you? Mu Ziomo was taken aback when she heard Mu Baining's words. What is that? So you just gave him the shop? Mu Baining's expression was particularly serious, and through her serious eyes, Mu Ziomo could tell that Mu Baining's words were not unfounded. He asked, What? Why do you suddenly want to give me the shop? Because I believe in you. Mu Baining felt that if Mu Ziomo were to run this shop, she would definitely do a better job than she would. Today, when Mu Baining mentioned changing shops, Mu Ziomo was just joking. Just as he was about to refuse, the system's voice suddenly came. The host can verbally agree. After agreeing, your company shop will be added to Wales Restaurant, and the shop's turnover will be included in the system tasks and your personal assets. Upon hearing the system's voice, Mu Ziomo agreed without hesitation. Okay, I'll be the owner of this shop from now on. Chapter 115, Clues Regarding the Tasting Voucher Incident. Upon hearing this, Mu Baining's lips twitched unnaturally. She thought Mu Ziomo would refuse or postpone the meeting. I didn't expect that I would just agree like that. Mu Ziomo continued. From today onwards, this is our joint property as husband and wife. The shop is still yours, but of course, I can help you manage it if there are any problems. Upon hearing Mu Ziomo's words, Mu Baining immediately felt that they made perfect sense. At the same time, Mu Ziomo asked the system in her mind, System, is this okay? System, just have Mu Baining explain to the shop staff that you will be the shop owner from now on. Mu Ziomo was stunned after hearing this. Did he ask Mu Baining and the store employees to say that he was the store owner? Would Mu Baining agree to that? I don't think they said anything about your problem. So he said, Ningning, in that case, shouldn't the shop's employees call me boss? Mu Baining considered it carefully for a moment after hearing this. All right, we'll talk to them about it later. At this point, there were no longer any university student part-time waiters in the shop. All the staff were permanent employees hired from outside the university. The busy season is over, and the fixed staff makes them easier to manage. It's perfectly acceptable for them to publicly announce their relationship in front of the store's employees. After all, no employee would be foolish enough to say bad things about her. Hearing Mu Baining agree, Mu Ziomo was overjoyed. Xing I love you, Ningning Tilda. Mu Ziomo made a heart shape with her hands. Meanwhile, not far away, Three chefs, though they hadn't heard their conversation clearly, saw Muzaya Omo making a heart shape with her hands in such a greasy manner for the boss. This action is a bit childish. However, young people's views on love are different from theirs now. Instead of continuing to fantasize about Muzaya Omo and Mu Baining, they went back to their work. Muzaya Omo and Mu Baining left shortly after. There was an office on the second floor of the restaurant where the entire store could be monitored via security cameras. No one usually goes to that room, so Muzaya Omo and Mu Baining went there to rest. Mu Baining also gave her one of her coats. Momo, why don't you rest here for a bit? Just wear your coat when you go back so you don't get cold. Okay, thank you, Ning Ning. Mu Baining smiled slightly. You're welcome. I'm going out to run some errands. I'll come back later to keep you company and tutor you. I'll be back soon, Tilda. After saying that, Mu Baining closed the door and left. Muzaya Omo was taken aback. Tutor him? Damn, I forgot about that. Now that he's Mu Baining's boyfriend, he's definitely become Mu Baining's main focus of observation. As for grades, I should at least get first place in the class. But none of that matters. After all, he had already acquired the super robot terminal technology skills through the system last time. This skill involves a lot of theoretical knowledge, so he doesn't have any problems even if he doesn't attend classes. If Mu Baining were to actually ask him a question, he would definitely shock her. Bored, Muzaya Omo opened Weibo to see if Brother Who had posted a clarification for his shop. After clicking into Brother Who's homepage, unfortunately, there were no posts. However, he wasn't in a hurry, as Brother Who was probably still busy at this point. Returning to the Weibo homepage, since I was on the same city page when I exited last time, I am still on the same city page this time. At that moment, his gaze suddenly fell upon a post. This post is the one I saw at noon, saying that a Welsh restaurant is cheating consumers. No, it was forwarded by someone. The person who forwarded this is La Yidao Steak from the Magic University City. He clicked on it and found that it was indeed a post forwarded by La Yidao Steak. La Yidao Steak is another Western restaurant in the university town, and it can be said to be a competitor of Mu Bei Ning. Muzaya Omo looked at the reposted content from Come and cut a steak. I feel extremely ashamed about the incident of the Wales restaurant tasting voucher not being redeemed. We at La Yidao Steak would never do anything to cheat our customers. Any customer who dines in recently and spends over 169 yuan will receive a free premium steak. Event period, October 10th, October 31st. After seeing this post, Muzaya Omo was speechless. This is way too obvious. Isn't it just about you cutting a steak? Are you really that unafraid of being exposed? Muzaya Omo thought about it carefully. If La Yidao Steak dared to do this so blatantly, it must have made ample preparations. For example, bribing advertising companies to prevent them from spreading the word about printing tasting coupons. Or they could directly hide the distribution of tasting coupons. In short, the goal is to hide useful clues that the police cannot find. So far, this incident hasn't had a significant impact on Wales, so if the police can't find out anything, they'll put it on hold for now. This matter may just pass. Police are a limited public resource and will not investigate a minor case indefinitely. Besides, even if someone comes looking for him, he can simply insist that they didn't do it, since there's no flaw in his story. However, no matter how much this person schemed, he certainly couldn't have predicted that Mu Baining's father was the captain of the criminal investigation team. In short, after seeing this Weibo post, Muzaya Omo was certain that the incident regarding the tasting vouchers was definitely directly related to La Yidao Steak. I glanced at the comments below. La Yidao Steak also hired a lot of online trolls to post irrelevant content. A steak would be nice, much better than whale steak. And the price is also affordable. Everyone come and try the free steak at Yidao Steakhouse. Muzaya Omo took a deep breath, took out her phone, and dialed Mu Changlei. Mu Changlei answered the phone quickly. Hey Ziomo, any progress? Mu Changlei's tone remained as amiable as ever. Muzaya Omo replied, A little, but uncle, how's it going on your end? Have you investigated this matter? There's no result yet, Mu Changlei sighed. I just called my daughter and she said the shop is doing well and hasn't been greatly affected by this incident. Muzaya Omo hummed in agreement. It was the truth. The truth is, they're the ones who care about this. Mu Changlei continued. Ning Ning just said you already have a solution to this. That's right. Muzaya Omo didn't mention Huji's matter. I've figured it out, uncle. You can rest assured about this. However, I do have a clue. Oh, Mu Changlei responded with an O, after hearing Mu Ziomo's words, his voice full of doubt. I suspect it was made by La Yidao Steakhouse in the university town. I'll send you the evidence on WeChat. You can take a look. How about a steak? Upon hearing this, Mu Changle immediately felt that the shop name was somewhat familiar. Isn't this the car driven by his police officer, Zio Lee's colleague? Because Zio Lee had told him about this. Chapter 116, Ning Ning owes me 25 kisses. Upon hearing Mu Changle's voice, Mu Ziomo asked curiously, "What's wrong, Uncle Mu? Do you know him?" "No." Mu Changle shook his head. "I don't know him. I suddenly remembered something, so I'll hang up now. I will definitely investigate the La Yidao steak shop, so don't worry." "Okay," Mu Ziomo responded, and Mu Changle immediately hung up the phone. Just seconds after the phone call ended, Mu Baining pushed open the door and walked in. She pulled out her teaching materials from somewhere and came in, smiling at Mu Ziomo. Mu Ziomo's face darkened. Damn, looks like Mu Baining is really planning to ask him a question. "Momo, do you understand everything in class? Can I test you?" Mu Ziomo's right eyelid twitched. He nodded and said, "Of course, but I have conditions." "Condition?" Mu Baining frowned. Mu Ziomo hummed in agreement. "Yes, that's right. If I answer a question correctly, I'll give you a kiss. If I can't answer, I'll wash your socks for a month." Mu Baining was taken aback. Goodness, is Mu Ziomo such an arrogant young man? "If you can't answer, wash her socks for a month." She quickly replied, "I feel like you'll have to wash my socks for 2 years. Mu Ziomo, "That's not necessarily true. I feel like you should give me 200 kisses." Let's begin. First question. What's the difference between a 20-day application course and a 30-day technical course for industrial robots? Mu Ziomo, @ the author doesn't know. On the other side, the 1st Criminal Investigation, Brigade of Pudong District. Mu Changle sat in his office chair, tapping the table with a serious expression. Li Gyoking. He muttered something about Mu Ziomo saying that La Yidao Steak was responsible for this matter, and that when they were investigating this matter in the commercial street, outside the Magic Science University today, Li Gyuking's expression seemed a bit off when they approached La Yidao Steak. The main point is that Li Gyuking did mention to him before that La Yidao Steakhouse was a restaurant opened by his partner. Of course, no one knows yet that the Welsh restaurant is his daughter's business. Mu Changle felt something was off about the matter. He opened WeChat on his phone and checked it. Mu Ziomo hadn't sent him the evidence he mentioned yet. After thinking about it carefully, Mu Changle realized that the people who came to the steakhouse had most likely already made arrangements with Li Gyuking. Thinking about this, Mu Changle suddenly felt that everything that had happened made perfect sense. In today's society, having a wide network of connections is extremely useful. Asking someone to do something, as long as the benefits are right, I get it. After all, no one would turn down money. At this moment, Mu Changle had a knot in his heart. He decided to ask Li Gyuking about it tomorrow. If this matter is really related to him. Mu Changle clenched his fists. Inside the Welsh restaurant. At this point, 20 minutes had passed since Mu Baining asked Mu Ziomo the question. Mu Baining sat opposite Mu Ziomo, looking at his face with a very complicated expression. Mu Baining murmured, How is this possible? Momo, I don't believe you've memorized the whole book." Just now she asked Mu Ziomo several questions, which he answered very easily. Feeling unconvinced, she asked about a few more things she hadn't yet learned. However, Mu Ziomo was still able to answer the question easily, which was a bit outrageous. She even asked Mu Ziomo a question about the end of the semester, and Mu Ziomo answered it correctly. This guy, you can't say he just reviewed the entire semester's worth of material, right? Is it really that intense? Besides, Mu Ziomo doesn't look like a bookworm. Mu Ziomo said smugly, "How could I possibly memorize it all? Actually, I've already previewed all 4 years of university courses. My dear Ning Ning, you just asked me 25 questions, so you owe me 25 kisses tilde." Mu Baining's face darkened. "You've previewed all 4 years of university courses. I don't believe you for a second. You can continue if you don't believe me." Mu Ziomo chuckled. "But if I answer correctly this time, you have to wash my socks for a month." Mu Baining nodded. "What if you can't answer that? I don't want kisses anymore, and I'll wash your socks for 2 years straight." "Okay, you won't regret it." "I don't regret it." Mu Ziomo shook his head. He realized that the system could directly answer the questions Mu Baining asked. In this way, the error rate is directly 0%. Mu Baining thought for a moment. because she had good grades in college and often reviewed lesson plans. Although I haven't watched the later lessons yet, I still have some impression of them in my mind. Then Baining asked Musayomo a question that she thought was very difficult. Musayomo answered quite easily. How is this possible? Baining's eyes were filled with astonishment. This was a question from the second semester of her junior year. You can answer that? Musayomo looked particularly smug. It's been a month since I've worn socks, darling Ningning. Do you want to continue? No, no. Baining chose to follow her heart. Musayomo, her younger brother, was simply too terrifying. She didn't know how Musayomo was so amazing, but Baining was certain that if she kept asking, she would wash Musayomo's socks for 10 years. Looking at Baining's expression, Musayomo said, Then, Ningning, you owe me 25 kisses now. You have to give me a kiss anytime, anywhere, whenever I want one. As for a month's worth of socks, let's start counting from today. I'll pack them up for you from now on. Baining rolled her eyes. Is this spoken in human language? Should I pack it up for her too? Helpless, Baining could only nod. Let me tell you, I don't wash socks that are too smelly. Especially those socks that you guys wear that can stand up. I know. Musayomo scratched his head. He was quite clean and changed his socks almost every day. He didn't actually own any socks that could stand up on their own. Looking at the time, Musayomo continued. It's 9:30. Ningning should be off work by now. Let's hurry up and hold a meeting with the employees. Baining nodded. Let's go then. Musayomo, don't forget to tell the employees that I'm the boss from now on. Okay. Baining glanced at Musayomo, wondering if she was the kind of person who liked to break her promises. Obviously not. P.S. Please give me some flowers. 5-star review, 9.3 points already. All I can say is that you guys are awesome. All 3 books have a rating of 9.3. Thank you all for your support. Chapter 117. Why is Ningning being so proactive today? Soon, Musayomo and Baining arrived on the first floor. At this time, there were still a few tables of customers in the shop, chatting and laughing. Of course, the customers of this kind of restaurant were mostly couples. Sipping red wine and eating steak, it's incredibly romantic. The shop is no longer accepting new customers, and the chefs have packed up their things and are preparing for a meeting. Baining had told them in advance that there would be a short meeting before they left work. After Musayomo and Baining came down, Baining called all the shop's employees up to the second floor. 10 waiters and 3 chefs quickly arrived on the second floor and stood neatly in the corridor. Musayomo and Baining stood opposite them. Baining glanced at everyone's spirits and felt that everyone was in good spirits. She said softly, Everyone has worked hard today. After all, the tasting vouchers have had some impact on us, especially the 2 people at the bar. They must have had to use a lot of persuasion. Boss, this is what we should do. The cashier at the bar smiled and said, Yes, by the way, let me introduce you all. This is your boss from now on. As she spoke, she stretched out her arm and gave a brief introduction. Upon hearing Baining's words, the chefs and waiters did not show much emotion. After all, Baining often brought Musayomo to the store, so it was easy to guess their relationship. After a 2-second pause, everyone spoke in unison. Hello, boss. The atmosphere was particularly lively, and Musayomo, who was standing to the side, couldn't help but smile. Hello, everyone. He hadn't expected Baining to speak so decisively. Judging from the beating heart, his younger brother should be satisfied now. She began, The owner has some thoughts on the future plans for the shop, so let's hear from him now. After speaking, Baining stood aside, and the others remained silent, staring at Musayomo with serious expressions. Since his family owned a shop, Musayomo had some experience, so he said, I'll just give a brief overview, mainly about the tasting vouchers. As for the future operation of the shop, we need to discuss it with the owner. Next, Musayomo explained the benefits for customers who bring tasting vouchers into the store. The chef can solve the problem of veal steaks by simply making them smaller or cutting them into smaller pieces. After hearing Musayomo's words, the 3 chefs said there was no problem. Then Musayomo asked, The 3 chefs, do you feel there are any other problems with the shop? Yes. After hearing Musayomo's words, Chef Huang Yaoquan said, I feel that our shop is a bit short of chefs, and we should each be responsible for a category of food so that the work efficiency will be faster. Liu Daping, Yes, boss, I think what Huang Yaoquan said makes sense. Hearing Huang Yaoquan's words, Musayomo nodded. That's true. I'll take care of this weekend. Is there anything else? The waiters and chefs exchanged glances and then shook their heads. Seeing that no one had any objections, Mu-Zaya-Omo let them leave. After everyone went downstairs, Mu-Zaya-Omo walked up to Mu Baining and said, "Give me a kiss." Mu Baining frowned slightly, but without hesitation, she kissed Mu-Zaya-Omo on the cheek. Mu-Zaya-Omo smiled like a doting ant, scratching his head with a grin. "My wife's mouth smells so good, Tilda." Mu Baining lightly punched his chest, showing that she was in a particularly good mood. "I'm telling the truth." Mu-Zaya-Omo couldn't help but step forward and pinch Mu Baining's smooth face. Mu Baining took excellent care of herself, and her face was even smoother than her sister's. Mu Baining blushed slightly after being pinched like that. Since there was no one else around, Mu Baining took the initiative to snuggle into Mu-Zaya-Omo's arms. Mu-Zaya-Omo pulled her into his arms, and feeling his large body, Mu Baining felt a warm current flowing through her heart. The two of them strolled into the monitoring room. After opening the door and going inside, Mu Baining went straight over, picked up Mu-Zaya-Omo's coat, and draped it over her shoulders. She still remembered that when the two of them came in, Mu-Zaya-Omo was particularly cold. A faint fragrance emanated from her coat, and feeling Mu Baining's gentle care, Mu-Zaya-Omo suddenly turned his head, while Mu Baining looked directly into his eyes. "You can wear your coat back later. I'll wash the one I left with you. You have class tomorrow, and you won't be able to go to class if you catch a cold. Don't worry." Mu-Zaya-Omo patted her chest muscles lightly. "I'm in good health. Besides, not attending classes won't have a big impact on my grades." "What nonsense are you talking about?" Mu Baining pouted and said disdainfully, "Skipping classes will affect your credits, and then I won't be able to protect you." "I was just kidding." He held her hand tightly. "In that case, Ning-Ning, it's getting late. Let's go back first. Also, you need to think about how to deal with the gossip queen Liu Weiwei when we get back." Upon hearing Mu-Zaya-Omo mention the gossip queen Liu Weiwei, Mu Baining's expression immediately turned sour. She frowned. "I understand, but Liu Weiwei is indeed a problem. Then we can move in together." Mu-Zaya-Omo gave Mu Baining a mischievous smile and raised an eyebrow. He would be laughing in his sleep if he could live with Mu Baining right now. Living together. Mu Baining clearly didn't expect Mu-Zaya-Omo to say that. She said, "What? What are you thinking? Rent outside is so expensive. Living at school is much more economical." Mu-Zaya-Omo really wanted to say that he could pay for it, but although the two of them had a very good relationship, it was indeed a bit too early for them to live together. "That makes sense, Tilda." Mu-Zaya-Omo nodded, deciding not to press the matter further. He can't be intimate with Mu Baining right now, even though he really wants to. A moment later, Mu-Zaya-Omo and Mu Baining left the shop. Wearing her coat, Mu-Zaya-Omo was still a little unaccustomed to the situation. There weren't many people on campus. The two strolled along, chatting and laughing, and soon Mu-Zaya-Omo escorted her to her dormitory building. A gentle breeze ruffled her long hair, and under the illumination of the streetlights overhead, Mu Baining displayed her exquisite beauty. The two remained silent, their eyes meeting for 3 seconds before Mu-Zaya-Omo said, "Well, Ning-Ning, it's getting late. Go back and get some rest." Mu Baining nodded. "How about a goodbye kiss?" "Oh, wow." Mu-Zaya-Omo was taken aback. Why was this girl being so proactive today? Mu-Zaya-Omo nodded heavily. Okay. Mu Baining looked around. After confirming that no one was around, he gently kissed Mu-Zaya-Omo. Of course, this time there were no lipstick marks on my face. Mu Baining waved at her. "I'm going upstairs. You should go back too." "Bye-bye, Tilda." Mu Baining smiled sweetly, turned around and left. Seeing Mu Baining disappear around the corner of the corridor, Mu-Zaya-Omo took a deep breath and headed towards the dormitory. Chapter 118, Let Ning-Ning Sing. In the dormitory, Mu-Zaya-Omo took a shower and then lay down on the bed. Then the system was turned on. Host Mu-Zaya-Omo. Spouse Mu Baining, affection level 200. You can receive 1,000 yuan in cash for every 10 points of favorability you gain. Currently, you can withdraw 20,000 yuan in cash. Current assets, 1,344,980, 200 W yuan. Connections, Brother Hu Mu Baining, Huang Wengsu Bai Yuntao Du Yang. Business impact value, 20. Owns 2 companies' shops, Hello Kitty Cat Cafe, Wales Restaurant. Mu-Zaya-Omo looked at the data above. He has 1.3 million in assets now. This seems a bit fake. Just as Mu-Zaya-Omo was wondering, the system's voice suddenly came. "Ding, congratulations, host, on completing the first stage of the side quest. You have obtained the item Super Singing Talent Card. Super Voice Talent Card. When used on another person, the recipient will gain the super voice talent upon successful use. Side quests. At this moment, Muzai almost suddenly remembered that for every 1 million yuan she obtained, she could get an item or skill. However, he already has an exceptional singing talent, so who should he give it to? Ning Ning. Thinking of this, Muzai Omo suddenly had a brilliant idea. He doesn't think he's ever heard Ning Ning sing before. It feels like a crime. The main problem is that, apart from Ning Ning, there doesn't seem to be anyone suitable. Muzai, she doesn't deserve it. As if detecting Muzai Omo's thoughts, the system's voice came through. Ding, do you wish to confirm that your spouse Mu Baining uses the super singing talent card? After use, Mu Baining will gain the super singing talent, and her singing ability will be greatly improved. Sure. Congratulations, host, you have successfully used it. Upon hearing that the system had been successfully used, Muzai Omo immediately shut it down. Just as he was about to contact Mu Baining, he suddenly received a message on WeChat. It's Brother Who. Brother Zai Omo, I've already released the clarification video, and I've also explained the compensation benefits to the public. Feel free to contact me anytime if you need anything in the future. Upon seeing Brother Who's message, Muzai Omo quickly replied with a thank you and then opened Weibo. Just as Huji said, the clarification video has indeed been released. Faculty and staff dormitory. Ning Ning, why did you do it with Momo so carelessly? You were way too hasty. When I got back to the dorm, Liu Weiwei was taking a shower. As soon as she came out of the shower, she said this. Mu Baining was hugging and petting Tom the dog when she heard what Weiwei said, and Mu Baining frowned. Huh, Vivi, what are you barking like a dog for again? Mu Baining was completely dumbfounded when she heard Liu Weiwei's words. What did she do silently? What did you do? All I did was cook him a meal. Of course, Mu Baining knew that the doing that Liu Weiwei was talking about was definitely not as simple as cooking. Gu Ningning, when did I bark like a dog? Liu Weiwei rolled her eyes, moved closer to Mu Baining, and snatched the Tom toy from her hand. Hee, Ningning, did you take your medicine? You're already planning to have a baby so soon. Mu Baining glared at Liu Weiwei as if she were an idiot. Gu Weiwei, shut up. If you keep gossiping, believe me or not, Sigma de. HMPH, Liu Weiwei pointed at the trash can. How do you explain the stockings inside and the huge hole in the crotch? Oh. Mu Baining was taken aback. I got up and looked at the black stockings in the trash can. Good heavens! This is Maruko and Tom's masterpiece. No wonder Liu Weiwei misunderstood. Mu Baining covered her face. Weiwei, if I told you this was Wanzi and Tom's masterpiece. I won't believe it. Liu Weiwei shook her head heavily. Just do it, Ning Ning, you're 22 years old, it's normal to do this if you have a boyfriend. I'm not laughing at you. I want to do it, but no one else has. Mu Baining was speechless. This time she truly couldn't explain it. Anyway, I didn't do it. It was Maruko Tom who bit it. Mu Baining was too lazy to continue explaining. She patted Maruko's belly and asked, Maruko, are you hungry? Do you want to eat some more cat food? Meow tilde. Maruko meowed, so Mu Baining quickly put it down, opened the cat food, and then made goat milk powder. This scene left Liu Weiwei completely bewildered. She asked, by the way, Ning Ning, why did you buy another Scottish fold cat? She doesn't have any genetic diseases. Mu Baining took a deep breath. Zaire Omo gave it to me, saying it was a new breed cultivated abroad and that it doesn't have any diseases. Liu Weiwei's eyes were full of envy after hearing this. After preparing cat food for Wanzi, Mu Baining was about to take a shower and go to bed when her phone rang. Liu Weiwei quickly picked up her phone, glanced at it, and saw it was Momo. Ning Ning, it's your boyfriend calling you. Upon hearing this, Mu Baining quickened her pace and walked over. Give me your phone. HMPH, I didn't say I wouldn't give it to you. Liu Weiwei snorted and handed the phone to Mu Baining, who then answered, Hello, Momo. Lemon tilde. Muzai Omo said softly, and Mu Baining also said softly. Just like young lovers flirting, the air was filled with the sweet and sour smell of romance. Muzai Omo, I'm calling to let you know that brother who has already posted the clarification video on Weibo, so this matter is over and done with tilde. Mu Baining felt very satisfied after hearing this good news. She has a really good network of friends. She said then, please thank Brother Who for me. He probably won't be having dinner with us, so please give him my thanks. Haha, Muzai Omo laughed. It's not impossible to have dinner with Brother Who. Let's see if I can get him to come out next time. At this moment, Muzai Omo continued. By the way, Ning Ning, the cat cafe hasn't been properly advertised yet. Although the turnover is good, I feel we should promote it. Upon hearing this, Mu Baining asked, publicity, how do you plan to publicize it? Mu Zaya Omo, I gave you a song, how about you sing it, Ning Ning, and help me promote it? Mu Baining was taken aback after hearing this. Did you write a song? Ask her to sing. To be honest, Mu Baining really does like to sing. However, her singing skills are really just average. She said this, my singing skills. Mu Zaya Omo interrupted her. Take a look at the lyrics first. If you can't sing it well, I can teach you. This, Mu Baining was really embarrassed to refuse. She said, then send me the lyrics first, I'll take a look. Okay, Tilda. Chapter 119. Has Mu Zaya Omo gone crazy from being in love? Mu Zaya Omo's eyes were full of anticipation when she saw that Mu Baining had agreed. Mu Baining sings, and then she wears a cat-maid outfit while singing. Amazing. I just don't know if she'll agree to wear a maid outfit. As for the song she was asked to sing, it was Learn to Meow, a song given to him by the system. This song didn't exist in this world. The song Learn to Meow fits the Hello Kitty Cat Cafe perfectly, and more importantly, it's also a love song. He needs to sing with Mu Baining. Mu Zaya Omo couldn't help but laugh when she thought of Mu Baining dressed as a maid and singing Learn to Meow. He didn't know how effective his idea would be, so he decided to put that aside for now and just write the lyrics. Ning Ning, I'll hang up now and go write the lyrics. I'll send them to you later. Okay, bye-bye, Momo Tilda. Mu Baining hung up the phone, and Mu Zaya Omo put down the phone, then left the corridor and went into the dormitory. Calling Mu Baining still required avoiding the presence of her 3 eldest sons. After entering the dormitory, Huang Wengsu immediately poked his head out and said, Brother Mo, why are you avoiding us when you call Professor Mu? Do you often drive with her? Let us over here. Mu Zaya Omo rolled her eyes. Huang Wengsu, that bastard, is just like Liu Weiwei, so fond of talking nonsense. If you keep spouting nonsense, do you believe I'll rip your skull off? Huang Wengsu shrank his neck. Why did Mu Zaya Omo seem so fierce after she started dating? Bai Yuntao and Du Yang didn't chat. Mu Zaya Omo sat down in a chair, opened her laptop, and started composing music. He now has a clear guitar tab and lyrics for Learn to Meow in his mind, and he plans to type the lyrics below the sheet music according to the melody. She was humming the lyrics of Learn to Meow. Let's learn to meow together. Meow, 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 meow. Beside him, Huang Wengsu, Bai Yuntao, and Du Yang all frowned as they looked at Mu Zaya Omo. Has this guy gone mad from dating Mu Baining? Let me act all cute and affectionate with you. Oh my gosh, meow, 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 meow. 10 minutes later, Mu Zaya Omo typed in the lyrics and sent them to Mu Baining in Word format. On the other side, Liu Weiwei was asking Mu Baining about Brother Hu. Ning Ning, why did Brother Hu go to your restaurant? And why did such a big thing happen there? Why didn't you tell me right away? Liu Weiwei was still asking Mu Baining about the tasting vouchers. Mu Baining rolled her eyes and said, What's the use of telling you? Can you help me solve this? As for Brother Hu, she didn't want to answer at all. Actually, I know Brother Hu. Do you believe me, Weiwei? I don't believe you. Liu Weiwei looked skeptical. Back when she was in college, she wanted to go to Brother Hu's concert with Mu Baining, but Mu Baining refused to go. Now you're saying you know Brother Hu. Ding-a-ling Tilda. Just then, Mu Baining received a file sent to her by Mu Zaya Omo via WeChat. Gossip Queen Liu Weiwei immediately came over and stared intently at Mu Baining's phone screen. Ning Ning, what did Momo send you this time? Let me see. Mu Baining's face darkened. Tomorrow I'll get a membrane to cover the one I just peeked at. I'll show you my ass. After opening the file Mu Zaya Omo sent her, the lyrics to Learn to Meow immediately caught her eye. Learn to meow like a cat. Liu Weiwei, standing to the side, stared wide-eyed and muttered to herself. Mu Baining is the same. Why is there a song called Learn to Meow like a cat? Mu Zaya Omo's song Guest was indeed amazing, but Learn to Meow was. The main point is that the first line of the lyrics is, Let's learn to meow together. Meow, 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 meow. Because she couldn't read the sheet music, she had no idea how to sing the song. You can't just keep meowing like a dumpling. It's out of the question. Mu Baining shook her head. At the same time, Liu Weiwei beside her said, Ha ha ha. Ning Ning is killing me with laughter. What does Momo mean by meowing like a cat? She just let you sing this song. Seeing Liu Weiwei's gloating smile, Mu Baining took a deep breath. Let's ask Momo first. He typed back this song. Momo, are you sure you can sing it? Mu Zaya Omo replied, Of course there are no classes after 3:50 p.m. tomorrow. Aren't there many empty classrooms over there in the art building? I'll go there to teach you tomorrow. Muzaya Omo did not ask Mu Baining if it was later. At this point, you need to be decisive and make it difficult for Mu Baining to refuse. If she wanted to come, Mu Baining would definitely make time to be with her. After seeing Muzaya Omo's message, her hand flew across the screen. Okay, remember to contact me after class tomorrow afternoon. Okay, Tilda. Seeing Mu Baining agree so readily, it would be a lie to say Muzaya Omo wasn't happy. He replied, then I'm going to sleep now, Ning Ning. Good night, darling. Good night. Tilda Liu Weiwei was still craning her neck and staring at Mu Baining's phone when she saw the good night message Muzaya Omo sent her, and let out a soft, huh. Mu Baining put her hands on her hips. What do you mean, huh? I did quietly call my darling, send her a good night message, and cook for me. And you're always gossiping. Liu Weiwei. Good heavens. This dog Ning Ning actually showed off their affection. Damn it. Liu Weiwei's face looked as if she had swallowed a fly. She raised her voice and said, Gu Ningning, do you believe I can find a boyfriend tomorrow? Tomorrow? Mu Baining suddenly stopped what she was doing, her beautiful eyes fixed on Liu Weiwei, and then she shook her head. I don't believe you're such a looks-obsessed person. We'll see. Liu Weiwei snorted and turned her head away, pouting, feeling sullen. Seeing this, Mu Baining shrugged. Many people pursued her in college. The handsome ones weren't very tall. The tall ones, on the other hand, were said to be not handsome. She complained that he was tall and handsome, but didn't have abs. In short, she can find flaws in any kind of guy, and the perfect guy doesn't even look at her. Besides, there's no such thing as a perfect person in the world, except for Momo, 1 Arabic letter 6A1. Mu Baining got up and turned off the light. Good luck, Weiwei. Momo is going to teach me to sing tomorrow afternoon, so I need to get some rest. Time for Liu Weiwei, Des, stop talking and go to sleep. Mu Baining looked smug, which only annoyed Liu Weiwei. He deserves it for being such a gossip. Chapter 120. I can listen to Momo's songs again. I'm so happy. Time flies, and soon it was 3:50 p.m. on the second day. Muzaya Omo, Huang Wenxu, Bai Yuntao, and Du Yang walked out of the teaching building. Huang Wenxu, holding his textbook, stretched and yawned. Wow, I slept so well in class. Hey, I downloaded a new movie last night, a fishing net one. I'll share it with you when I get back. Hee Xing. Bai Yuntao especially liked watching short films. After all, who doesn't like a little bit of eroticism? Brother Mo, this short film is really good. Do you want to watch it? Muzaya Omo glanced at Huang Wenxu. Is he that kind of person? Although I've watched quite a few adult films before, I'm still interested in them now. But what Huang Wenxu shared with him was a bit. Muzaya Omo shook her head. Go away, only single people watch porn. Be careful, you won't be able to stand up once you get a girlfriend. Huang Wenxu rolled his eyes. Is it that serious? I don't believe it. Muzaya Omo. It could also be premature ejaculation. I don't believe you. If you don't want it, then shut up. This is a treasure. If you don't want it, then forget it. Huang Wenxu waved his hand and slunk away towards the dormitory. Of course, Muzaya Omo was the same, because he needed to go back to his dorm to get his guitar. He hasn't used the guitar much since his last performance of Guest, but because of their skills and talents, they won't become rusty. Back in their dorm, Huang Wenxu and Bai Yuntao turned on their computers and started playing pornographic videos. Even Du Yang couldn't resist the temptation of the fishing net and joined Huang Wenxu and Bai Yuntao's group. Muzaya Omo rolled her eyes. These three old perverts were really something else. Without much thought, Muzaya Omo left the dormitory with her guitar bag on her back and sent a message to Mu Baining. Ning Ning, I'm on my way to the art building now. You can get ready to leave. I'll send you the classroom when we arrive. Since it's class time now, the art building is for students to carry out club activities or cultivate their interests. There were quite a few people there, but also a lot of empty classrooms. At this moment, Mu Baining replied with a message. No need, I'm already waiting for you in the A103 recording studio. Just come and find me. Muzaya Omo was taken aback when he saw the message Mu Baining sent him. A 103 recording studio? Isn't it just a small recording studio? As a 211 and 985 university, it has many recording studios of all sizes, and these studios are equipped with a variety of recording devices. Upon reflection, he realized it made sense. Mu Baining was, after all, a professor at the Magic University of Science and Technology. It was indeed a bit unreasonable that she couldn't even get into the recording studio. Okay, I'll be right there. Thinking of this, Muzaya Omo quickened her pace. Because the dormitory was quite far from the art building, it took him more than 10 minutes to walk there. The art building is a 6-story building with no elevator. You can only go up the stairs. The A103 that Mu Baining mentioned is on the 6th floor. Upon entering the art building, the sounds of various musical instruments could be heard coming from classrooms not far away. There were sounds of guzheng, piano, saxophone, and even a chorus. Students have all sorts of interests, and of course, schools are willing to cultivate those interests in students. Upon arriving on the 6th floor, I found it unusually quiet with hardly anyone around. The main reason is that this is where the Magic Science University Art Center is located. After walking a dozen meters from the stairwell, Mu-Ziomo saw the A103 recording studio. The door was ajar, but out of politeness, Mu-Ziomo knocked on it. "Professor Mu-Tilda," he called out softly, and Mu Baining turned her gaze to the doorway. He whispered, "Come in." Mu-Ziomo hummed in agreement, pushed open the door, and went inside. The room was rather dark, with only a few computer screens illuminating it. "What bad luck, the light bulb in the room is out today. I hope this won't stop you from playing the guitar, Momo. Or we can go to the recording studio inside later." "It's nothing." Mu-Ziomo shook her head, and only after getting closer did she realize that Mu Baining was wearing a white shirt and a black pencil skirt today. She appears to be wearing black stockings. Wow, why is she dressed so sexily today? She wore black-rimmed glasses and had her hair in a bun. Her body exuded a faint, pleasant fragrance. It actually smelled quite nice. "It's so charming." After putting down the guitar, Mu Baining pulled over a chair for Mu-Ziomo. Seeing Mu-Ziomo giving her a mischievous look, Mu Baining quickly said, "My school invited me to give a lecture at the university next door today, and I didn't have time to change my clothes." "It's nothing." Mu-Ziomo quickly shook her head. "Ning Ning, you look very pretty in this. I like it very much." "Yeah." Mu Baining swallowed hard. This younger brother was practically mesmerized by her legs. Liu Weiwei was right. Boys just couldn't resist black stockings. However, she quite likes wearing them. Black stockings not only make her legs look slimmer, but they are also very comfortable. She would definitely feel awkward if other boys were staring at her lecherously. But Mu-Ziomo was different. Ziomo, who was standing to the side, didn't keep staring at her legs. Instead, he opened the guitar bag and took out the guitar first. The guitar needed tuning after being unused for a long time. At this moment, Mu-Ziomo was gently plucking the strings and rotating the top tuning button. Seeing this, Mu Baining couldn't help but ask, "Momo, what are you doing?" He looked up slightly, seeing Mu Baining's curious expression, and said, "Don't you know this? Ever since I sang guest for you last time, I haven't used a guitar. We're tuning the guitar right now." Upon hearing this, Mu Baining nodded. "I know how to tune, but don't we need a tuner? That thing is suitable for beginners who can't tell the pitch. My guitar makes a lot of thumping sounds, so I can hear it with my ears." "I see." Mu Baining nodded slightly. Could she tell the guitar's pitch just by listening? Momo is so amazing. A minute later, Mu-Ziomo plucked the 1st to 6th strings. After confirming that the sound was fine, he took out the lyrics to "Learn to Meow," which he had printed out earlier that day at the stationery store. Seeing this, Mu Baining quickly said, "Momo, we don't need the lyrics sheet anymore. I've already memorized this song." "You memorized it?" This question genuinely surprised Mu-Ziomo. Mu Baining nodded. "Yeah, I was a little bored when the lecture started, so I looked at the lyrics and memorized them." "Great, great." Mu-Ziomo gave her a thumbs up. Mu Baining wasn't happy about this. Instead, she frowned and asked, "I can't read sheet music either, so I can't figure out the key. The lyrics are also a bit strange. How are we supposed to sing this?" "Cough, cough." Mu-Ziomo coughed and said, "How about I sing it for you first and you can listen?" "Yes, yes." Mu Baining smiled. This was exactly what she wanted to say. "I'm so happy to be able to listen to Momo's songs again." P.S. Xiaming received a razor blade today. Some sign, letter FF9F de letter FF9F Japanese letter. Japanese letter, I promise I'll update properly from now on. Please don't send any more sob sob. This is just outrageous. Also, I'd like to ask for some flowers. You know what I mean. Chapter 121. Mu-Ziomo can actually speak a female voice. This song, despite being about meowing like a cat, is actually a love song. Mu Baining nodded slightly. When she was reciting the song today, she realized that it was a love song. After all, the lyrics, such as "I need your hug every day, I cherish every minute and second we're together," are full of love. The part at the beginning, "Let's learn to meow together, meow, 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 meow," is a bit strange. Mu Baining stared at him expectantly, waiting for Mu-Ziomo to speak. Seeing the expectant look in Mu Baning's eyes, he quickly began strumming the guitar strings. He had already memorized the sheet music, so playing it was no challenge for him. Long, slender fingers strummed the melody of Learn to Meow, a song with a particularly light and cheerful tune. Perhaps because Mu Ziomo's technique was too good, Mu Baning unconsciously closed her eyes while listening to the light music. The music was so captivating that Mu Baning was already engrossed in it after only 2 seconds of playing. A few seconds later, Mu Ziomo sang in a thick northeastern accent. Let's all learn to meow like cats, meow, meow, meow. Mu Banings. She suddenly opened her eyes. What the heck? Northeastern accent. Her eyelids trembled. This song is just too awful. Seeing Mu Baning's bewildered expression, Mu Ziomo chuckled. Just kidding, I'll sing properly. Snort. Mu Baning rolled her eyes at him. I'll give you a chance to sing well. Okay. Mu Ziomo quickly regained her composure and started playing the intro to Learn to Meow again. This time, Mu Baning didn't close her eyes, but stared at Mu Ziomo with a rather serious expression. The light from the computer screen shone on his angular face, and because it was completely dark around him, the scene truly stirred something within Mu Baning. After playing the intro to Learn to Meow, Mu Ziomo began to sing. Let's learn to meow together. Meow, 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 meow. He looked at Mu Baning's face, a faint smile on his face, his hands still strumming the guitar, then looked away, his body swaying to the melody. Let me act all cute and affectionate with you. Oh my gosh, meow, 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 meow. My heart is pounding. I'm infatuated with your mischievous smile. If you don't say you love me, I'll meow, meow, meow. Mu Ziomo's voice was that of a pure young boy, and coupled with the light-hearted melody and amusing lyrics, Mu Baning burst out laughing. I never expected this song to be so good. It was completely different from the melody she had envisioned. He was worried that the song would be bad, but it seems he has no such worries now. No wonder he's the man who wrote Guest. That's so talented. Seeing Mu Baning's infatuated expression, Mu Ziomo continued singing. I need your hug every day. I cherish every minute and second we're together. You know better than I do how important you are to me. You are my leading lady. Sometimes I'm as lazy as a cat, but when I'm in a bad mood, I'm all bared my teeth and claws. You are always so gentle, you can melt my heart. I want to be your little kitten. The humorous and light-hearted lyrics reached Mu Baning's ears. At this moment, Mu Baning felt a mix of emotions. So this song is actually him imagining himself as a cat. Especially that line, "You are my leading lady," was so charming. Mu Baning liked it more and more the more she listened, and wanted to listen to it more and more. Mu Ziomo maintained a smile throughout, and her singing tone was quite humorous. This truly brought her endless joy. Just like that, 2 minutes later, the song Learn to Meow was finished. Mu Baning was still enjoying the song, and was even more captivated by it. Seeing Mu Baning's current state, Mu Ziomo couldn't help but ask, So, Baning, do you like this song? Like? Her expression was somewhat shy. Indeed, Mu Baning was amazed by Mu Ziomo's looks and singing voice. He had a firm grasp on both the singing and the atmosphere. Seeing Mu Baning's somewhat shy expression, Mu Ziomo chuckled. I'm glad you like it. This song is divided into male, female, and duet versions. Let me tell you first. Mu Baning nodded, though she was a little worried that she wouldn't sing well. She is very clear about her own singing ability. However, she still listened carefully to which part she should sing. After all, one must be willing to try. Mu Baning didn't think her voice was bad, and as long as she controlled her breath, there shouldn't be any problems. Soon, Mu Ziomo began to instruct her on how to sing the song. About 10 minutes later, he had Mu Baning sing the first few lines of Learn to Meow. Mu Baning's voice is rather mature, but her pitch is exceptionally good. No wonder she has such a super singing talent. It worked. Even Mu Baning herself noticed that she usually sings off-key, but today, she didn't sing off-key at all. Mu Ziomo nodded with satisfaction after listening. Not bad, Ningning, you have a very good grasp of tone. I feel that I should use a little pharyngeal resonance to make the voice softer. Mu Baning frowned after hearing Mu Ziomo's words. Pharyngeal resonance? What does pharyngeal resonance mean? She hadn't heard of this term before, so Mu Ziomo explained. Pharyngeal resonance can make your voice softer, which is what we call a girl's voice. Seeing Mu Baning's puzzled look, he said, It's about tracing the tones. You should know that. For example, I'll show you how right now. Ah. Mu Ziomo climbed up the pitch one tone at a time. Soon the tone changed to a female voice. That's right, it's the way a girl talks. This scene stunned Mu Baning. Heavens, Mu can actually speak a female voice. Um, Mu quickly explained. This is pharyngeal resonance. For example, when Li Yugang sang The New Drunken Concubine, he used pharyngeal resonance in his female voice. Mu Baining was extremely surprised. She never expected Mu to be so talented in music. Mu chuckled. Actually, he learned his female voice from Jiang Feng on Bilibili. Because he acquired a super singing voice, he gained a special understanding of sound. After a little practice, I grasped the basics. The advantage of this is that you can sing in a female voice and sing female songs, which is also very easy. You could even have an online romance with a guy. Of course, Mu wouldn't do that. Is it difficult? Mu Baining said she also really wanted to learn. The latter shook his head. It's not difficult, Professor Mu, I'll teach you. Open your mouth and then make the sound of love. Then slowly climb the scale. Chapter 122, the system slaps him in the face. And so Mu and Mu Baining stayed in the recording studio until 7:30 p.m. Because Mu Baining possessed a superb singing talent, she learned exceptionally quickly. She could already speak in a sweet, girlish voice, which even shocked Mu Baining when she heard it. This is so surreal. She even believes she has a special talent in this area and might become a singing star in the future. Finally, Mu went to the recording studio and recorded the song Learn to Meow using a sound card. Furthermore, for the female vocal parts, she used a female voice directly. Let Mu Baining listen to this song more often, and she will naturally learn it. At 7:40, the two packed their things, preparing to leave. Just then, Mu Baining suddenly remembered something and said, "By the way, Momo, there will be an autumn sports meet at the end of this month during the Magic Science Conference. Talk to your classmates in class tomorrow and ask if anyone has signed up for any events." Okay, Mu nodded. He wasn't interested in the autumn sports meet. Just as Mu was thinking of this, the system's voice came. Ding, congratulations to the host for triggering a mission. Register for 3 events at the Shanghai University of Science and Technology Autumn Games and win at least 1 event. Reward, Special Connection +1, which will be of great help to your future life. Mu face darkened. Depend on. I just said I wasn't interested in the autumn sports meet. Then the system slapped him in the face. However, now that the system has issued this task, he has no reason not to continue. Mu asked, Ning, if the people who participate in the sports meet can win awards in the competition, wouldn't that be good for the class? That's right, Mu Baining nodded. Yeah, it will give me a raise and I'll also get honors from the class. Wow, a raise? Mu Baining quickly said. Actually, there is a special class scoring system at the school. When students in the class receive honors, their scores will increase. At the end of each year, the school will give the counselor a certain bonus based on the class's score. I see. Mu nodded, and at the same time Mu Baining, remembering his muscular build, asked, What, Momo, do you have any ideas? As the class monitor, I must set an example. Mu chuckled. I plan to sign up for 3 projects to boost your performance. Mu Baining nodded. Okay, I'll send you the details of the project when I get back. Just fill out the application form and give it to me. Okay, then let's go first, but I need to go to the office to deal with some documents, so I can't have dinner with you. Mu shook her head. It's okay, Ning, you can go ahead and do your work. You don't need my help, right? No need. Mu Baining kissed Mu cheek rather proactively. You must have been tired from teaching me to sing this afternoon. Go back and get some rest. Okay, then let's come here to practice again next time we have time. Okay, Tilda. Soon the two left the art building. Mu Baining walked towards the teaching building, while Mu carried her guitar and walked towards the cafeteria. He packed a meal and returned to his dormitory. What puzzled Ling Muxiyamo was that none of the 3 older boys in the dormitory were there at this time. Does watching porn cause premature ejaculation and death? He shook his head, not thinking much about it, and after finishing his meal, he took a shower and went straight to bed. After chatting with Mu for a while, Mu felt a little sleepy. Just as he was about to put down his phone and take a nap, his phone vibrated, and the name Mu Changle started scrolling across the screen. It was Mu Changle who called him. Mu frowned. What did his future father-in-law want with him? Without thinking twice, he quickly pressed the call button. Hey, Uncle Tilda. Mu still didn't dare to call Mu Changle Dad. Upon hearing Mu voice, Mu Changle chuckled and said, Hee Zyromo, are you resting? No, Mu replied softly. Mu Changle continued. I have good news for you. We found the person who distributed the tasting coupons. Mu was slightly taken aback. Goodness, so fast. He was also very curious about who did this, so he quickly asked, Uncle Mew, was it done so quickly? Was it the person who brought the steak? That's right, Mew Chenglei said. It's the guy who comes to get a steak. After you gave me the clue yesterday, I sent someone to investigate today. We then contacted an advertising company, and through them, we learned that it was indeed made by the person from Le Yidao Steakhouse. This outcome was within Mu Ziomo's expectations. He then asked, So, Uncle Mew, how should we handle this matter? We will handle it properly. Mew Changlei thought about it carefully. According to the provisions of the Civil Code, it shouldn't be a problem to lock him up for a few years. Of course, we will directly sue him, and you can come to the court to see him then. I won't go to court. Just let me know when this matter is resolved, Uncle Mew. Sure, Mew Changlei readily agreed. I'm just calling to let you know this news. There's nothing else. I'll hang up now and then inform my daughter. Mew Ziomo and Mew Changlei chatted for a couple more minutes before Mew Changlei hung up the phone. After putting down her phone, Mew Ziomo took a deep breath. The police were indeed handling cases very quickly these days. He'd never been to La Yidao Steakhouse, but he figured it probably wasn't very good. After all, using such a despicable method. After closing my eyes, the system's voice came through. Congratulations, host, on completing the Taste Voucher event mission. You have received 100,000 cash and the super driving skill talent. Ding, congratulations to the host for triggering a mission. Continue your entrepreneurial endeavors at Magic Science University within half a month and achieve a new company revenue of 1 million yuan within 2 months. Upon hearing this, Mew Ziomo was taken aback. Another new quest has been triggered. Continue starting a business at Magic Science University. Can you earn 1 million yuan within 2 months? Damn this. It shouldn't be difficult. However, the facilities at Magic University are now exceptionally complete. Mew Ziomo really didn't know what kind of business to start. Just as Mew Ziomo was deep in thought, the dormitory door was slammed open. This startled Mew Ziomo. Huang Wengsu rushed in like a madman. Holy crap, Brother Mo, good news. Someone asked for my WeChat today. A girl asked for my WeChat, ha. I never thought I'd be in this situation, ha. As soon as he entered, Huang Wengsu started yelling like a madman. Mew Ziomo was taken aback. Who's so blind as to ask for his WeChat? Chapter 123, Hey, Ningning, I'm going to drive now. Congratulations. Seeing the extremely excited Huang Wengsu, Mew Ziomo grinned. Hey Mo, I'm going to chat. I'll treat you to dinner when I'm no longer single. Huang Wengsu got into bed, a lewd smile on his face as he looked at his phone screen, his hands flying across the screen as he typed. Before long, Bai Yuntao and Du Yang also walked in. They were carrying milk tea from the Hello Kitty Cat Cafe when they came in, and Bai Yuntao immediately started complaining. Damn, Brother Mo, the staff at your cat cafe are so ungrateful. Why doesn't mentioning your name do any good? What the heck? Mew Ziomo was taken aback. This guy definitely wanted to go to the store and get his milk tea for free. I have a lot of people who know me. Unless I take you there, don't even think about getting something for free. Good. Just then, Huang Wengsu on the bed chuckled. You'd better watch out for your fat grandpa, Moji. Don't forget your promise. From now on, when I bring my girlfriend to buy milk tea, you'd better make sure there's enough for her. Mew Ziomo was a little surprised. Huang Wengsu's tone at this moment was one of absolute certainty. Wait, he seems to have been like this with every girl before. But as for the result, those who know, know. Upon hearing Mew Ziomo's voice, Huang Wengsu chuckled and teased. Hey, Laodu, I'll be able to arrange flowers soon, aren't you envious? Letter 2C9, TCH tilde. Bai Yuntao scoffed. A slightly chubby girl who is 155 cm tall and weighs 160 kg is only suitable for you. Get lost, Huang Wengsu rolled his eyes. It's all the same with the lights off, and if you say your future sister-in-law is fat again, you're finished. I'm not saying anything more. Bai Yuntao quickly shut his mouth. Mew Ziomo frowned. Didn't Huang Wengsu usually like hot girls with black or white stockings and fishnets? Why do people like slightly chubby girls now? However, after thinking about it carefully, he realized that in reality, there are many differences between the girlfriend he found and the ideal girlfriend. Perhaps Huang Wengsu didn't want to go on a date with the girl with 5 fingers that night, so he added the slightly chubby girl on WeChat. Huang Wengsu is chubby, which is just right. He didn't think much of it, put on his headphones, listened to some music, and soon fell asleep. In the following days, Muzaya almost spent all her free time with Mu Baining, eating, singing, and going on dates together. As they became more and more familiar with each other, Muzaya Omo also became a little mischievous. I often touch her big white rabbit. The saying, women love bad boys, really works on Mu Baining. Because of their relationship, she has completely shed her aloof professor facade. She was like a clingy kitten in his presence. Saturday. Early in the morning, Muzaya Omo packed her bags, grabbed her guitar, and ran out of the dormitory. Today is a very important day for him and Mu Baining. That's right, he's going to Tianyi & Company with Mu Baining today to record 2 songs, Learn to Meow and Guest. A few days ago, Muzaya Omo found a music company and registered as a singer on NetEase Cloud Music. This time, we contacted Tianyi & Company to record an album. He looked into it and found that if the 2 songs became popular online, they could generate substantial profits. Not only that, but this also helps accumulate a lot of fans. He doesn't really care about whether he can monetize it. What he really gains is the sense of accomplishment from having these fans. At 7:20, Muzaya Omo arrived at the faculty dormitory building to wait for Mu Baining. Mu Baining's practice of learning to meow has been flawless recently, and Muzaya Omo is extremely satisfied with both her pronunciation and intonation. Because it was the weekend, the area downstairs and the entire campus were exceptionally quiet. In addition, it was already mid to late October, and the heat of September was long gone. A cool breeze felt wonderful on the skin. About 5 or 6 minutes later, the sound of high heels echoed in the hallway. Da-da-da. Muzaya Omo looked up at the sound and saw that the person who came was none other than Mu Baining. She still loves wearing high heels as always. Today, Mu Baining looked particularly innocent and pure, wearing an apricot-colored thin sweater and black wide leg pants. This makes the chest appear larger and the waist appear slimmer. She's got a perfect figure with a great bust and butt. Momo, you're here, Tilda. Upon seeing Muzaya Omo, Mu Baining walked over in a welcoming manner. A faint smile appeared on his face as he looked up at her expectantly. Muzaya Omo gently pinched her cheek. You're here. Ning Ning, are you dressed up so beautifully today? Every time she saw him, Mu Baining would carefully put on makeup, and today was no exception. After all, this is our first time recording. Mu Baining glanced at the car not far away, then cupped Muzaya Omo's cheeks in her hands. How are you, Momo? Are you cold now? Let's go to the car quickly. It's not cold. Muzaya Omo shook her head, because Mu Baining was dressed rather lightly, and they were worried that the girl would catch a cold. The 2 of them quickly got into the car. Mu Baining was wearing high heels and couldn't drive, so she naturally sat in the passenger seat. After getting into the car, Muzaya Omo did not fasten her seatbelt. Instead, he stared longingly at Mu Baining's sexy red lips. At this moment, Mu Baining had already figured out his thoughts. Momo, do you want another kiss? MMM. Muzaya Omo nodded gently, and without the slightest hesitation, she got up, hugged Mu Baining's neck, and kissed her. The delicate fragrance reached his taste buds, and Mu Baining's mouth felt soft and sweet. His body leaned forward unnaturally, and Suo's body pressed against Mu Baining's. Mu Baining felt a little short of breath. This brat of a brother always kisses her so hard. He's really awful and never knows how to be gentle with her. If she continues like this after we move in together, Muzaya Omo will drive her crazy sooner or later. Even so, Muzaya Omo showed no sign of backing down. He would stroke Mu Baining's cheek one moment and her breasts the next. His hands just wouldn't stay still. There's nothing we can do. Mu Baining is just so beautiful. Momo, I can hardly breathe. Oops, I bumped your abs. That felt great. Ning Ning, do you like me? Yes, I like you, Momo Tilda. The atmosphere inside the car grew increasingly romantic, and 3 minutes later, Muzaya Omo finally got up, satisfied. It seems Mu Baining had just finished putting on makeup, and his random kisses have ruined her lipstick. She has makeup remover scarves in the car, and she also has a habit of carrying lipstick for touch-ups. After wiping her mouth clean and reapplying lipstick, Mu Baining finally turned her attention to Muzaya Omo. Momo, what time did you and Tianyi make your appointment? Is there still time? There's still time. He glanced at his watch. It'll only take a little over half an hour. Let's set off now. Well then, Ning Ning, I'm going to drive now, sobs. Chapter 124, when my boyfriend sings inside later. Can I have one of his earphones? Mu Baining stared at Muzaya Omo, somewhat speechless. It's still dirty, dirty, dirty. Something feels weird. This brat is definitely not innocent. Despite his handsome appearance, Muzaya Omo is just like any other boy. Of course, this is all normal. Mu Xiaomo was driving carefully, while Mu Baining was scrolling through Douyin, TikTok. About half an hour later, we arrived at Tianyan Building. Tianyan Music Company is a large-scale company in the area and has many well-known artists. For example, the recently popular group ESO, Lu Hen, Wang Zidao, and Quan Qulong are all artists from this company. These few people are incredibly popular online. After parking the car, Mu Xiaomo and Mu Baining got out, and both looked up at the 40-story building. Then Mu Xiaomo glanced at Mu Baining. "So, Ningning, do you feel like you're about to become a star?" No. Mu Baining shook her head. For her, being a celebrity was something that was simply too far removed from her life. Moreover, Mu Baining doesn't like being a celebrity. There are just too many things to consider in this circle. Actually, I don't have any either. Mu Baining chuckled and said, "All right, I'm afraid I'll never become a star in this lifetime. Has the agent you contacted arrived yet?" "I'll call him right now." As she spoke, Mu Xiaomo took out her phone and contacted her agent, Li Hang. Li Hang answered the phone very quickly. "Hello, Mr. Mu." Upon hearing Li Hang's voice, Mu Xiaomo said, "Hello, my girlfriend and I are now downstairs at your company. May I ask which floor you are on?" "I'm on the 20th floor. Tianyan Company is responsible for a wide range of businesses, so the tasks are distributed quite widely. Mu Xiaomo contacted someone to help them release the album under the company's name, which of course required charging a high fee. As for the copyright of the song, it belongs to him. Okay, then I'll go to the 20th floor to find you." "Okay, Mr. Mu." After hanging up the phone, Mu Xiaomo turned her gaze to Mu Baining. "Our agent will be waiting for us on the 20th floor. Let's go up together." Mu Baining nodded slightly, quickly moved closer to him, and tightly linked her arm with his. And so, the two of them joined the company. No one came forward to greet them. After Mu Xiaomo and Mu Baining entered the elevator, they went up to the 20th floor. "Ding tilde, we've reached the 20th floor." The elevator's voice announcement rang out, and as soon as the elevator doors opened, they saw a guy who looked to be in his mid-20s, with a middle parting and blonde hair. His attire was very similar to that of the Void Kun, mainly wearing the same style of overalls and black shirt as the Void Kun. Absolutely amazing. Upon seeing Mu Xiaomo and Mu Baining, Li Hang was immediately stunned, because Mu Xiaomo and Mu Baining are just too damn good-looking. He couldn't help but ask, You must be Mr. Mu and Miss Mu." "It's me." Mu Xiaomo was somewhat astonished. Could it be that this person, dressed similarly to Su Kun, was Li Hang? Upon receiving Mu Xiaomo's reply, Li Hang was both surprised and delighted. As a celebrity agent, his primary job is to discover and recruit stars. Mu Xiaomo and Mu Baining are both top tier in terms of both figure and looks. Their good looks alone are enough to make them an internet sensation. But the main reason is that Mu Xiaomo and Mu Baining came to record a song. Moreover, it's an original song. If their songs are exceptionally amazing, it's not impossible for them to become an overnight sensation. That's right, at this point, Li Hang already had feelings for Mu Xiaomo and Mu Baining. Especially Mu Baining. Her figure with her prominent breasts and buttocks is absolutely stunning. In today's internet age, this is what we eat. Hello. Li Hang quickly stepped forward and shook hands with Mu Xiaomo and Mu Baining. "The room for recording music has been prepared for you. The songs you will be singing are Guest and Learn to Meow, right?" Mu Xiaomo had already told Li Hang the song they were going to sing. Mu Xiaomo nodded. "Yes, then please take us to the recording studio." "All right, please, both of you." Li Hang quickly led the way, while Mu Xiaomo and Mu Baining also observed their surroundings. It was a long corridor. The company's decor wasn't luxurious, but it was still nice. The walls around her were covered with the company's history and the various awards the artists had received. Mu Xiaomo didn't have time to look at these things at all. Soon, Li Hang led Mu Xiaomo into a recording studio. The reason for choosing Tianyan Company is that the company has more professional equipment than Moke University, and the room is particularly bright when you go in. In front of them was a large mixing console with many buttons. Mu Xiaomo couldn't understand any of this stuff at all. In front of the mixing console sat a sound engineer. Behind the mixing console, there is a transparent glass panel. Inside the glass room is the recording room, which contains large microphones and equipment such as headphones. In short, they are extremely professional. Mu Xiaomo opened the guitar bag and took out a USB drive. The USB drive contained the instrumental tracks for Guest and Learn to Meow, which he had commissioned someone to make. Using a guitar also involves perfecting the melody based on the existing accompaniment. Li Hang introduced, Mr. Mew, Ms. Mew, let me introduce you. This is Wang Defa, our sound engineer at Tianyan. Wang Defa nodded, extending his hand. He looked to be over 50 years old and resembled an artist. Hello, Mu Ziomo didn't greet Wang Dafa much, but instead focused her attention on Li Hang. The USB drive contains the instrumental version of the song I need to sing today. Please use the instrumental version when you record it later. Okay, Li Hang nodded and smiled slightly. I can tell you're in a hurry. In that case, let's start recording now. At this point, Wang Defa said, recording the music will take some time. The equipment hasn't been properly set up yet. Upon hearing this, Li Hang had no choice but to say, because we just started working here and someone used the equipment yesterday, please be patient and wait a moment. It's nothing. Mu Ziomo shook her head and turned her gaze to Mu Baining. Ning Ning, I'll record the guest segment first later. After recording the first song, we'll sing Learn to Meow next. Okay, Tilda. Mu Baining nodded obediently and asked Master Wang Defa, Master, when my boyfriend sings inside later, could you give me one of your earphones? Haha, of course. Mu Baining also wanted to listen to Guest again. For some reason, she always felt that this song could evoke memories in her heart. Chapter 125, These Days. Is there anyone who doesn't want to be a star? The equipment was quickly debugged. Mu Ziomo took her guitar and went in to sing Guest once. Upon hearing Mu Ziomo's singing, Wang Defa and Li Hang's expressions were like this. Crap. Yes, that's right, it's shocking. That's shocking. A while ago, Li Hang came across a clip of Mu Ziomo singing as a guest at the Magic University of Science and Technology while browsing Douyin. He later asked some students at the Magic University, but in the end he couldn't find Mu Ziomo. He was saddened for several days because of this. But I never expected to run into him here today. Is this fate? Listening to the melody of Guest, the two of them suddenly felt a chill run down their spines. The melody, the husky voice, the lyrics. At this moment, when Li Hang looked at Mu Ziomo, he saw that she didn't seem like a human being. Instead, that's right, it's money. Mu Ziomo was like a treasure chest radiating golden light, filled with money inside and out. Most importantly, he not only sings well, but he's also incredibly handsome. If he joins ESO, he'll definitely become a huge star. In short, Li Hang, who has many years of experience as an agent, felt that Mu Ziomo would definitely become a big star if she joined Tianyan Company. After the guest performer finished singing, Mu Ziomo waved to Mu Baining outside. Mu Baining immediately understood what he meant, quickly took off her headphones, and ran into the recording studio. After sitting down, Wang Defa continued to adjust the equipment. At the same time, Li Hang, who was standing next to him, asked, Old Wang, what do you think about recruiting Mu Ziomo into our team ESO? Upon hearing this, Wang Defa looked at Mu Ziomo inside, who was chatting and laughing with Mu Baining, and nodded. When he sang just now, it truly touched his heart. He even thought of his first love, Kuihua, from more than 30 years ago. Who wouldn't like someone who is talented, good-looking, and has a great voice? He said, he is indeed very talented, but I feel that his singing style is not suitable for a group, and it would be better to train him individually. Li Hang thought about it carefully and realized that what Wang Defa said wasn't unreasonable. Individual training was also an option. If all the resources are directed towards him, he can definitely be developed into a big star. Of course, this is just Li Hang's temporary idea. If we really want him to join Tianyan Company, it's not up to him to decide. Given this opportunity, Mu Ziomo will definitely cherish it. And of course, he will try his best to help Mu Ziomo. Just as he was meditating, Mu Ziomo's voice came through his earphones. Hello, may we begin? Okay, sorry. At this moment, both Wang Defa and Li Hang were distracted. They quickly played the background music for Meow Meow, because there were people on the other side of the glass, and Mu Baining suddenly felt a little embarrassed. Mainly, she needs to make a very girlish, very sweet voice and feel a little shy. I was incredibly panicked. Moreover, she has to sing this song. Let's learn to meow together. Mu Baining chuckled and shook her head. No, Momo, I can't reach that pitch. Mu Ziomo was taken aback. Is Ning Ning too nervous? Because her expression was somewhat unnatural, Mu Ziomo's first thought was that she was too nervous. A little. She glanced discreetly at Li Hang and Wang Defa outside. Someone's watching us. I feel a little awkward this. It's all right, little girl. Before Mu Baining could finish speaking, Wang Defa said something from outside. His voice came through the earphones. Then Wang Defa pressed a button, and the glass instantly became very blurry, as if a film had been applied to it. It turned into frosted glass. This kind of equipment is very common in music companies, and some singers are indeed unable to show their full potential because they have connections outside the music industry. That way you won't be able to see me, and I won't be able to see you. Just prepare a little more and let me know when you're ready. Seeing the change in the surrounding situation, Mu Baining was somewhat bewildered. Do modern glass all have this function? It went from transparent to frosted glass. Mu Ziomo had seen this technology before, so she wasn't surprised by what she saw. He said, "Isn't this much better?" She could no longer see the people outside, and that definitely felt much better. Mu Ziomo, let's do it again, don't be nervous. Just like I taught you before, slowly climb the scale. I see. Mu Baining's expression turned serious, and then she began to sing. She performed exceptionally well this time, with excellent control over tone and pitch. Outside, after hearing Mu Baining's voice, Li Hang couldn't help but say, "Not bad, both of them have exceptional singing talent. The female voice has particularly stable breath control and is very expressive. It's the lyrics." Li Hang didn't continue. After all, he had never heard of a cat meowing. The recording of the song Learn to Meow took more than an hour. Perhaps because she wasn't in the right state of mind, Mu Baining sang the wrong notes several times. Or they might burst out laughing while singing. Of course, this is normal. No one is infallible, and besides, she was already a little nervous. After recording, Mu Ziomo and Mu Baining both took off their headphones. "You worked hard, Ning Ning. You sang very well today." Mu Ziomo looked at Mu Baining, who was all smiles. Perhaps because she sang so hard, there were beads of sweat on her forehead. Of course, it was also related to the high temperature in the recording studio. Mu Baining shook her head. "It's not hard work. It's mainly because I make a lot of mistakes, otherwise we would have finished recording long ago. It's okay, it'll be noon soon, I'll take you to lunch." Mu Ziomo and Mu Baining stood up, and at that moment the glass returned to normal. As soon as they came out, Li Hang blocked their way. He smiled and said, "I was deeply moved by Mr. Mu and Ms. Mu's songs. Would you be interested in learning more about our company?" Mu Ziomo frowned. Did she know about his company? He had already discerned Li Hang's thoughts, but before he could speak, Mu Baining beside him asked, "Is there anything I can help you with? Here's the thing, I've found that both of you are particularly appealing to me, both in terms of looks and singing style. Our company, Tianian, is currently hosting a talent show and would like to invite you two to participate." Talent shows. Mu Baining frowned upon hearing this. She looked at Mu Ziomo and said, "Momo, this." "Sorry, no need." Mu Ziomo shook her head. "We have no intention of participating in your company's program. We just want to post our song on NetEase Cloud Music as we agreed." This, Li Hang never expected Mu Ziomo to refuse. And the rejection was so complete, without even a second thought. These days, is there anyone who doesn't want to be a star? After chapter 126, I'll only sing my songs for Ning Ning, okay? After all, quite a few people come to Tianian Company to record albums. Who doesn't dream of being a musician or a star? Ordinary people simply don't have the opportunity to participate in such talent shows. Li Hang quickly said, "As long as a contestant passes the talent show, they can be directly recommended by the company to participate in the I Am a Singer program and have close contact with big stars." Mu Ziomo was stunned, getting up close and personal with a big star. "I'm sorry, I've already contacted Huji. He's not really a fan of celebrities, and as for interacting with big stars, well, forget about it. Mainly, contacting big stars is just an excuse. The main goal is to get him to participate in a so-called talent show." "I'm sorry, I really didn't mean that." Mu Ziomo changed the subject. "These two songs have already been recorded, and I will make payment according to the contract after the album is released." This, Li Hang grinned, okay, but are you really not going to reconsider this?" And Mu Ziomo was speechless. Goodness, they really think highly of him. He shook his head. "Really, it's not necessary. Now that we've completed today's task, let's head back." Mu Ziomo took Mu Baining's hand and looked at her profile. "Ning Ning, let's go back." Seeing that Mu Ziomo kept refusing, Mu Baining didn't say anything. Actually, she really wanted to challenge herself and participate in this so-called talent show. Of course, that's just wishful thinking. She would definitely have no problem giving a speech in front of a large audience. However, she does get a little stage fright when asked to sing on stage. "I'll take you." Li Hang was heartbroken, but there was nothing he could do. He hadn't met anyone as talented as Mu Xiaomo and Mu Baining for years. He could only maintain his relationship with the two of them and see if they would change their minds in the future. A few minutes later, Li Hang escorted Mu Xiaomo and Mu Baining downstairs. "Mr. Li, there's no need to see us off." Mu Xiaomo and Mu Baining stood side by side. After hearing Mu Xiaomo's words, Li Hang revealed an ugly expression. "Well, if nothing unexpected happens, the song will be uploaded to your NetEase Cloud Music account tomorrow. I will send you the copyright contract. Thank you for your willingness to cooperate with us, and we look forward to more cooperation in the future." "Okay." Mu Xiaomo stepped forward and shook hands with Li Hang. Soon after, she and Mu Baining left the place. After walking a distance, Mu Baining couldn't help but ask, "What's wrong, Momo? Don't you like any of the talent shows?" Hearing Mu Baining's words, Mu Xiaomo turned her head curiously and stared at her. "Don't tell me, Ningning, you want to participate." Mu Baining shook her head. "I just feel it's a bit of a pity. You sing so well, you should be on screen." "Buff." Mu Xiaomo chuckled. "If that's the case, I'll become a big star and lots of pretty girls will come to flirt with me. Aren't you afraid I'll run off with someone else?" Upon hearing Mu Xiaomo's words, Mu Baining was completely bewildered. She couldn't help but ask, Momo shouldn't be that kind of person, right?" Mu Xiaomo gave her a mischievous smile and raised an eyebrow. "What if it is? Then your skull will have to come off." Mu Baining clenched her pink fist and made a fierce gesture in front of her. Mu Xiaomo, I was wrong. From now on, I'll only sing my songs for Ningning, okay?" "That's more like it." Mu Baining immediately smiled and then kissed her on the cheek. Feeling Mu Baining's fragrant kiss, Mu Xiaomo said, "It'll be noon soon, Ningning, what do you want to eat for lunch? I'll take you there." "Of course I want to eat the food my husband, Momo, makes for me." To be honest, Mu Baining, who often eats out, was already tired of the taste of restaurant food. Upon hearing this, Mu Xiaomo said, "Okay, then I'll cook it for you myself." Mu Baining's face immediately fell when she thought of Liu Weiwei still in the dormitory. She said, "It's a pity Liu Weiwei is still in her dorm. This isn't really appropriate." "Who said I was going to your dorm?" Mu Xiaomo glanced at Mu Baining. "Don't you know there's a very popular shop right now called Open Kitchen? An open kitchen means that customers cook their own meals. The kitchen staff are only responsible for providing the ingredients and cooking tools." Mu Baining was taken aback. An open kitchen, to be honest, she had never heard of such a thing. Seeing Mu Baining's blank expression, Mu Xiaomo said, "You'll understand once we take you there." At this moment, the two of them came to the car together. After getting into the car, Mu Xiaomo drove towards Jinzhou in Shanghai. Goal, to open the kitchen to the public and cook delicious food for Ningning. The next day, at noon, Mu Xiaomo received a message from Lu Liheng. They said their work has been uploaded to NetEase Cloud Music, and an album has been released. Furthermore, they also sent copyright contracts for the songs Guest and Learn to Meow. Copyright currently belongs to Mu Xiaomo. Once everything is confirmed to be in order, the next step is to promote the Cat Cafe. Initially, there was no advertising. Although the business was good, many students still didn't know that a cat cafe had opened on campus. The main reason is that the Magic University is too big. Students in fixed living areas basically don't go shopping in other areas, so they naturally don't eat in other canteens. In this way, the number of customers in this cafeteria is fixed. As for how to promote it, Mu Xiaomo has already thought it through. It means posting this message on the forum of the University of Science and Technology of China. Mu Baining happens to know the administrator of the Magic Science Forum. She is a teacher at the school. You could ask him to pin the forum post and then write some particularly eye-catching titles. Secondly, you can ask other classmates to help spread the word. And this song, Mu Baining directly contacted the cafeteria manager to have Learn to Meow played on the cafeteria's loudspeakers. This is one of the advantages of having a professor girlfriend. It's fair to say that at Magic University, Mu Xiaomo can do whatever she wants. 6:30 p.m. Hello Kitty Cat Cafe. By this time, it was already packed with people. The afternoon forum post has been pinned. This made many students aware that there was a cat cafe on campus. Moreover, the drinks at the cat cafe are currently 30% off, and there's a buy one get one free offer. Wow, this ragdoll cat is so cute. Yeah, and there's Talking Tom, but where's Jerry? This Garfield cat is absolutely gorgeous. I love it so much. Hey, don't push me. Don't just look at the cat. The mango pomelo sago at the shop is so delicious. I've never had such good milk tea before. The crowd was buzzing with discussion. Muzaya Omo looked at the store, which was almost bursting at the seams. This number of people, is that exaggerated? Chapter 127, using smart drones to deliver food to school dormitories. Of course, it would be strange if Muzaya Omo wasn't happy to see so many people in the shop. What's this? It's all money. Hindi hi huenus omega. There were no seats left in the cat cafe, and he realized that what attracted people to buy things wasn't entirely because of the cats. It's not because of the taste of milk tea, but thinking about it, the system's rewards are bound to be good. Just as Muzaya Omo was lost in thought, the shop suddenly became crowded. Holy crap, don't push me, hey, 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 oh my god. Who the hell pushed you? Waiter, give me a cup of cloud grapefruit ice. I want one too, I want one too. Why doesn't our school allow food delivery? If we could, who would bother going downstairs to buy bubble tea? That is... Fortunately, nothing went wrong. The surrounding classmates were also talking about it, and there were a lot of people around. Seeing how crowded it was, Muzaya almost suddenly had the idea of expanding her milk tea shop. The school has 3 cafeterias. Could he open a milk tea shop like this in each of them? This way, students won't have to travel long distances to buy milk tea. Muzaya Omo suddenly felt that she could be punished. He wanted to offer delivery services to the school, but the school simply wouldn't allow delivery drivers to enter the campus. As for takeout from the school cafeteria, it is available, but the school stipulates a delivery fee of 5 yuan per order, and delivery to the upper floors is not allowed. 5 yuan is far too expensive. Apart from a few rich people, most people wouldn't be foolish enough to pay 5 yuan. Muzaya Omo was busy in the shop for a while, and when it was time to eat, a large number of students gathered in the cafeteria, and the shop became quieter after finishing up. Thank you for your hard work, all 3 of you. Chen Kiyuki, Jiang Han, and Zhao Chunhua are all in the store today. It's all right, boss. All 3 of them were covered in sweat, having been working non-stop. Chen Kiyuki took out a wet wipe and wiped away her sweat, saying, Boss, the effect of promoting on the forum is really different. It's only been a few hours and there are already so many people. Muzaya Omo said, What? Do you want me to hire a few more employees to keep you company? Boss, Zing Tilda. Chen Kiyuki's eyes lit up instantly upon hearing Muzaya Omo's words. Boss, I think you could find 2 handsome young men, good-looking, and strong ones, he. Muzaya Omo frowned slightly. Strong physique. Yes, Chen Kiyuki nodded. The 3 of us are all girls, and there are many heavy things that we can't move. If there are strong young men, we can ask them to help us. Well, oh, I see. Muzaya Omo admitted that he had misunderstood. Okay, a handsome young man will be on duty in a few days. Really? Upon hearing the news, she said to Jiang Han. Han, we might be able to find partners soon. Boss, you absolutely have to find someone handsome, over 180 cm tall. Thank you, Boss Tilda. Definitely. Muzaya Omo nodded. Then, Kiki and Han, you 2 go eat first and come back quickly so your sister Hua can eat too. Oh, punishment. Soon, the 2 girls left the store. Zhao Chunhua glanced at Muzaya Omo and then said, Boss, thanks to this promotion, the store's customer traffic has increased several times over. The shop isn't very big. I asked my classmates, and they said the milk tea there is really delicious and has a great reputation. If possible, we could expand the shop a bit. The main reason is that Muzaya Omo's girlfriend is a professor and advisor at the Magic University, so she can definitely help with this. I know, I'll consider it. Nodding, just as Muzaya Omo was about to go over and pet the cat, the system's voice suddenly came. Ding, a cargo drone for intelligent robots has been provided to the host. The host can research and put it into production for use in areas where it is needed. Upon hearing the system's voice, Muzaya Omo was completely bewildered. Intelligent robot carrying drone. What is this thing? I opened the system panel and found this item in the system repository. Intelligent robot carrying drone. Drone robots can carry and transport small amounts of goods. They have a simple structure and can carry up to 20 kg, but the host needs to manually set the path to complete the robot's work. Upon seeing the text above, Muzaya Omo suddenly understood. Wow, this is a good thing. Could robotic cargo drones be used in the food delivery industry? With a load capacity of 20 kg, that's pretty impressive. After shutting down the system, Muzaya Omo planned to go back to her dorm to study it. At this point, he no longer had any desire to pet the cat. After telling Zhao Chunhua, Muzaya Omo left. Back in his dorm, he had just turned on the system when his phone rang. It's Mu Baining. After answering the call and turning on speakerphone, Mu Ziomo simply tossed her phone onto the table. Hey Ning Ning. He was multitasking at the moment, looking up at the system panel while chatting with Mu Baining. Hey Momo, I'm at the Cat Cafe right now. I heard from the staff that you just got back. Mu Ziomo stopped what he was doing. He had just returned when Mu Baining went over. Mu Ziomo replied helplessly, Yes, I've already gone back to my dorm. I have something to take care of. As she spoke, Mu Ziomo reached out and touched the robot drone on the virtual screen. At the same time, with a bang, the drone fell out and slammed heavily onto the table. The sound was so loud that it even dented the wooden board on the table. This drone is like a remote-controlled airplane that children play with. It has 4 propellers, distributed at the 4 corners. However, the drone in front of him was particularly large, estimated to be a meter in length and width, and extremely heavy, which is why it suddenly fell and hit the table. What was that sound? Mu Baining, who was on the phone, naturally heard the bang. Mu Ziomo quickly said, It's nothing. Something fell off my desk. I've already picked it up. I see, Mu Baining continued. Are you all right? I called you mainly to ask if the post we made on the forum today had any effect. Yes. Mu Ziomo quickly said, Not only does it work, but it works exceptionally well. The shop was packed with people before we ate, so Ning Ning, you don't need to worry about that. Those are good. Mu Ziomo said, By the way, Professor Mu, I have an idea now. Could you ask the school about it for me? Idea? Mu Baining muttered, What are you thinking? It involves using smart drones to deliver takeout to school dormitories. Chapter 128, where Ning Ning is, everywhere is the warmest place. Mu Baining was somewhat surprised after hearing his words. Using drones to deliver food to school dormitories. This thing, well, she's never seen it before either. Mu Baining remained silent for a moment. If any other classmate had told her this, she would have ignored it, but Mu Ziomo was different. Mu Ziomo's thoughts were quite different from others. She wondered what kind of trouble her younger brother was up to this time. She asked, Someone has actually mentioned using drones to deliver food. But ordinary drones can't achieve this yet. There are many limitations, as I think you know. Hearing Mu Baining's words, Mu Ziomo hummed in agreement. Let's talk about it later. Ning Ning, I have something to do. I'll call you back later. Beep, beep, beep. Just as Mu Baining was about to speak, Mu Ziomo hung up the phone. This made Mu Baining very unhappy. Could it be that Mu Ziomo is throwing a tantrum? Shaking her head, Mu Baining held Tom in her arms, with Su Bing still nestled against her chest, as always. She sighed, This little cat is something else. In the dormitory, Mu Ziomo rolled her eyes at Huang Wenxu. The reason Mu Baining just hung up the phone was because Huang Wenxu, Bai Yuntao, and Du Yang suddenly returned. At this moment, Huang Wenxu was examining the enormous drone. Holy crap, Mo, what is this thing? How did you manage to get such a huge remote-controlled airplane? The aircraft fuselage is all white, with a particularly large storage box underneath. The storage box is almost as big as a takeout bag, with 9 different small compartments. The small compartments are for putting things in. They're probably where you can eat fast food. The reason Mu Ziomo dared to say that to Mu Baining just now was because of this. Get lost, get lost. This isn't a remote-controlled airplane, don't break it. He learned through the system that he needed to use the prototype provided by the system to purchase parts, and then assemble several such drones in order to ensure operation. Having already acquired knowledge about robots, purchasing parts and assembling such a drone was not a problem for him. As for the programming, there are no problems. Mu Ziomo snatched the drone from Huang Wenxu's hand. Huang Wenxu scoffed, Hey, why do I feel like you're getting stingier and stingier? Drones are just for fun, where's the remote control? Let me play with it. Mu Ziomo rolled her eyes at him. He glared fiercely at Huang Wenxu. Do you want to fly a plane, or do you want to be the one flying a plane? Upon hearing Mu Ziomo's words, Bai Yuntao and Du Yang, who were standing to the side, immediately brightened up. All eyes turned to Huang Wenxu. It was as if they would be ready to go at any moment if Mu Ziomo gave the order. Huang Wenxu gasped, You fucking have no sportsmanship, I'm done playing. He hurriedly dropped the drone he was holding as if it were a plague, then grabbed the bed and climbed up the ladder. Then he threw the shoe down again. At this moment, Bai Yuntao walked over with a curious look in his eyes. He examined the drone for a moment, then asked, Brother Mo, what's this drone for, and why is it so big? Delivering takeout. Mu Ziomo said this quite decisively, and Bai Yuntao reacted strongly to his words. What the heck? He examined the drone in Mu Ziomo's hand closely and exclaimed in astonishment. Holy crap! Is this some kind of torture device, Brother Mo? Delivering food using this is quite challenging. Using drones to deliver food is indeed not common right now. But it's not that it doesn't exist. Mu Ziomo actually has great ambitions, and this time he also wants to conduct an experiment. If drones could be used to deliver food, the current food delivery problem could be solved directly. The main purpose is to expand this technology worldwide. You don't need to worry about that. I have my own ideas. At this moment, ideas flooded Mu Ziomo's mind like a spring. He quickly opened his laptop and began writing a program based on his own ideas. Perhaps the system influenced his brain, because Mu Ziomo's idea was to install a window for storing things outside in every dormitory at the Magic Science University. There is a number on the window, which the drone can identify and deliver the food to the designated location. At this moment, Mu Ziomo was full of confidence. They weren't afraid of the school rejecting their application at all. Since the system gave him this, there must be a reason for it. Soon, Mu Ziomo became engrossed in coding. In the following days, Mu Ziomo didn't continue to study this. This project is quite difficult and cannot be started anytime soon. After all, it involves quite a few things. Time flies. Before we knew it, it was the end of October, the time for the Magic Science University to hold its autumn sports meet. October 29, early morning. Get up, get up. Brothers, let's go to the playground together. My 3 roommates are still fast asleep. Mu Ziomo took the slipper and slapped it directly at Huang Wengsu's face. Huang Wengsu suddenly woke up with a start, then looked at Mu Ziomo and said, Damn it, what are you doing, Brother Mo? I was sleeping soundly. You idiot, it's the sports meet today. If you're absent, Mu Baining's salary will be deducted. Do you want to get beaten up? Upon hearing Mu Ziomo's words, Huang Wengsu's face darkened. Damn it, now not only my advisor is in charge of him, but even his own roommates are doing the same thing. To avoid being taken advantage of by Mu Ziomo, Huang Wengsu quickly sat up and said impatiently to Mu Ziomo, all right, I know. Hurry up and wake those 2 up. That's more like it. Mu Ziomo smiled and glanced at Huang Wengsu. As expected of his good eldest son, he was so obedient. After waking up Bai Yuntao and Du Yang, Mu Ziomo left the dormitory first. Because Ningning is waiting for him. There's still time, so I can go to the cafeteria with Ningning for breakfast. He signed up for 3 events: the 5,000-meter race, shot put, and the 4x 100-meter relay. The 5,000-meter race will be held in 3 days. This morning, there were only shot put and the 4x 100-meter relay. Therefore, breakfast is a must. That way, you'll have the energy to compete. When he arrived at the cafeteria entrance, he saw a beautiful figure in the distance. That's right, it's Mu Baining. Because the weather was already a bit cold at the end of October, Mu Baining was dressed quite warmly today. A beige coat and a pair of black trousers, plus a pair of black leather shoes. From afar, Mu Baining spotted Mu Ziomo. As Mu Ziomo approached, Mu Baining noticed that her brat was dressed unusually thinly today. She was wearing only a coat and a white top underneath. She couldn't help but ask, Momo, why are you so silly? Aren't you cold wearing so little? Mu Ziomo, wherever Ningning is, it's the warmest place. Chapter 129, indeed. Looking at girls is more important than studying. Mu Baining stared at Mu Ziomo with disdain. How did this guy suddenly become so slick? Have I been watching too many high-quality male videos lately? Thinking of this, Mu Baining's mind was filled with the lyrics. I dried my silence, regretted my impulsiveness, even if it was a mistake, I was just afraid of doing it. Holding a man with slicked back hair. What am I thinking? Mu Baining shook her head heavily and snorted. When it gets cold later, I'm not going to give you a coat. Tusk, you're so stingy. Don't worry, I checked the weather forecast. The high today is 23 degrees Celsius. I won't get cold. Mu Ziomo turned to look at Mu Baining. Let's go, hurry up and go to the cafeteria for breakfast. We need to have the lineup and head count taken later. As the counselor, you should get there early. Mu Baining realized that Mu Ziomo was right. We definitely need to go there sooner. Because the sports meet at the Magic University requires the participation of all teachers and students. If a student in the class is absent, it will directly affect her salary. The 2 quickly entered the cafeteria. Mu Baining had gotten used to having Mu Ziomo by her side, and they were still very close. He remembered being told before that there should be no intimate contact at school. to avoid any misunderstanding among students. But now, it seems like she's the one clinging to him. Like a clingy kitten. Are you sure your classmates won't misunderstand if you do this? Muzai almost shook her head, feeling that this was fine too. What good would it do if the classmates found out? Could it be that the other students could eat him? After entering the cafeteria, Muzai Omo put his elbow on her shoulder and asked, "Ning Ning, what do you want for breakfast?" "Steamed buns, please." A new steamed bun shop recently opened on campus, and the buns taste really good. The filling, especially the one with fresh meat and shrimp, is absolutely delicious. For the past 2 days, they have been eating one basket of food each day. Okay, then as usual, Ning Ning, you go buy drinks, and I'll go buy steamed buns. Okay, Mu Baining nodded. When the two of them ate together, their division of labor was very clear. One person buys one thing, and another buys something else. Since they were already together, the two of them activated a couple's card on WeChat. When they eat out, they use the money from their couple's credit card. Of course, both of them deposited money into this card. Muzai Omo donated 5,000, while Mu Baining donated 20,000. Mu Baining is now a very wealthy woman, and as a professor and tutor at the Magic University, her salary is exceptionally high. The salary at Moke University should be several de liu a month. Before long, Muzai Omo brought 2 baskets of steamed buns and sat down by the window in the cafeteria. This was the spot where he often sat with Mu Baining. Not long after he returned, Mu Baining came over carrying 2 cups of millet porridge. A basket of buns contains only 8 buns, not many, but enough to fill your stomach. You don't need to eat much in the morning, just something light and simple will do. After lunch, Muzai Omo and Mu Baining went to the playground. Each class has a fixed seat, and the robotics class 1 is located right opposite the podium. The view from here is exceptionally wide, and the location is quite good. The only downside is that there are no balconies over the stands. Fortunately, it wasn't hot today and it was cloudy, so I didn't get sunburned. When the two arrived, several classmates had already arrived. Liu Weiwei, the gossip queen, is the instructor of robotics class 2, so naturally she's here too. Seeing Muzai Omo and Mu Baining walk over together, Liu Weiwei curled her lip. Mu Baining, who was next to Muzai Omo, whispered, "All right, Momo, I won't stay with you the whole time once we get to the playground. Do your best in the events later and try to win a championship." "No problem." Muzai Omo nodded, and soon the two parted ways. Mu Baining walked over to Liu Weiwei and soon started chatting with her. Liu Weiwei naturally wouldn't talk about her, and Muzai Omo in front of so many students. Soon, more and more people gathered on the playground, and Muzai Omo's 3 eldest sons also came over. "Brother Mo, why aren't you with Professor Mu today?" After arriving, Huang Wengsu glanced at Liu Weiwei, and Mu Baining not far away. His expression was incredibly lewd. "Shut up," Muzai Omo rolled her eyes. "Do you want to be flown again tonight?" "I'm going to chat with my sister." Huang Wengsu went up the steps, sat down in a chair in the audience, and took out his phone. He and Zhu Pengshuang have been having a good chat lately. That's right, Zhu Pengshuang is the girl who added him on WeChat. Bai Yuntao said, Huang Wengsu is about to find a partner. As time went on, the number of people on the playground increased. After the students lined up and their names were taken, and everything was confirmed to be in order, they sat down in the audience. Soon, the opening ceremony of the 82nd Autumn Sports Meet of the Magic University began. As a key university of science and technology, the opening ceremony of the sports meet is naturally going to be impressive. In fact, Mu Baining also wanted Muzai Omo to participate in the opening ceremony of the sports meet. But after asking for his opinion, Muzai Omo said he did not want to participate. After all, there are still projects to be done. There are 2 events to compete in this morning. So if Muzai Omo also attends the opening ceremony, her body might not be able to handle it. We can't let her get too tired, otherwise at night. Mu Baining didn't think much of it. About 40 minutes later, the autumn sports meet was coming to an end. Before the opening ceremony ended, there was a dance performance. The dance performers were all girls from the School of Journalism, who are arguably the highest quality and most beautiful girls at the university. They were all wearing red short-sleeved shirts and white skirts, and they formed a long line. At first glance, all I could see were my bare white thighs. Holy crap! At this moment, Bai Yuntao, who was next to Muzai Omo, couldn't help but pat his shoulder and hold Muzai Omo's wrist tightly. Muzai Omo was taken aback, her brows furrowed as she stared at Bai Yuntao. "Just look, why are you so excited?" Huang Wengsu, who was standing next to him, also heard Bai Yuntao's voice. He had been chatting with Zhu Pengshuang and hadn't even noticed that there were girls from the School of Journalism dancing. Upon seeing this, Huang Wengsu's eyes suddenly lit up with two hearts. Heart suit letter FEC heart suit, esh. Then he pulled out a pair of glasses from his pocket and put them on. After putting on his glasses, Huang Wengsu felt that the whole world became much clearer. His prescription wasn't very high, only around 200 degrees. Seeing this, Mu Xiaomo looked at him with disdain. This guy is wearing glasses. The main thing is, I've never seen Huang Wengsu wear glasses before. This guy never wears glasses in class, but he's wearing them now when he sees pretty girls. His face darkened. His expression was full of disdain. Goodness, looking at girls is definitely more important than studying. Holy crap! At this moment, Huang Wengsu exclaimed, "Brother Mo, look at the last row, the third girl from the left. Those legs are so long and so white. If only he were my girlfriend." Chapter 130, You Really Have an Affair with Professor Mu. Mu Zio was taken aback when she heard Huang Wengsu's words. What is that? Everyone wants to go up and lick it. It seems that Huang Wengsu's brain is filled with nothing but yellow mush. Mu Xiaomo rolled her eyes at him. Why don't you just say you're feeling it now and go to the toilet to take care of it? As they spoke, Mu Xiaomo also stared at the girl Huang Wengsu had just mentioned. Her skin is indeed quite fair, and her legs are exceptionally long. It's really beautiful. Hissed Tilda. Upon hearing this, Huang Wengsu, who was standing nearby, replied, Don't say that, I'm really getting into it. Brother Mo, I'll be right back. After saying that, Huang Wengsu went to ask Mu Baining for leave. Mu Xiaomo was stunned for a moment. Good heavens, this Huang Wengsu is just outrageous. Meanwhile, not far away, Mu Baining was glaring fiercely at Mu Xiaomo. This brat has been staring at the female students from the journalism school for 7, 8, 10 seconds already. It's just a red short-sleeved shirt and a white mini-skirt. I can wear it too. HMPH, Dell. After the opening ceremony, Mu Xiaomo got up and started warming up. I don't know what got into the school, but today's first event was the 4x 100-mile relay race. A total of 32 classes participated in the competition, with 8 classes competing in each round. After the first round, 4 classes will be awarded first place, and then these 4 classes will compete in a final round. The students in his class who participated in the competition all had exceptionally good physical fitness. They are all fierce generals handpicked by Mu Xiaomo. Just as Mu Xiaomo was warming up, Mu Baining suddenly walked over. He glanced at the 3 classmates besides Mu Xiaomo and then said, The 3 of you, please do your best. Liu Weiwei from Class 2 just said that our classmates aren't as fast as them. Don't you think we should teach them a lesson? Don't worry, Professor Mu, Liu Dazhuang said first. He glanced at the 4 pretentious students from Class 2, then patted his chest muscles. Don't worry, Professor Mu, I can definitely win you a championship. Me too, me too. The other 2 classmates also chimed in. Mu Baining chuckled after hearing this and continued, Haha, of course you shouldn't push yourselves too hard. The championship is secondary, the most important thing is your health. Don't worry, Professor Mu. At this moment, Mu Baining turned her attention to Mu Xiaomo. She looked at Mu Xiaomo and said, Momo, this is green bull that I snatched from Liu Weiwei for you. Drink it so you'll have energy for your run later. Mu Xiaomo frowned slightly, and at the same time, a bottle of green bull appeared in Mu Baining's hand at some point. He shook his head. You can't drink anything before strenuous exercise. Give it to me after I finish running. That works too. Mu Baining nodded. Mu Xiaomo was right. The competition was about to start, and drinking this stuff now wouldn't do any good. Keep it up, I believe in you, Mu Xiaomo. With 3 classmates beside her, Mu Baining ultimately didn't utter the word silently. Rest assured. Just then, the school's loudspeaker suddenly broadcast a message. Please, students from Robotics Class 1 and 2, Software Engineering, who are participating in the men's 4x100 relay, proceed to the podium. Please, students from Robotics Class 1 and 2, Software Engineering, who are participating in the men's 4x100 relay, proceed to the podium. Get ready for today's match. Upon hearing the voice, Mu Xiaomo turned her gaze to Mu Baining. Professor Mu, the competition is about to start. I'll head over now. Mu Baining smiled and nodded. Soon Mu Xiaomo and her 3 classmates left. At the same time, Liu Dazhuang said, Xiaomo, why did Professor Mu give you green bull? Forehead. Mu Xiaomo was taken aback. Goodness, that's a great question. He's been with Mu Baining for so long, didn't he notice? In fact, many classmates noticed that Mu Xiaomo and Mu Baining's relationship was unusual. Especially Zia Yaoyu from the class, who used to pester him, has ignored him ever since she saw him shopping with Mu Baining at the supermarket one day. Even the good morning, good afternoon, and good night messages that I used to send regularly are gone. At this moment, Li Ming, who was next to Liu Dazhuang, said, "Didn't you realize that Brother Mo and Professor Mu are having an affair?" Liu Dazhuang. At that moment, he was completely bewildered. Liu Dazhuang is from northeast China. He is usually honest and simple with a strong physique. He likes to play basketball, but he is a bit dull. You could say she's a very lovable person. He suddenly turned to look at Mu Xiaomo, his expression filled with disbelief. "No, no way, Brother Mo, you really have something going on with Professor Mu." At this point, Mu Xiaomo naturally didn't need to admit it. He rolled his eyes and then said, "Listen to Li Ming talking nonsense." "Bullshit, I'm not talking nonsense." Li Ming glared at Mu Xiaomo with disdain. "I've been observing you for a long time. You often go out to eat with Professor Mu, and I even saw you go to her dormitory once." Mu Xiaomo was taken aback. "Goodness, you wouldn't believe it until you hear it. Li Ming has been observing him for a long time, secretly observing an older man. I wonder if he has any unusual fetishes." "Wow, awesome." Liu Dazhuang gave Mu Xiaomo a thumbs up and couldn't help but say, "No wonder she just gave you green bull. It turns out your relationship is special." "Wow, Mo is awesome. Brother Mo is awesome." Soon, the four of them arrived at the podium. Then, student council members put the competition logo on their backs. After a quick observation, Mu Xiaomo noticed that many of her classmates were wearing spiked shoes. Running in spikes is indeed suitable, but Mu Xiaomo felt it wouldn't be a big problem. Since the shoes he was wearing already had good traction, Mu Xiaomo didn't think much of it. The referee briefly explained the rules of the competition, and then handed the baton to him. That's right, Mu Xiaomo was the first to run away. The school's playground is 400 meters long, and the spot he's going to pass by will be right next to his classroom. Soon, the students took turns going on stage. He was in the first lane, which is the innermost lane, so his starting position was much further back compared to the students in the outer lanes. Meanwhile, Liu Dazhuang, Li Ming, and Kai Wengxin also took their places in the relay. Seeing that the students were ready, the referee raised the starting pistol. "Students, get ready." Banged. Chapter 131, Ningning. I feel like Mu Xiaomo isn't even human anymore. The birds in the trees surrounding the playground took flight as soon as they heard the starting gun. At the same time, the 8 students on the playground, upon hearing the gunshot, shot off like arrows released from a bow, moving with incredible speed. A distance of 100 meters can be covered in just over 10 seconds. For them, it was just a matter of a moment. At this moment, Mu Baining and the students of Robotics Class 1 naturally focused their attention on Mu Xiaomo. A dark figure suddenly flew out, and in less than 3 seconds it overtook the 8th lane, which was the lead boy in the group. Mu Xiaomo used all his strength this time. He had drunk the body's strengthening potion beforehand, and with his regular training, his physical fitness should be among the best in the country. He even had the illusion that he could kill a bull with a single punch. Of course, Mu Xiaomo was just thinking about it. No matter how powerful he is, he can't possibly kill a bull with one punch. Holy crap, is Moji that fast? Holy crap, he's in first place in the blink of an eye. That's outrageous. Huang Wengsu, Bai Yuntao, and Du Yang couldn't help but stand up. His eyes were filled with astonishment. The main problem is that this is happening too fast. Or perhaps, the boys in other classes are too weak. Go Zyro Mo. Go squad leader. The class monitor is awesome, wow. The classmates cheered Mu Xiaomo on, and Huang Wengsu shouted, "Go Moji, go faster, charge forward, Yamit Yamit tilde." Bai Yuntao, Du Yang, the other students in the class. Suddenly, the surroundings fell silent, and even students from the neighboring college could hear what this slut was saying. They stared at Huang Wengsu with disdain, looking at him as if he were an idiot. This guy is so flamboyant. At the same time, noticing the gazes of the crowd, his face darkened. Damn, how did I end up shouting lines from a porn movie? He quickly sat down and buried his head in his hands. On the edge of the classroom, Mu Baining didn't notice Huang Wengsu. Instead, she was holding the stopwatch on her phone and staring intently at Mu Xiaomo. 10.01 seconds. At this moment, Mu Xiaomo had already handed the baton to Li Ming, and his time to run 100 meters was 10.01 seconds. This time frame seems to be among the most significant in the world, right? While Momo is so fast, so amazing. In fact, girls all hope that their boyfriends are strong and healthy. Firstly, this will make girls feel very safe. Secondly, when we're kissing at night, you know what I mean. Clearly, Mu Xiaomo's physique is exceptionally strong. After the baton was handed to Li Ming also sprinted off. Because of his exceptional speed, Li Ming was currently in first place. After running for 10 seconds, he felt no pressure at all. If he were to run the entire 400-meter race, he was confident that he would come in first place. At this point, Mu Xiaomo was no longer needed. If you advance, there will be a second round of matches later. However, 3 more games are needed. Instead of going back, he plopped down in the center of the playground, his eyes fixed on the last person, Liu Dazhuang. Liu Dazhuang was the last runner. Although he looked a bit slow, he was actually quite fast. A classmate from another class overtook him at first, but Liu Dazhuang saw this and suddenly accelerated, managing to overtake the first-place student. They ultimately won the championship in this competition. Good. The students in the robotics class applauded enthusiastically. Seeing their classmate win first place made them proud. At the same time, at the intersection of Class 1 and Class 2, Liu Weiwei snorted and crossed her arms angrily. Ning, I feel like Mu Xiaomo isn't human anymore. How could he be so fast? At this moment, Mu Baining was smug and proud. With Mu Baining moving so fast, it would be strange if she had no choice. Of course, that's not the most important thing. What's important is that the students in Class 1 completely crushed Class 2. Yesterday, Liu Weiwei made a bet with her. They said they'd see whose class would win in the first round, and the loser would have to do cleaning for a month, plus a hot pot meal. That's right, Liu Weiwei lost. We lost completely. Mu Baining said smugly. What's wrong with hurrying up, Momo? If I don't hurry up, how can I make you clean for a month, and how can I get you a free hot pot meal? Liu Weiwei, oh, Japanese letter O. She whispered, I hope Mu Xiaomo falls asleep with you just as quickly. Mu Baining was taken aback. This dog, Weiwei, has started barking again. Get out of here. Mu Baining rolled her eyes and ignored him. Awesome, bro. At this moment, Mu Xiaomo and 3 classmates walked together. Mu Xiaomo patted Liu Dazhuang on the shoulder. No wonder you're called Dazhuang, you're really strong and fast. After being praised by Mu Xiaomo, Liu Dazhuang revealed a simple and honest smile. Hey, brother Mo, you flatter me. If you hadn't run so fast at the beginning, we wouldn't have won the championship. Don't be modest. What are you being modest about? Liu Dazhuang glanced at Li Ming and Kai Wengson. Do you think Moji won the championship because he was fast? Li Ming nodded. Ah, yes. Kai Wengson, that's right. Look, after Moji started dating Professor Mu, he runs like he's on steroids. Tusk, it seems that Professor Mu has unleashed Moji's potential. Hearing Kai Wengson's words, Mu Xiaomo said, So, there's another match later. The next match will be a duel between champions. You can try your best to win a championship for your future sister-in-law. Damn, you're really having an affair with Professor Mu. Liu Dazhuang said in surprise, while Mu Xiaomo scratched his head and said, What's so surprising? We're already following it. Good heavens, Li Ming said. I knew I was right. With Moji's looks, height, and physique, he'll definitely catch up with Professor Mu. He smacked Kai Wengson with his elbow. Isn't that right, Lao Kai? Yes. Kai Wengson nodded repeatedly. Mu Xiaomo said, All right, enough of this nonsense. Do you want some water? I'll buy you some. Punishment. The 3 of them were equally unceremonious, with Kai Wengson saying, I'll drink Green Bull. Li Ming, I'll drink Lei Bai. Mu Xiaomo then turned her gaze to Liu Dazhuang. Just give me a bottle of Evian. Mu Xiaomo's face darkened. Evian mineral water is much more expensive than Green Bull or Rabai. Of course, he wouldn't care about these details. Wait, I'll be right back. After saying that, he ran towards the supermarket near the playground. Chapter 132. Mu Xiaomo's speed is already comparable to that of a world champion. 20 minutes later, the 4x100m relay has reached the final stage. Mu Xiaomo was the final contestant in this round. The first one to run was Liu Dazhuang. Of course, this match was not a pressure for him. Now, Mu Xiaomo was wondering who the system meant by connections. The sports meet had just started today, and he didn't think too much about it. Soon he heard a gunshot. Bang! Meanwhile, the 4 contestants put in their utmost effort. Although this match wasn't very important, they all wanted to bring honor to their class. I assumed that since they were all champions from the previous round, they were all quite fast. Liu Dazhuang was 3rd in speed among the crowd. Upon seeing this, the students in robotics class 1 all frowned. Even Mu Baining felt the pressure. Holy crap, that guy from physics class 1 looks like Chen Xiong. He runs like a madman. Students tend to pay attention to the student who ranks first. Many girls even took out their phones and started snapping photos. The boys participating in the sports meet are very masculine, and the girls like this type of boy. It is estimated that after each round of the competition, a few boys will go up to the confession wall. It took Liu Dazhuang 14 seconds to hand the baton to Kai Wengxin. At this moment, he was still the third example. Kai Wengxin gritted his teeth, tensed the muscles in his calves, and ran out suddenly. He had to put in all his effort to make his sister-in-law happy. At this moment, Kai Wengxin was as energetic as if he had been injected with chicken blood. He moved with lightning speed and arrived at Li Ming's position, already ranking second. Damn, our class has a chance. Huang Wengsu clenched his fist and looked at Li Ming across the playground. Li Ming is a fast runner. Last time when that jerk tried to shove his hand into his anus, Li Ming chased him for over 10 minutes. If he hadn't kept making sudden changes, he would have let Li Ming handle it long ago. They're all so terrifying. Bai Yuntao muttered something to himself and continued watching the game. A dozen seconds later, the baton was handed to Mu Xiaomo. The moment he took the baton, Sheng Xinyu from the physics department next door had already overtaken him. Sheng Xinyu's expression was full of disdain, and he even gave Mu Xiaomo the middle finger in mockery. That's right, it's giving the middle finger. His popularity at school was incredibly high. From being secretly photographed by paparazzi at the beginning of the semester, and unexpectedly being selected as the school's most handsome guy, to a guest performance that caused all the girls in the school to suffer, and they all made confessions on the white wall. Sheng Xinyu had been watching closely all along. He particularly envied Mu Xiaomo for being able to stand out from the crowd. While waiting for the relay, he kept staring fiercely at Mu Xiaomo, but Mu Xiaomo just ignored him. At this point, this guy actually gave the middle finger. Mu Xiaomo didn't tolerate him. After taking the baton, she strode forward and overtook him in less than 3 seconds. Sheng Xinyu cannot cover a distance of 10 meters per second. He was only about 7 meters ahead of him. You even dare to give me the middle finger. You're so slow, you don't even deserve to run like that. Mu Xiaomo made a sarcastic remark and immediately accelerated. Sheng Xinyu was a little confused this. Is Mu Xiaomo really that fast? Sheng Xinyu's mind was already disturbed by Mu Xiaomo's taunts, and his speed was unnaturally slowed down by half a beat. By the time he realized what was happening, he had already been overtaken by the students behind him. Mu Xiaomo had already reached the finish line. Immediately, enthusiastic applause erupted from the crowd. Because he had performed as a guest singer, he was still quite popular at the school at that time. Many girls know him, so it's no wonder his female fans are overjoyed to see Mu Xiaomo win the championship. Whoa tilde. Holy crap, Mo did it. Holy crap, that's awesome. Our class won the first competition, that's fucking amazing. The students in robotics class 1 had all sorts of opinions, while Mu Baining was already impressed by Mu Xiaomo's speed. The number 0938 appeared on the screen of her phone. That's right, 9.38 seconds is the time it took Mu Xiaomo to receive the baton and sprint to the finish line. That speed is absolutely terrifying. Mu Baining just checked on Beidou, and the world champion's 100-meter sprint time seems to be 9.58 seconds. In other words, Mu Xiaomo's speed at this moment is even faster than that of a world champion. Mu Xiaomo is constantly redefining her understanding. The other students didn't even notice this. All they knew was that Mu Xiaomo was incredibly awesome. Several seconds after crossing the finish line, Sheng Xinyu caught up, panting heavily. He was panting heavily, his back hunched, staring at him fiercely. Mu Xiaomo simply turned her head away, too lazy to pay him any attention. Before long, Liu Dazhuang, Li Ming, and Kai Wengxin also ran over. All three of them had smiles on their faces. Kai Wengxin couldn't help but say, "No wonder Professor Mu gave us such motivation. We won the championship so easily." Yeah, Brother Mo, your speed is absolutely amazing." Mu Xiaomo smiled and shook her head. "It's not just my achievement. Everyone's efforts are indispensable. Winning this competition is directly related to all of us." "Ha ha ha," Li Ming laughed. He had to admit that Mu Xiaomo was really good at talking. They have an exceptionally strong sense of collective honor. Mu Xiaomo continued, "I'll call my 3 best friends from the dorm later. Let's go for a drink together." Okay. There is no greater joy among men than drinking together. Before the four of them had finished chatting, the student council called them over for a group photo and an awards ceremony. The champion of the sports meet will receive a small gold-plated medal, which is not very valuable, but it is very meaningful. Liu Dazhuang, Li Ming, and Kai Wengxin did not accept the medals. Instead, they had the professor present the award, place it around Mu Xiaomo's neck. They knew that Mu Xiaomo deserved the most credit for this match. After the awards were presented, the four of them slunk away. At the same time, on the podium, Deng Shiki, the principal of the Magic Science University, was watching Mu Xiaomo's retreating figure. Sitting next to him was Liu Jai, the dean of the School of Information Engineering. He couldn't help but say, "Dean Liu, I've taken a look at that student named Mu Xiaomo. He's something else." Upon hearing the principal's words, Liu Jai turned his gaze to Deng Shiki. It's worth noting that the president of Magic University rarely praises people. They would never use the phrase amazing to praise someone. Upon hearing his words, Liu Jai knew that Principal Deng Shiki had probably taken a liking to Mu Xiaomo. At this moment, Deng Shiki continued, "I just calculated that this student named Mu Xiaomo's 100-meter running speed should be within 10 seconds. Liu Jai nodded, and then, Liu Jai has no interest in sports and has never heard of it. His mind was filled with mathematics and engineering knowledge. Deng Shiki said, "Let me put it this way, his speed is already comparable to that of a world champion." Chapter 133 Momo, the principal is looking for you. Comparable to a world champion. Upon hearing Deng Shiki's words, Liu Jai frowned. He doesn't even know his speed. Seeing Liu Jai's puzzled expression, Deng Shiki continued, "I just estimated that his speed in the last round of running should be within 10 seconds. Upon hearing this, Liu Jai was taken aback. 10 seconds, 100 meters, which means more than 10 meters per second. Holy crap, that speed. Liu Jai stared at Deng Shiki's profile. "So, principal, you mean?" "It's nothing. My grandson is 14 years old this year. He is a sports specialist and has to take the high school entrance exam in a year. What do you think about having Mu Xiaomo be his coach?" Deng Shiki knew that someone as fast as Mu Xiaomo must have excellent talent, and he must train regularly and have his own training methods. Given his current status, finding a capable coach shouldn't be difficult for him. But for some reason, he was deeply attracted to Mu Xiaomo after seeing his performance. He even had the idea of having him teach his grandson. Sure. Liu Jai didn't dare say no at all. In any case, whether Mu Xiaomo taught well or not, it had nothing to do with him. "Okay, let's settle on that then. After the morning's match, could you please bring him to my office?" "No problem." Liu Jai nodded, then opened WeChat and found Mu Baining, the counselor of the robotics class 1. Principal Deng asked Mu Xiaomo to go to his office at noon. "Please tell Mu Xiaomo in your class." On the other side, Mu Baining didn't look at her phone. Instead, they welcomed the return of 4 generals. Mu Xiaomo, Liu Dazhuang, Kai Wengxin, and Li Ming walked towards their class's location. Mu Baining went to greet them from afar. Just as Mu Xiaomo had expected, she was still holding the same bottle of green bull she had been using. After she walked over, her face was full of smiles. Especially looking at Mu Xiaomo's expression, her eyes, tusk, were full of love. "Welcome, 4 brave warriors." Mu Baining smiled, and ignoring the other 3, directly stuffed the green bull into Mu Xiaomo's hand. Mu Xiaomo immediately felt something was amiss. After all, the 3 students also made contributions in this competition. Of course, the 3 of them weren't surprised, since Mu Xiaomo had said she was going to pursue Mu Baining again. They even thought he had caught up with her. Noticing the gazes of the other 3, Mu Baining's face stiffened. "Don't worry, there are some for you 3 too. I'll buy them for you later." Thank you, Professor Mu." "Thank you, Professor Mu." Liu Dazhuang, Li Ming, and Kai Wengxin spoke up, glancing at Mu Xiaomo and then at Mu Baining. They had to admit, the 2 really did look like a married couple. However, why does the air smell like dog food? The 3 of them quickly scurried away. Only Mu Xiaomo and Mu Baining remained. Because so many classmates were watching, they didn't do anything too intimate. The 2 walked side by side, but at a rather slow pace. Mu Xiaomo took the medal off her neck and handed it directly to Mu Baining. "Ning, look, this is the first medal of this year's Magic Science University Autumn Sports Meet. It's for you. It's also the first souvenir that the 4 of us made for our class." Seeing the gleaming medal, Mu Baining smiled, but she didn't accept it. She shook her head and said, This is an honor shared by you and your classmates. How could I accept it? I'll contact the school later and ask them to make a medal for each of you as a memento. Yes, yes. Muziah Omo chuckled and Mu Baining continued. Keep this medal. You can keep it with your 3 classmates. Okay, Tilda. Under the watchful eyes of everyone, Muziah Omo and Mu Baining returned to their classroom seats, chatting and laughing. The boys in the class all had a knowing look on their faces. Muziah Omo didn't stay with Mu Baining all the time, but went back to his roommate. Mu Baining went straight to the vending machine to buy Green Bull. As soon as Muziah Omo sat down, Huang Wenxu licked his lips and said, "Brother Mo, please accept my bow. Are you interested in participating in the Olympics? I feel that with your speed, you'd definitely win a gold medal." Upon hearing this, Muziah Omo suddenly remembered that his father had indeed participated in the Olympics when he was young. He even won several gold medals. Although it would be a good thing to contribute to the country, he currently has no such intention. The Olympics this year have ended, and the next one will be 4 years from now. Let's talk about it later. He shook his head. All right, stop talking nonsense and let's continue watching the game. Oh, Tilda. Huang Wenxu said, oh, and continued to chat with Zhu Pengshuang on his phone. Muziah Omo took a deep breath and began looking at the disassembly documents for the aircraft. The document was given to him by the system, and he is looking at it now for the purpose of starting his own business in the future. He still has a mission to complete. He needs to earn 1 million within 2 months. About 5 or 6 minutes later, as Muziah Omo was immersed in the ocean of knowledge, Mu Baining suddenly walked over. Huang Wenxu looked up and met Mu Baining's eyes, then made way for him. Sensing a faint fragrance lingering around him, Muziah Omo unconsciously raised her head. I happened to catch a glimpse of Mu Baining's playful face. Seeing Muziah Omo studying, Mu Baining nodded with satisfaction. So this naughty little brother is usually so diligent. Although I don't know what he studied, seeing the blueprints tells me it must be related to robotics. Professor Mu. Muziah Omo was taken aback and looked at Mu Baining with a puzzled expression. Mu Baining said, "The dean of our college just contacted me and said, after the morning competition, you should go to the principal's office to see our school's principal." Muziah Omo was completely dumbfounded after hearing Mu Baining's words. Not only Muziah Omo, but also Huang Wenxu, Bai Yuntao, and Du Yang next to him all perked up their ears after hearing this. Muziah Omo couldn't help but ask, "The principal wanted to see me. What does the principal want to see me about?" Mu Baining shook her head. "I don't know about that. Dean's son told me that no matter what he wants to talk to you about, you should just go and ask him." Okay. He nodded, and then Mu Baining suddenly said, "By the way, Zaya Omo, regarding your idea of using drones to deliver food, I asked the school's student life committee, and they directly rejected your idea." Muziah Omo's face darkened. Damn, I got rejected. He asked, what did the school's student life committee say? They said this was unacceptable, as drones flying at high altitudes pose safety hazards. Chapter 134, The Principal's Request. Muziah Omo took a deep breath and shook her head. "It's okay, I'll think of another way if you don't agree. This matter is unlikely to affect him. As the saying goes, with the system in hand, I have the world at my fingertips." "It's nothing," Mu Baining said. "I just asked a few questions. You can come up with a detailed plan and I'll send it to them. Maybe there'll still be a chance." Muziah Omo nodded. "Let's do as Professor Mu says, Tilda." "Okay." Mu Baining nodded, chatted for a while, and then left to find Liu Weiwei. After Mu Baining left, Huang Wenxu plopped down in the spot where Mu Baining had just been sitting and then asked, "Damn, Mo, you really want to use drones to deliver food? I thought you were just joking these past few days." "Really?" Muziah Omo sighed helplessly. "But as you heard, the school's student life committee simply won't allow it, so there's nothing we can do." At this moment, Huang Wenxu suddenly started giving him a pep talk. "Brother Mo, I believe in you. Many scientists were like this in the past. They were not understood by others. As long as you persevere, you will definitely achieve something." "Thank you, you're a good person." Muziah Omo didn't press the issue any further, and an hour later, the shot put competition began. Just as he had imagined, he also won the championship in the shot put competition. Noon exactly. The morning sports meet has ended. The students walked out of the playground in a scattered manner, because the 3 older boys knew that Muziah Omo was going to the principal's office to see the principal, so they did not wait for him. Of course, Mu Baining is here. "Momo, don't forget to go to the principal's office to see the principal. If there's anything important that you can't resolve, Remember to tell me. Yes, don't worry. Mu smiled and nodded. It shouldn't be anything important. I'm a 5-star good citizen, and I've never caused any trouble at the Magic University. 2. nodded. The principal has been away from the playground for a long time. He's probably waiting for you in his office now. Don't keep him waiting too long. Go on over there. Good. Without hesitation, Mu took off running towards the teaching building. The principal's office is located on the first floor of the teaching building. Early in the morning, Deng Shiki stood at the entrance of the teaching building to welcome the students who were going to class that day. It's fair to say that students at Magic University see the president every day. After weaving through the crowd, Mu quickly arrived at the teaching building. Looking at the sign above the door that read Principal's Office, Mu took a deep breath. He wondered to himself what the principal wanted to see him about. Driven by curiosity, he knocked on the principal's office door. Knock, knock, knock. Please come in. Principal Deng Shiki's voice came from inside. Mu pushed open the door, and a faint scent of pine wafted into his nostrils.